team that shows up. If you're just tuning in, this is where Sodaron went about 30 minutes into his stream and realized I hit my microphone button somewhere and don't remember where I left off. So, just fixing this. Damwon Kia and Genji. I got that backwards. It's Genji versus Damwon Kia. Now, if you're a sports fan and into sports, it's important to read the teams a certain way because it means who's away and who's from home. But like I've discussed here on my stream before, that Riot kind of does it backwards. So I get confused sometimes. So Genji is the home team, even though they're the first team that shows up. That means they're the blue side team. They're from home. So Riot has it a little bit backwards if you're a sports fan. But anyways, this is the section of the VOD where I kind of rant and check my vocal levels and stuff, where I could probably cut it out or whatever. This is more for myself. I'm sure most of you, if you're watching this, are here to get into the VOD review. So got my schedule mixed up a little bit this week. I thought my appointments were this week, but they're next week. So here I am again. Today was supposed to be my off day, but there's so many matches, so many great matches, that here I am again today. Now, yeah, I got caught up earlier and sorry, the dog's wanting on my lap. Okay, I've got my sidekick with me. Now, one thing that I've done wrong was my microphone placement, where today and here on out, the microphone should be much better. I was trying to get away with having it too far away and had more of like a gamer setup because I play some solo queue. But here I'm trying to do VOD reviews, so I need to have more of a broadcaster type setup. I mean, I'm not here to put anyone down. I'm not here to take advantage of you. I'm not here with some type of agenda trying to get you to pay me money. So I'll even show you. If you have a Blue Yeti mic and you're getting into streaming, it took me 2 years of owning one to even begin to go into the hub here and realize, oh, there's nice presets on Blue Voice. And there's a nice one I'm using personally right now, Broadcast 1. I do have where I've tested and messed with it a little bit, and then it'll create your own preset and save it. I was trying to run it a little bit higher, but now I see because of my microphone placement, this is about right. So I just run the standard Broadcaster 1, which makes sense because I'm being a broadcaster right now. So if you're out there and you want to get into streaming and need some advice from me, some quick advice right now, if you're going to get on a microphone and talk all the time, you might need to look into running some type of compression because you're going to kill your voice the way you're doing it. If you're sitting there yelling at the top of your lungs every day or you're talking really loud, seems like you want your voice to be nice and buttery smooth like mine right now. Hey now. So just a quick tip for you all. I'm going to go ahead and get into the actual VOD review of what match did I say again? 48. So again, we're here on the next level with Sodaron. And this is the VOD review of LCK Summer. There's a lot you have to put into this when you're talking. It's the VOD review of LCK 2024 Summer match number 48. Or it's like you've got to get all of that in there. It's the match of League of Legends, LOL Esports, LCK 20. See, I can't even say all of that. It's the match of okay, here we go again. It's the match of League of Legends, LOL Esports, LCK Summer 2024 match number 48 against Genji versus Damwon Kia. There we go. Trying to get my voice nice and buttery smooth. I don't think I want to even hit over in this red. But, I need some training and stuff, so I either like hit here or way over. So trying to learn to minimize, maximize my voice when I'm talking to you. I also know there's like a 6-inch rule here, right? I've got my little ruler here. Sodaron, are you about? See, I'm like 8 inches away and I talk loud, so that's probably about right. So let's go ahead. I've got my keyboard over to the side now, so may cause me some problems when I'm doing this. So here we go, guys. I already went and VOD reviewed T1 versus HLE for you. You may be turned off by my content. You may be turned off by my content because my mic's not good enough for you or too loud. I apologize. Thank you to all my loyal fans out there. I do have some, believe it or not. If you think I'm a nobody, I am starting to bring the cat out of the bag a little bit more. I did work with GAM back in 2022 during summer when they won the summer championship and were first place in the VCS and also Worlds, which I kind of had a weird experience there, and I've never been out and really talked about it or used it as credit. Now, I did get some type of credit for this, so you can fact check me if you think I'm a liar, because you can search through GAM and they give credit Sodaron. But I never used this credit and realized I need to cash this credit in because I did work for a team, work with a team. I didn't, let's say, work and get a payment. I was volunteering my time and put in more hours than you could possibly work because I was so excited. And this is part of the scene that disturbs me and makes me upset because it's not just me, and this is why I didn't use my credit, but there's a lot of young folk out there that put their whole life on the hold to do this esports thing, and then they work a little bit and then they're done, and then they've like moved off from their family or they're in debt, and then their lives are in absolute shambles when they're done with the esports thing. And I never used my credit. It did really cause some problems in my personal life to why you didn't see Sodaron last year, because my family was not happy, and my family wanted to see instant results. That if I'm going to spend my time with this, now I am 38 years old, so my family thought that I was really wasting my time. Now I saw it as it gave me whatever I'm doing now, whatever time I put in, whatever, it would make me better at streaming or being an analyst. I really wanted to coach on a professional team. I've tried reaching out to them. They're almost impossible. They hire within the scene. So it's like you have to know people and it's almost impossible to break through. So if you do, you're going to have some type of following. And I'm not of TikTok. So maybe that's one thing that Sodaron does wrong, that he doesn't go on TikTok, but I feel personally that it's a waste of my time. I've reached out to people and they say, hey, cast Challenger games or do VOD reviews of Challenger. I feel like I'm wasting my time. I'm probably better off doing what I'm doing now and just stick with it, and the thing will grow, which if you look, I did this 2 weeks ago and you just skim through the views that I get and the following, that you do see that I gradually am gaining viewership instead of declining. So I'm sure it's not fun to get famous overnight and catch lightning in a bottle, and then over a month's time, your viewership is slowly decreasing. I feel like maybe someday I'll have more of a value to somebody because I'll have a body of work and they'll be able to go and see that his viewership did slowly increase over time instead of decline. So that's what's going on. But I did do the work with GAM, and I've not really talked about it. I feel like there's a lot of people that would have done it and instantly turned around, and you would have never heard the end of it that they did that with a team. I didn't. I just valued my experience and the things I learned, and that's that. There's some really touchy subjects when you start talking about the labor in Asia versus the labor in Europe versus the labor in America. So that's another very touchy subject. And it seems like, especially if you're an American talking to others around the world. So I'll leave it at that. And all I'm saying is I think I've said this on my stream, but I did learn talking with, I don't know if it's good to use names or not. So I try to shield the ones that I'm talking about, but he was a coach on a team that won LCS a couple years ago. And then it's like, well, what happened to that team? They're gone now. And he has looked at my content and stuff, and he was perceiving my content differently because you start getting into the labor law things that, like when he was coaching, you're only allowed to practice 8 hours a day. Whereas in Asia, LPL, VCS, where they were allowed to practice however long they wanted. It was like supposed to be an 8 hour scrim block, but it always turned into 10, 12 hours. And then that's when you do analytical work. And then like during when players do solo queue and stuff. And then like those players would spend even more time after the scrim block time. So I know from what I saw there that their scrim blocks went much further than just the planned 8 hours. Now that's where you get in the touchy subject in NA or Europe or whatever the labor laws are that like the players put up their hands and I'm not allowed to do more than 8 hours. So I don't know. It's a very touchy subject when you start to get deep into this stuff. So that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to give you the next level and help you improve your gameplay or maybe open your eyes to things that you don't see or maybe even just help you get into the LCK. If maybe you're an LEC fan and you know T1 and you know Gen G and you know Damwon Kia, but you can't really get into the scene, you've got somebody holding your hand as you're watching. I'm a bit younger, so sometimes I may disagree or not agree with some of the analysis I hear. So that's another thing. So that's why I'm here. Um, the hope someday would have been that this turns into some type of coaching gig in League of Legends. That's been my dream to coach on a team because I think that I bring enough to the table that it's not just the game. Like I'm a life coach. I'm going to help you learn to work harder, be a better person, morale, positivity. I don't like negativity. I really am not big into cussing, um, which I don't know if that's good or not. I try to keep that away from my channel. I view it as negativity. You have conversations with younger folk, and it's like every other word is the F word. I don't bring that to a team. I try to be positive. I try to be an adult. I mean, I don't know if that's like general manager stuff. That's not even coaching stuff, but it's things that I think that I bring to a team that will help elevate. It's more than just the game and stuff that's going on the screen. So, anyways, what we have going on today is Genji versus Damwon Kia. I didn't get time to do this the other day. I did the T1 versus HLE. I do know this is a 3-game series. So, if you're new to the Sodaron channel, Sodaron stream, if you're new to this on Twitch, if I have to walk away, hi there, Bunny Sushi. Have a look on your chat. I'm here. Well, hi, Bunny. Thank you for showing up. I think I may know which Bunny this is, but since I'm trying to be professional and reach out to kids, I'm going to say, I don't know who this is. Hi, Bunny. We've got a first-time chatter here. So, if you're new to the stream here, I'm recording a VOD review where I put them on my YouTube channel. And I've got plenty of videos here for you to look at and skim through. And you can see where I've been doing this for 2 weeks now that I might be slowly increasing viewership as I put in the work. That I didn't wake up one night and my viewership went down. Now, maybe in this VOD where it was KDF and HLE, people kind of get turned off from KDF. I've been a big fan of KDF. So you can see that the hard work putting in does pay off. But if you're new here to what's going on in the Twitch stream is I'm recording these VODs to put them on my YouTube as an archive. And this is a way to allow me to Twitch stream and grow my Twitch channel, which is at twitch.tv/Sodaron. And if you could give me a follower, if you can give me a follow, I would appreciate. I have a goal right now where I'm trying to reach 50 followers because you get Twitch affiliation, which most people, it seems like the followers is not the difficult part. The hours and the number of hours you've spent streaming is the difficult part. Well, I've got way more hours than needed. I just need to get the 50 followers so I can get a Twitch affiliate, which it sounds like will help promote better, will help. You can go to Twitch cons and take pictures with others and meet others. And that seems like something interesting to me, to get out and meet others. I've wanted to travel. I've been stuck in the same little town my entire life. It's very difficult if you grow up in a small town to get out and move away, because it's like, well, you're stuck because you can't make enough money to get out. And I'm not the type of person that I like to go and take out loans. I'm fairly conservative, but I don't classify myself as anything. Maybe I have liberal tendencies. I don't know. But just me personally, like the way the Sodaron stream is here, or the Sodaron channel, I've not went out and taken any loans to buy new computer hardware. I'm running on something I bought, geez, back in 2019, and same PC, which you're told you're supposed to go buy a new computer every 2 years. Mine's starting to get a little bit behind. So it's something I've been planning on, thinking about. If anyone out there wants to subscribe to the Sodaron channel, I don't really think I'm prepared for people to subscribe to the Sodaron channel yet. So I'm not even asking for that. Right now, I am just asking for follows. I'm not trying to get rich overnight. I'm just trying to slowly grow this thing. The whole reason really behind why I started was I was trying to get a coaching job with one of these teams, and they won't hire me unless I have some type of body of work. So I put 2 years of work into this. I've actually worked with a team. I didn't physically fly to Vietnam, but I did analytical work and worked on Discord, talking with coaches, etc. There was a huge language barrier. You have to, so it was a lot of work for me to go and translate things from Vietnamese into English and then back. It was literally taking me 30 hours every day, and then my family thought I was nuts because I'm literally taking 30 hours to do a day of work, and it's just what I had to do to get all of this going. So, I did it. So I'm just now showing people my body of work. I didn't talk about it last year. I've been watching this stuff for 11 years, and so I've been reaching out to these teams for years, and then they tell me I don't know enough or I'm not experienced enough, and then I'm like, well, you got somebody younger than me that has less experience and you hire them. That's just, I don't know if the whole system's rigged or what, but those are just my past experiences trying to get into this. So it made me grow this channel and get this going. So I don't know if you view I'm doing well or not. Personally, I feel like I'm growing, and people are watching or helping. So there we go. Again, like I said, if I caught lightning in a bottle, I don't think that, like, say I just blew up overnight and had 100,000 viewers one day, I wouldn't be prepared. Now, I feel like that's how most people are doing this or expecting, but I'm just slowly trying to work at it every day and grow and get better at my craft. I've talked to some that are much higher up in the esports and actually make a career of this. So this is all the advice they have given me. And I'll just tell you, I've been told they will not work with you, help you, unless you have 1,000 followers on YouTube, because they're afraid that somebody's going to get famous off their fame. So they want to work with only somebody that's worked on their own or done everything on their own. But I truly do this as a one-man show. There's no siblings or a wife or friends or anyone helping me with this. This is just the next level with Sodaron. It's a one-man show. There's a dog in my lap right now. But as I was saying, if I need to break or AFK, I'm not on a clock anywhere. I'm not getting paid. So when I take a break, I'll give you a heads up and put this little screen up here. And then I go back on YouTube and edit all this out. Hi, Bunny. Thank you for showing up. So what I was trying to get into here was we're going to go ahead and start this VOD review. It looks like this is a 3-game series, so Now, I'll go ahead and let the casters go. You know, you can kind of ride their backs, I would say. That's one thing that I've been trying to figure out when I do this VOD review. I've watched some of the other very well-known famous ones. There's ones that I see get 80,000 views, and I feel like that I do an ad more than they do, so who knows? So hey folks, so here I am, I'm back. As I work out the technical problems, I went on for like 20 minutes and realized I didn't take the AFK scene away or unmute my microphone, so I had to go back and restart the stream and redo everything. But that's what we do here on the Sodaron channel. We iron out the things and work through it instead of giving up and going on and worrying about something else. So I was getting into a rant about I come from the world of Warcraft 3. I played this game since when did the beta come out? It was like 2002. I played Warcraft 3 since 2002 or before then because I had the beta. Maybe it was like 2001 when the beta came out. This is very similar to League of Legends. And I keep harping on this, and it's where I'm talking about my experience, where people say, Sodaron, you don't have any experience. I played this game since the beta. Before this game, I played Warcraft 2 in junior high school. League of Legends is just a... I did this earlier. I went on a rant, and then I forgot I wasn't sharing my screen, and my microphone was muted, so it did me no good. So I went on a rant about this, but this is one of the most well-known European players, or some would say the best Warcraft 3 player of all time. And I just wanted to explain how when I get into my coaching, I talk about vision. And I talk about vision because when I came from Warcraft 3, when I came from Warcraft 2, it was the same principles. So I'm teaching principles that I've learned 25 years ago in League of Legends. It's a fog of war game.
Really?
What he's doing here is planning to scout out his enemy. He's going to build a unit and go over here. This is a fog of war map. This is what League of Legends has.
How do you know?
What I was told by one of the best Warcraft 2 players I've ever seen, he had like a
but then there's W3 champions admin saying
probably like a 90% win rate with about 2,000 games played in Warcraft 2. And he said it was all about scouting out the enemy, and you don't just go and fight somebody for no reason. Or I went on a rant, and I've done it in my past streams, that there's a famous book called The Art of War. And it kind of makes you think, what do they mean by art of war? Well, they're saying that, I guess, there's some art to war, as in, like, it's planned or it's a show. I mean, that's just like my first common sense thing about reading this, Googling it. This book is from the 5th century in BC, and it's called The Art of War. It's saying that war is an art. I gotta turn something off real quick. Hold on. Okay. I guess this book is saying that there's some type of art to war. And so this game's called Warcraft 2. There's Warcraft, or this game's called Warcraft 3. There's Warcraft 2. I've never read the book. I'm not really big on war, but again, I'm just hinting out like some of these principles are applied in esports or League of Legends or Warcraft. That there was a book written in the 5th century BC by Sun Tzu about the art of war. Well, what was he saying? Was he saying that war is an art form? I don't know. I didn't write the book. I didn't read the book. I'm just bringing up something that I've heard before and sharing. So he's not just going and attacking his enemy for no reason. He's going out and getting information of the enemy to plan the movements he's going to make around the map. So I went on a little rant about this, where I had my microphone muted, and
I should probably focus, eh?
I'm gonna blame Bunny on this one. No, I'm just kidding, Bunny. Where it wasn't really that important, and maybe I'll bring it up more and more on the stream about Warcraft 3. That I have played this game since the beta, but the whole reasoning I was bringing this up is where I was talking about that I've reached out to teams and I've said these things like, well, I played Warcraft 3 before I played League of Legends, so I had like 15 years of playing that before I played League of Legends, and in this game, instead of controlling one unit like you are in League of Legends, he has his champion here, or hero, as they call it. He's controlling a champion plus all these other units. So I have like 15 years of playing this game before I played League of Legends. I played League of Legends because it was easy to me. It was fun. I wasn't a huge fan of Dota when I was younger because it actually ended this game, and they decided that it's more fun to watch 5 people on a team than watch one person control 30 units, which I kind of agree. I like that there's like it's like watching a basketball game or soccer or hockey or whatever sports. Like yes, it's more fun to watch teams and be coordinated and work with each other. That's why I'm big on watching the LPL teams and the LCK teams. You've got very high coordinated plays that you're making around the map and communication. So these are some of the things that I'm trying to bring on the next level with Sodaron. It was just a rant that I got into before this, and it doesn't matter. I'll probably bring it up more on my stream than what I did in this VOD, but I was just trying to link these things together. He's planning his movements out. He's not just going and attacking somebody because he sees them on the map. And the main point of this is, like, right here, this is a Fog of War game. He has vision in this area because of this unit. Same thing with your jungler in League of Legends or the wards in League of Legends. It's the same principle. So I've had 15 years of this before even playing League of Legends, and I've reached out to teams and stuff, and they don't value this whatsoever. They just, oh, well, that doesn't matter. Or playing ranked Warcraft 3 at a high level for years before this one came out. So I've been playing these Fog of War games for 25 years, and I was just ranting about how I've tried to reach out to teams and tell them this, and they don't care. So it makes me kind of think, like, is the system rigged of League of Legends and the ranking and all of that? Because I don't know. I'm just telling you what I've seen. I worked with GAM, and then I've never really came out and brought the cat out of the bag and tried to really use that to work with other teams. Maybe that's what's going on right now since I'm streaming and I have a body of work you can see. But you talk to younger coaches. Now again, I don't go about it the right way. Maybe I'm not talking to the right people. Like, I'm literally maybe like talk to a coach or something. Maybe I need to talk to like an owner of an org. I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to reach out to. It's not so much like a coach, because a lot of them are afraid they're going to lose their job anyway, so they're not going to help you. They're like, well, who's this random person? They're going to just try to steal my job.
Not TP anymore, of course.
Yes, Doctor.
Had to let the dog down for a minute. So I'm just showing this game for League of Legends fans, so maybe you could see that, not to put League of Legends down, but in the past streams I've said it's a clone of Dota. So maybe that doesn't come off very well. I don't know. I mean, I came from this world where Dota kind of ruined this game. Dota was just a custom map in this game, and at the time I was playing ranked ladder, so I didn't care about Dota. I thought it was silly. It was a waste of time. Then I finally learned, really it was League of Legends that got me into the MOBA type of gaming, where it's actually fun to see 5 people play against 5 people and seeing what type of coordination they can have. But from what I see as a viewer and read on the internet is it's just a lot of young people complaining that they don't get their way, they don't work hard, or they're misinterpreting the point of the game. I feel like Dota or this game is made to punish you if you're greedy. You can't have all the gold, you can't have all the items. You gotta learn to work with others when you don't have what you need. And I've tried to be showing this to others, but I didn't go about it the right way. This is the way to do it now when you're streaming. I didn't have the proper equipment back in like 2013 or 2014. Back then to stream, I think you needed about a $5,000 computer, and it just wasn't worth it to me to buy one. If I did buy one, I probably would have gotten the scene, and all of this would be behind me, but everything works out how it's supposed to work out. So anyways, back into today's match. The main point of this VOD is we were going to VOD review Genji vs Damwon, and I have a body of work here. I might have to go into the VOD and actually share this sheets where we looked at Damwon versus Genji already. We see their drafts. I'll be right back. Like 2 minutes. I'm not going to put the away sign up. I'll leave it up so you can look at the drafts. Okay. Sorry about that. Next level with Sodaron. I had to walk away and do the same thing that everybody else has to do every 1 hour or 2 hours or 5 hours or however long you can go. So that's that. There's no reason to sit there and be miserable for an hour. And I'm also bad about, because I don't have a PC where I can edit my video very well or fast, that I end up relying on YouTube. So I'll literally, if I need to do that or AFK for 5 minutes, I'd rather just get it over with instead of having to edit it, but it doesn't matter at this point. So anyways, we're getting into match. We're getting into game number 1 of this Damwon Genji, or this is the Genji versus Damwon. The last match we watched here on the next level with Sodaron was Genji versus Damwon. So, bans. I don't know why I had this picture here. I made it like on the fly. So, Renekton, Damwon, picked Renekton, Lulu, Talia, Zeri, and Sejuani. Or Genji. I've always thought, like, if you just know all the champions, right? Like, you would get a job or know something. But I guess not. That's something too where I don't get credit from people or not. But I'll just show you just to explain it. Let me put my little thing up just for 1 second. I won't forget that I've got that. Sometimes the behind the scenes people here at the next level with Sodaron want to fire the streamer because he's really bad at streaming. The problem is some of the people behind the scenes that run the technical stuff think that the show's of good value to humanity. So, unfortunately, the streamer himself is having to learn to get better at being a streamer. When you go and Google streamer, when you actually go and Google streamer, it says that a streamer was the person that in World War II that the troops would give the bad parachute to that's jumping out of a plane. So I don't know if streamer's really a highly valued profession or term in the world or not. But when I go here and just look at all my champions on my account, I've been lazy the couple last years because working with GAM, paying attention to the professional scene, trying to get work. I used to go and unlock all my champions. Now my main account has almost every single champion unlocked in the game, and I didn't pay for them. So to me, that's already a body of work. It's not the ranked system. I feel like people are falling for Riot's, whatever negative word you want to place on there, veil, that you start valuing people by their ranking when, if you play League of Legends, you know that a lot of times you lose because you don't have good teammates, or it's the luck of the draw if you got an AFK teammate or not. So I've never really valued the ranking system. Maybe over in Korea I do, because they take it seriously and treat it as a profession. But here in NA, that's not the case. I think that I would have better games the higher ranked I'd get, but that's not what I hear. But I have unlocked all of these champions. I'm missing some of the newer ones. But just imagine how many games that takes, where most of you go and buy the new champions. I haven't played this game for, like I should, for years. I haven't grinded since like 2017, and I had probably longer than that, 2016, and I had all of these unlocked. I didn't buy them. I played the game. If you play the game, you know how many games and how long it takes just to unlock these champions. I'm not missing very much on my main account. Plus, I have 6 other accounts. I would think that maybe I know a thing or two of League of Legends if I put in all of this time just to unlock all of these champions in all the games I played and learning the roles and what they do. I would just think that somebody would know about this game, but most people will instantly put you down and say, well, you don't know anything. I would think that there's a lot of time put into this account just to go and unlock every single one of these champions. That you know how many games it takes just to unlock a 6300 RP champion. What's that take, 100 games or longer? And each game's going to take you 30, 40, 50 minutes. How many hours I put into this since 2012, plus the Warcraft 3 beforehand, plus the Warcraft 2 beforehand. And I've never been married, don't have kids. So there's a lot of even more time I've put in, and where I didn't have distractions constantly distracting me while I'm watching matches or games or playing the games. So I would think that, I'm not saying that I know everything, but I would think that I would know a thing or two about League of Legends just based on unlocking all of these without buying them and all the time that would take. I don't have all of them unlocked because I've been trying to get into this esports thing with League of Legends, and I had my personal life and things going on. Or I could have all the champions unlocked, but I put time into other accounts. This was my problem that I'm trying to share with you all out there, that what you got to do if you want to be a professional is you have to pick one or about 3 of these champions and play them every game all the time. That's how you get really good. When I first started playing, it was Twitch. I played Twitch all the time and played AD. And I had game after game of 18 takedowns or 17 takedowns and me only losing my life 3 times. And then I started to jungle. And then I started to top. Like the next season and the next season. But I instantly get put down because people are like, well, you're not ranked in Challenger, so you don't know anything. So we're into, let me check a couple things here. Hey now. Actually getting into the first game of match number, what did I say, 47? They'll tell us. So I was just looking at the last game here between Damwon and Genji. Chovy played Azir, Canyon played Nidalee. Not Chovy. Yeah, Chovy played Azir. Cassante, Keen played Cassante, Pace, Senna, Ornn. So that was on red side. Now this Rumble is a permanent ban over in Korea. Game number 2. I was looking for game number 1. Okay, game number 1. This will all link together when we watch the next match. That's why I'm showing you this.
The up and up, rather, coming into summer and looking better and better is Lucid and D plus Kia. Obviously sitting at a very good scoreline so far at 7-2.
Okay, so we've got Canyon versus Lucid in this game, which again, this is like the Master and the Apprentice. Let me do one other little thing here before we get going. One other little technical problem. I had to restart the stream over and I just rolled with the first 30 minutes and restreamed it, which is a little trick you can do. This might be a little bit loud here, so there's another thing. I need to put that down a little bit. That was probably really loud to people. Again, I don't have a technical sound guy. I only have one monitor, so I have to work it out on the screen that you see. So here we go. But I can edit on YouTube.
But he's against the player he replaced, and Canyon in this meta has just looked absurd. A lot of people, I feel like the big question before this roster came together was, is Canyon going to work with Chovy? Are they just both going to farm?
One other little technical problem. This needs to be down to here. There we go. You gotta have a system. Gotta have some type of system.
I guess the farming wins and trophies. They are definitely farming.
Yeah, they're farming a lot of the good stuff, and they really support each other really well, it turns out.
I didn't really plan to go in an hour-long rant about the vision and what I've done, but I feel like it's maybe important. It's things that I don't put into my content that I know others would be harping on all the time, so maybe I need to give myself some credit. So I'm cashing in on my Warcraft 3, my GAM, my Warcraft 2 credit right now.
Teams still found a lot of ways to carry at times when the
I can't read Korean.
And you know, we've seen historically in League of Legends a lot of
so I've done a VOD review of this. I guess I'll just get into the game, and you can watch that after this, or maybe you watch that and you would like this, and they link together.
Stuff like the Rumble pretty standard, but Genji going very hard in jungle bans here.
So
trying to give Lucid an advantageous matchup, it seems. But we still have things like
DK, which I just looked at the draft thing and showed you. DK ban Rumble.
Yeah, him.
Pretty obvious, I guess, that they banned Corky because I'm not doing my system. I do have my way of breaking these down. 1, 2, 3.
See what D+ planned to ban away here and now. Also, last time they played against each other, they banned the Nautilus a fair bit, I believe. And it's going to be a fist with Nidalee. Immediately
so we saw Nidalee.
Now we'll see.
It was Ivern and Nidalee that Genji played in the last series against Damwon. So Gen G
to
played
take away
Nidalee
here. Remember, Chovy can play,
in the last
you know, the Lucian.
game
We saw him
against
be the first
Damwon
pick out.
here.
They need 80 in the mid
We just
lane.
looked at the stats. It's in my draft notebook. That's
Yeah.
why I keep a notebook of
Maokai
all
is one
that.
thing
It
that
links
sticks
together.
out. I mean, Lucid, he's been better
Rumble
on
top,
Vi and Sejuani, who happen to be
Ignite
banned.
is really strong with the
Also a
Void Grubs,
fantastic
so
Lee Sin
teams
player,
instantly ban
and
Rumble
Aiden's playing
top.
the Ezreal this game, so they're going to take that
And
away.
maybe
That
we'll
feels
get
like an
Lee Sin
absolute
this game.
must take away here.
I like the
Be
Ezreal.
nice to see Lee Sin
The
back.
jungle pick I'm not so sure on. If you have something that you think
But
is really valuable
so
to pick now,
Damwon
sure,
banned
but,
Corki, which
you know, you're not
I'm sure people
pressured
that
to
watch
take
this
jungle
have
right
seen
now, but I guess
Chovy's
they just
win
don't
rate
wanna
on
show too
Corki.
much. So they take the lead. Wouldn't necessarily be contested, but
It's probably where they've only
just want to
lost
see if you can
a
find a
handful of games, or
skill check
maybe just like
Canyon
a
on the
couple
middle lane,
games
but
on
obviously you're gonna
Corki.
lose
So,
out in terms of farm in this
and they also
matchup.
banned
So let's see what
Tristana
they can
against
do.
him. So
Both
it's
junglers,
two
fantastic
Chovy
setup.
bans
CC
and
allows
the
to land
Rumble,
those skill
which
shots to gap
every
close.
team is banning the
So
Rumble
definitely a factor
on
you
red
wanna bring in
side.
here.
It's
Maybe
just
the
too
Renekton
strong with
gonna be a high
Ignite into the
priority.
Void Grubs.
In the rest of the draft. But actually, Gen G just look to pick up the Cassante for Keen. Not really too bothered about picking up the Renekton themselves in the top lane.
Try to pick, or I try to
Cassante is fine setup for the Nidalee. And the question is, do they take 80
pick
carry
out like the
or mid here?
drafting
If they want
process.
an
Like
80
I see
mid,
them in groups.
Probably
Like,
want to take it now.
they get
Yep.
their
and they go
first
for
two
the
picks
Yone.
as a
We'll leave
group
80
instead
carry.
of
There's still a lot of
one.
80 carries
For
up,
their
you know,
second pick,
Ezreal's
they
pick,
get
but not anything was
a group
banned.
of
Ashe is
picks.
still open.
Yeah, Ashe has to be banned.
Again,
by
there's
DK
so
in
much
the
that goes
second
on in
phase.
this game. It's hard for
D+
anyone to break down in
into
one
the
VOD
Yone,
or know
you take, like, the
everything.
Talia.
So I'm just doing my
obviously
thing.
can't
I
take the
may
block,
not.
which is great with the Lee Sin.
I may miss
But we
something
have
that
seen
you know,
Diana come out a
and
few
that's
times
great.
with
You probably
Showmaker.
know more than I do.
And
I'm just trying to figure out how to do this.
Looks like they won't
Showmaker,
sell.
come on.
Yeah, they won't sell in the mid for now. They'll take the Gnar, giving King in a good match of the top lane. So they get that counter pick, and they will also be able to have counter pick
4,
support
5.
and mid, essentially. So that's the value we're sort of seeing from D+ on the red side. They will have first priority, though, on 4 pick, so I think Gen G will probably ban away Leona.
Okay,
in
so
this situation, as
Damwon
Leona
ban
probably
Nautilus.
up their strongest bot lane.
So that tells
on
me
the
they don't
outmatch.
want to play against
Interesting they
Senna.
ban Nautilus, though, when there's so many 80 carries up. Like there's Ashe open and available,
Lahin's
Kalista open and available.
The support for Gen G, he
Kai'Sa,
plays a lot of
available
Nautilus. Might be his
and they
best
opt to get
support
rid of
pick.
Nautilus.
Strongest.
And now you're put in a position.
I
where
don't really
you
like to
play-
pick favorites or
plays
rank
there. There's
things.
No Vi, no Nautilus. Karma.
I think
the first
everyone's
ban,
unique
so
and has their own characteristics and
Yeah,
values
makes me
they can
think
bring to
they
life.
kinda
play something
but
specific.
I think they're just kind of worried.
People really
about
seem to like
the counter
rankings
picks
and
Ezreal Karma
favoring
being a big
things.
lane destroyer. So if you happen to pick something
Yeah.
like that
Kalista
wasn't as
ban
aggressive,
for
you know, like a
Haze.
Braum or something. I mean, I'm not a fan of blind Braum, but if they were to pick that and then Karma got picked into it, you'd be really doomed. So we'll see what they offer. But even if
Karma
it goes
seems
from, like,
very
Alex, who just
strong
have
when you're
such a rough
playing
time in the early
into
lane,
Ezreal,
they're wary of
so
that. They do ban the
that's
Kalista,
one
though,
reason I'm
away
guessing
from Paze.
that
He still has a
Gen
lot
G
of
are going to
options.
ban
The
Karma
Leona ban does
here,
come through, so
ban
they deny that.
Leona.
I think unless you have a really strong preference for a
Okay.
I don't exactly
support,
know why the
probably just
Leona.
take
I think
mid here, and they
Leona's
go for
strong
the
with
twisted
Ezreal,
fate,
so they're scared of
point and click CC, you know, that was something we expected.
Damwon
from
Kia
Servants. He
picking
wants
up
set for
the
Lee Sin.
Leona.
That is
I've
definitely
seen
set up
some
for the Lee
games with
Sin.
Kellen on
Could
Leona,
definitely
so
cause some pain
he's
for
a good
Chovy and
Leona
Canyon.
player.
Yeah.
You know, these picks rely on their mobility to play in skirmishes, and the stun card obviously going to shut that down. But you know, it's
Also,
crazy to me
note
Ashe
that
gets all the way through the second rotation. And,
Lucid has
you
a
know,
very
kind of
high
working
win
off the
rate,
thought
like
process
7
of them banning
wins
that
on
Karma, they
Vi.
do just go the Ashe Braum. So incredible
This
ability
summer
stacks
split.
with that Braum passive. You get the engage potential from the Ashe.
They
which
get
the Braum obviously
yeah, it
lacks
would be
compared to
of
other
this summer
supports.
split.
And now, what do D+ go? You know, if you pick an engage support into Braum, it's going to feel
So
pretty
because
bad. I feel like you probably want to just play at distance. Maybe Rakan, I think, could make sense.
Yeah. You
don't know
really-
exactly
I mean, if you're
why
playing
the
Alistar in
Braum, but I
spot,
could
you're
see
just
his
in pain the
shielding being
entire
really
game.
good to
Like, you're
block
not gonna have a
Gnar's
fun time. So I really like the
Q
Rakan call.
or
And
damage
it
from
allows you a little bit
Showmaker's
more
Twisted
of
Fate.
just kind of
Think
shoving
he's
your
really
face in
good
there,
into
able to
Ezreal,
close
blocking
the
his
gap
ult,
extremely
blocking
fast
his
to the point
Q.
where maybe the Braum can't react. Maybe the Cassante can't
Not
deal.
can't
We'll see how
recall
Kellen looks on this Rakan.
seeing a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
wanna see the
Kellen
layer with the
Rakan
TF,
games.
and it's a good matchup for the Braum because it's very hard to stack a passive before the Rakan.
And then one thing
dips
too
out.
I do here is, okay, I didn't really do it that much in this draft, but I normally go and statistically look at the stats of like, what is this matchup? So Let me go back.
A good matchup from the.
And looks on the point where just all and like you really, I mean, if you're
Is Rakan good? Because I don't know this. Is Rakan good into Ashe and Braum? I don't know the stats. So I like to go to Lolytics or op.gg and just look at these stats, or I'm doing the work for you right here that maybe some of you don't have the time to do. Rakan wins 52% of the time against Ezreal. Okay, well that was Ezreal. We were looking at Ashe. Rakan wins against Ashe 49% of the time. Yeah, I don't know why they picked the Rakan. Maybe Rakan's good into Yone. Again, I'm sure a lot of you know this or can Google this. You can do this work, but some of you don't have the time to do this, so I'm doing the work for you. I took a break from playing League of Legends this year at the beginning and got back to playing some EverQuest. And I know a lot of you work and don't have the time for this stuff like I can do. So I know there's some of you out there that watch streams and streamers because of this. So I'm doing the work that you don't have time to. You got kids. Just wanted to see Rakan. Okay, so Rakan is good into... Oh no, Yone wins against Rakan 51% of the time. Well, why are they picking the Rakan here? Is Rakan good into Nidalee? I mean, okay, we did have Nautilus banned. We had Leona banned. Rakan wins 50.65% of the time. So it looks like Rakan's some of a Nidalee counter. See, it took a little while to figure this mystery out. He's also good into Cassante. Okay, so Rakan, Cassante, Nidalee counter. That's why. All right, now we can get into the match.
In this spot, you're just in pain the entire game. Like you're not gonna have a fun time. So I really like the Rakan call, and it allows you a little bit more.
Now on my stream, my VOD, whatever we're doing here, I did vision coaching.
Maybe the Cassante can't peel. And we'll see how Kellen looks
jungle stuff,
yep,
so I tend to maybe talk more about supportive stuff and jungle stuff than mid lane, top lane, bottom. Now, I played a lot of all of those roles, so I somewhat know them pretty well.
You know, the mid and top
but
lane,
just to pick something maybe I point out more, it would be the vision or the jungle.
Ezreal Rakan can kind of go toe to toe, so this feels like it could be a lot more even. You know, when it comes to the draft, but Genji...
You know, I think they can feel some... The D+ fans always out in force. And
so first thing I notice... Braum has a sweeper lens. Rakan has a sweeper lens. And it should be about 45 seconds into the game right now. 45.
And I think they can feel something, especially when the Lisa.
Okay, so first word I see. Again, this is very important information. About 10 or 15 minutes ago, maybe it was 20, I was talking about the fog of war stuff with Warcraft 3. That's what's going on this mini-map. The same exact thing that I'm talking about, the fog of war. I think maybe players get confused because you get so much vision lit up. So there's a lot more lit up than Dark War. When we were looking at Warcraft 3, the whole map's black, just about. But when you're watching the games, the professional games, you're seeing both teams' vision, so you don't really, it's hard to look at. Like, it looks a lot different when you're on, say, blue teams, because you don't see all of this stuff.
Plays out in force, and I think they can feel something, especially when the Lee Sin.
So Rakan placed a ward. Yeah, I'm guessing that was Rakan's ward there. See, you never get to see this stuff at the beginning of the game. And this is very important stuff because that's where you make your first attack that you're going to make on an enemy. If you're talking about the art of war. That, like, DK got this little red ward here, so maybe they're going to make their first attack here. But you're planning it out ahead of time with your teammates. You're not just going and attacking somebody just because you feel like it or it's the time to go attack them. There's, as the Sun Tzu book says, there's an art to war.
Plays out in force, and I think they can feel something, especially when the Lee Sin was locked in for Lucid, who obviously has a lot of fans here.
Now, Nidalee does give you somewhat of a vision advantage early because of her traps.
And this is the pick.
If you want to, you have to take the traps first and then more than likely get some type of leash.
It's not extremely meta. You don't
But
see
you
it
can
all the
get
time,
some
but especially
early
for him to
advantage
pick
off
it in
that.
Canyons.
And Jinji, I already see something really weird where they have 3 wards or 3 sweeper lens.
Nidalee.
Yeah. And also,
It takes some guts, let me say that.
but also trust from the team. And I think a lot of people are, it was a different meta during spring.
Sure,
but
Lee
we saw a
Sin
lot
will
of, like,
start
Lucid on these tanks.
Raptors.
It was
That's
always
what I
there.
was doing when I was playing Lee Sin. Geez, it's probably been a month ago or 2 months ago by now. Okay, it hasn't been that long, but it feels like it. Okay, a few weeks ago on stream.
Will he get 2 items this game? No. Sort of meme going on with him. But I love that he's sort of grown as a player into the LCK, and the team trust him a lot. Willing to say, let's slam Lee Sin into Genji and see what.
Chovy's probably here because Showmaker's going to come over here around. This is the exact timing of, we call it the Faker ward, where you put a ward in the Raptor pit at around 1:25 seconds. But as we see in this game, Showmaker has his own Raptors warded, which I guess makes sense because they're afraid of Canyon. Again, Canyon is the master here, and Lucid's the apprentice. Lucid was the younger jungler training underneath Canyon. So maybe they're kind of, if there's any problems for Lucid to play into in the LCK this season, since he's came up from the Challenger Series onto the main DK roster, it's probably Canyon that might have a trick or two up his sleeves that maybe Lucid is scared of. So DK as a whole, I guess, decide to put the ward here in their own jungle instead of down here. And so it's just kind of odd here that Genji have these three sweeper lenses.
What you can do, and picking the TF as well for Showmaker, giving him that setup, that reliable
It means, like, I guess Canyon is going to gank a lot in this game.
And Showmaker with the
and Lehins is going to gank a lot.
His goal will just be to print money this game. That is essentially what he's going to try and do. You can't really shove the Yone out of lane that effectively with Doran Shield, Second Wind, and Fleet Footwork. But you should have pressure, and you should be rich by the end of the laning phase.
Yeah, that's the goal. Just try to get ahead. Try not to die. Don't get Yone Nidalee.
Those are some really good stats there. I guess this is another reason why DK picked Rakan. He's got 3 wins. Must have been matches that I didn't stream or watch. Now that I'm streaming, I can't sit and watch League of Legends every day, and now I see I was just wasting my time and should have been streaming.
to poke, get money, and eventually, you know, get around the map, pull out gold cards, and set up kills for your team. Because even if you're throwing in a gold card in the Ezreal,
Rakan did go back get the sweeper lens. We talked about that.
Especially if they get into the mid game and kind of even
They
footing
put
and
their
aiming gets any
next
amount
ward
of farm,
there.
it is going to be pretty huge once we do come down to it. And already we're seeing that Showmakers have
The
a hard
Ashe
time.
or
I
the
will say one thing though is the Braum
I didn't look
value
at the
ends up being
statistics
pretty
of
high.
Ezreal and the
You
Ashe.
know,
I
we've seen
guess
it
maybe
do
I
the-
should have done that as well. Let me look real quick. But who's going to win the lane? I hear a lot of people on the internet, professional streamers, or I don't know what you classify as professional anymore, so well-known streamers give, I think, a lot of misinformation. They don't take the time to look at the stats, and they say one thing, and then all of the people watching believe that. So I'm just going to go look. Ashe into Ezreal. That's what I thought. Ashe wins against Ezreal, so I mean, we're only like 2 minutes into the game, but this bottom lane's overextended over this line that I talk about already, which I talk about this line that when you cross over this line, you're into the enemy side of the map. You don't want to be over that line without a flash, without some type of vision, without a teammate, or you're going to get taken down. And it goes back to the fog of war, these areas where you can't see anything. You don't. Now, if you see all 5 laners on the map and you know where they are, now those are some things you can take away from what I'm saying. Yeah, it's okay. But I'm just saying in general about this line. There's always exceptions. So don't take it and make it black and white that you always have to do that way.
Excellent job at blocking a lot of Ezreal's damage, but also being able to block this.
I'm just kind of saying, if you don't know what to do in any situation, there's a line that splits the map in half. And if you don't have a teammate around you to save you, or some type of vision on the mini map, or say you see 4 players and you don't see 5, you have to assume that that player is in the dark somewhere and you can't step over that line or you're going to be taken down. So just recall if you're a solo queue player and then go back to lane.
Stun card. You know, if you stand in front of your
Just
Ashe
giving some
and just
examples.
make it impossible for Showmaker to land the stun can be really useful. Didn't see anything too crazy out from the level 1, you know, especially after the first series where it felt like both games. We saw them trying to really set up and apply pressure.
Trying to think of how the
down
top
and
lane
challenge and
matchup goes too. I know I've done this, but whoa, sorry about that. Got a lot of buttons I'm learning how to use and hit. Gnar wins against Cassante 54% of the time. I'm guessing this is a game, like I talk about the Void Grubs, that you have to get that teams get the Void Grubs to accelerate their top lane, usually in a bad matchup. So if Gnar wins this game, or Gnar wins into Cassante 56% of the time, then that tells me that Gen G are probably going for the Void Grubs first to help accelerate Keen because he's in a bad matchup.
enemy camps. We're just getting a pretty standard play coming through from both of them. That will leave Lucid down towards the bot side and Canyon up towards the top. We'll see if he tries to make something happen on Kingen, but to be honest, there's a ward down there. I'm not sure too much will come from it.
Yeah, I kind of doubt it unless, you know, Kingen oversteps, gets knocked
Here's
back
an
or something
example
like that.
of
Probably just going to be trading.
Gnar
Don't
is
feel like we
allowed to
wanna
be over
play
that
it
line
down
because he
here
has a
either.
ward. Now he's going to get
If you
ganked,
are
and he
lucid,
can see that
Yeah, I think
Nidalee's there,
maybe
so
one
he can
big
back
probably
off
tried
over
to
the
dive
line.
that. Maybe a QSS as well.
He keeps
Three
pressuring
items
because he
and a
knows
Killsess,
that
and then maybe.
Canyon's
Yeah,
going somewhere
consider
else
diving
or
the
getting
bomb.
the scuttle crab.
The angle. I think the main thing is unlocking Showmaker when he gets level 6. That's really, for me, if you're picking the TF as well, that first ult
Lucid
value
gets
you
a
get from it
nice
can really make or break
ward
the game.
here, and
And particularly when you
Jin
have
G's
pressure in both
bottom
side
jungle,
lanes, as you can see right
Raptor
now.
Pit. So
You definitely
now
want to be able to capitalize on that.
Damwon
Aiming
Kia
and Callum's did
have
a
some
pretty good job.
information they should find
Ash
out
is a strong
about
level
where
1. We've seen
Canyon
Ezreal
is
too.
at
We've
some
seen
point
Ezreal
when he
really
goes
lose
to
out
his
in the early laning
camp,
phase.
and they can
But I
decide to
think
make some
Showmaker's the
different
one who's
plays.
having not a bad time so far against Chovy,
Showmaker
but definitely
teleporting
a little
in.
bit behind in pressure just in the early levels.
Yeah.
Like to
See what
keep
happens
track
here
of
with
the
the
summoner
recon, but
spells.
at the end of
I
the
think it's
day,
important to know the
It's
timing
still
of the
Ash
summoner
Brawl,
spells.
And I'm really surprised
See a
that,
lot of people in Twitch
you know, if you
chat
consider
or on the
each
internet,
individual Gen G player and you
on
think about,
Twitter,
like, a
they
top
know
two
everything about
champion
League
for
of
them, it
Legends,
feels like everybody's
but
kind of
I bet they
gotten them,
couldn't tell you what the
minus maybe
exact
Pays and Lehens,
timing
but they
of
also
when
did get one of
teleport
the
would be
strongest
back up
top
or
duos,
flash would be
right?
back up,
But if you think
or
about
like
Italy for
what's the
Canyon,
time
Chovy on
cooldown
Yone,
timing
Enoch
on
is
Ash's
something.
ult,
They're
or
so
what's the
comfortable on
cooldown
the picks,
timing
also
on
they're very
Yone's
meta,
ult.
and then you just
Like
kinda
these are
gain
all
from
things we
Ash
could look
Brawl
up
as
and
well.
figure
Yeah, I
out,
think
and
the
those
Ash
are
is
how
the
you
weird
make
one.
plays.
They banned the
For sure.
Nautilus, and they could have
These
banned the
players
Ash,
at
and the
this
fact
high
that
level
both
of this
rotations
game know this
a
stuff,
little bit crazy.
or
So
they
Chovy's
should.
on
I see some in other
18
regions.
winning
I don't
streak
think they
on
do know
Yone.
these things.
And also at the same
And
time,
it's a
Showmaker
big
is
reason why you
18-4
see the
on
LEC
Pacific.
lose to
Yeah, some insane
LPL and
stats,
the
you know,
LCK
I
top
feel like as
teams,
well,
or NA
the
lose.
TF mid hasn't really been a thing for a while, but Showmaker obviously has a lot of time playing the champion when D+ really was on top, back when it was Damwon.
I don't know
But
what
Trading Ground
Lehens
here,
is
aiming
doing,
all his
pushing
mana.
up so far right there.
Yeah. Into
But
the
he didn't
bomb,
lose any
who
summoner
has
spells.
a biscuit.
Maybe he was baiting some type of
Aiming's
play
gonna
or
eventually
gank.
have to back, especially because Pay's already backed.
But
so,
Canyon's not
Yeah, he has
around
TP
there.
though,
So.
so
yeah.
I think he's kind of waiting for like a particular item breakpoint, and then he'll just send it and recall. We do see Lucid
So
start off with
Damwon
Dragon here. Very
go for
early.
the
Not too much
dragon
actions
here.
come
This
from the
is what I
jungle.
want to see.
Well, that's crazy, 12 and 12.
You can win a game in
This
25,
feels
30
very
minutes
classic
if you
match.
take the first
Sure.
4 dragons, get the dragon
But,
soul, then get a
the
baron and close the game
ropes will
out.
be started by Canyon in return. And the end result of this is that, especially now Canyon has faded Ashes, this was already going to be the case. But it'll be a bit of an advantage for Canyon in terms of like momentum in the jungle, getting a good amount of XP from these. Dragon takes a long time to do, especially when you're doing it solo.
See, I thought that the teams were taking the void grubs
You can
because
see
there was
there's not
an
much of a difference in
XP
terms of farm right now,
bonus,
but this is where
basically,
really,
because
if
you
nothing
can get
happens,
level
Canyon
6
just
really
goes out and
fast
keeps
from the
ahead.
void grubs. And that may be some of the
And
reasoning,
he
but
is
also
very slightly.
that
You
it
see that
accelerates the
the
top
lane, you know,
lane
generally
into
it
a
feels
bad
good to
matchup.
play
So
Gnar into
like
Cassante,
Cassante,
but
for
some
example,
players,
into
really
Gnar,
prefer just
Gnar
playing the
should
Cassante,
beat
especially
him.
when both of them are
Statistically, that's what it
available. Keen is
says.
one of them. We saw Morgan yesterday do
This
a
is all
couple of
information
times.
given
We
from
weren't
Riot
super
Games.
happy with that case with Morgan,
So-
but especially when it's Keen and how proficient he is on this
He should
champion.
lose
I feel like we
in the
can
laning
trust him,
phase.
and as of
So
right now,
Damwon,
he is
not
basically
Damwon,
dead
Jin
even.
G will get the
Farm,
void
but there is
grubs
a
and it'll
call
help him
on
to
King,
win
and
his
so
laning
he's looking to
phase.
try to
I'm gonna be-
squeak ahead.
I'm gonna be honest,
Which
I feel
is
like
what they
that's how it is
did,
for
and now
every
you
Gen
see
Z
that
player,
Cassante's
you know,
going
you just
even
give
with
them, like,
Gnar right
You know,
now.
we say, oh, this pick isn't really doing well in the LCK.
He should
But
be
Gen G went
behind a
with it.
little bit.
Yeah.
You know, we were saying like, oh yeah, you shouldn't pick Nidalee unless you're Canyon. Yeah, Tristana's looking better than Corki unless you're Chovy. I feel like every Gen G player, and it's, you know, it's warranted because they are just unbeatable.
So the next
at the moment.
dragon's not up
You
for
shouldn't give a
another
team Ashe
3 minutes
unless
and
it's
30
phased. Wait,
seconds.
that doesn't work.
No, that doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
Again, if you're in
Not
solo
quite
queue
not quite
and
the same vibe.
you do the
D+
stuff you
fans
need to
appreciate it.
plan and prep it
But,
ahead of time instead
Yeah,
of just
I think Pays is
deciding impulsively to go for
absolutely-
something.
totally fine on this Ashe, and I'm sure he's going to have a big impact on this game. I'm still just a bit confused why he's able to play it in this one.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it ends up panning out. Not too much come for this one, and it's just been a trade of those neutrals. Grubs will be up sooner, and it often feels like the second Grubs is where we get the contest between teams. We do now have Showmaker's ult available, so we'll see if he gets a window to make use of it. He is going...
So Showmaker has his
mages,
ult.
I believe.
Yeah, that's a good point that
So looking to be a bit bulkier on that
the caster said
and
that
less of a target.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've seen the APTF. You know, when the
Showmaker
APTF
has his ult,
was
so now he can go
Yeah.
top lane or
In the
bottom
top
lane.
especially.
And maybe
And,
this is something that teams
kinda
are
funny
going
to
to
see
forget
Remy just
about,
nobody
that
builds
Twisted
that
Fate
anymore.
can teleport.
Except
And we've seen so much
TF.
Twisted Fate top lane
There's
that
not
they'll
a lot of
forget
champs
that Twisted
in
Fate's
Pro
going to be different when he's in the
that
mid lane because he could show up
use
top
it, so.
or bottom.
Yeah, not a lot of action, but now we're going to get some. The level 6 ult comes out, immediate cleanse
So let
from
me-
Hayes, and the stun into Kellen, but that does leave Lahan.
Let's go back and look right before this play. So a dive bottom is brewing. Void Grubs are up in 1 minute and 42 seconds. So Canyon has time or can come bottom if there's a call. I'd say he's getting a blue buff. This is a really smart play on Damwon. I would say Damwon know that Canyon would be getting his blue buff right now on Nidalee, whereas you're playing Lee Sin and he doesn't need the blue buff. So this right here won't hurt Lee Sin if he goes bottom, where Nidalee is going to, I don't know if it's a need or more of a want type of thing, but want the blue buff, you know, mainly so you don't run out of mana. Now, I don't know exactly what Nidalee's clear is at level 7 when you run out of the blue buff or not, but I would say this is more of a want thing than a need thing. So Damwon is going to force a play bottom here. And Showmaker has teleport. Pays doesn't have any teleport. Chovy has his teleport down, so he can't come bottom. So this is a, yeah, I would say this is why Keen's teleport is down. They decide to dive this play. One, they know that Nidalee is going to be getting the blue buff right now, and Lee Sin doesn't need this blue buff, so he can just go make some play.
Cassidy. There's not a lot of meta champs in Pro that use it, so yeah, not a lot of action, but now we're gonna get some. The level 6 ult comes out, immediate cleanse from Pays, and the stun into Kellen, but that does leave Lahan's all
Genji
on
had
his
this
lonesome
brush ward, so
under
they
a turret against 4 people. They just
saw it brewing.
Until he
Or
uses
at least
everything,
they
and
had
then
some
he
type of
dies.
warning.
First blood given over as well to aiming on the Ezreal.
Yep, best person you want to have the kill. And I love the patience. They get Pays' cleanse. Ideally, you would have got a flash as well, but Pays does a good job, able to disengage from the situation, and the arrow finding Kellen.
So,
and then the rest of the team just clean up the brawl.
Canyon
deny
goes
some
top.
farm,
I think
push
just
the
puts
wave in,
down
and couple
a
of plates
trap.
taken. This is exactly the
acts
play
like a
you want
ward.
with the first TF ultimate, and Kingen
Then takes a
does good job
jungle
just
camp away
denying
from
the dive,
Lucid.
held the wave in front of the tower and hit Mega, so you could just easily clean it up. So good play from D+, but Chovy
So that
does
gives a
punish.
little bit of a lead over to
17 CS
Damwon
ahead.
Kia.
Someone that's going to be made back, but picking up 2 plates mid, so definitely
Hayes lost his cleanse.
Oh, no. Kellen just gonna face check here now. He does have flash and he is recon, so he's fine, but yeah, that didn't look great. Just kind of running
Hens'
straight at
ult
them,
is down.
assuming
Ash's
nobody would
ult
be
is
in the
down.
brush.
He's scouting them.
Yeah.
Ezreal's
Putting
about to
body
have
on the
his
line.
ult back up.
Showmaker, the only real recourse he has when the Unbound Soul comes out is, well, a
So
gold
this
card.
is where,
That
and
is
maybe
generally
that's what
TF
Genji's
offers.
doing right now since
That's
Lehens
his
is
job.
down at the Dragon Pit.
Throws the gold card.
Looked like he was clearing out a
This
ward.
champ has been the same, pretty much.
I was going to say this is
Correct.
when you start
Not
prepping
exactly
for the next dragon and planning in your team. All right, the next dragon's up in a minute, guys.
And he presses his gold
Make
card.
sure
That's
that
all you have
your
to do.
That's what he does.
And that's what I picked him for.
teammates recall if they need to
Chovy looking for a
recall.
heavy trade, does just disengage,
A lot of
though.
times your
He's trying to
teammate
get pressure
is
here so they can move towards
worried
the
about
grubs,
getting
and it
some
looks like
type
we're
of
not gonna get a full contest on
itemization,
this
and then
from
they won't leave
D+.
lane until they get it,
Then
and
we'll
then
go
they
to
have to
Dragon,
recall it. It's too
and
late.
they will have control over this area.
Sometimes you can't worry about that. You
Fox,
just need
I
to
wanna
stop
I want you
laning
to
for a
really
second and go
focus
help
in
your
here.
team.
Okay, we have the soul
You'll be
spawning,
back and
they
be
take
able
this
to
dragon,
get
so
more
I want
gold
you to
and
make
get
sure
those items.
that it is not
It's
a
like
Chemtech
more
soul.
important to
So
help
we
your
don't
teammate
consider
live than worrying about your item.
on this 1 kill per 10-minute pace.
Oh, this would be the worst game. to
So
have
Dragon
on
and
Soul. The
up now.
absolute worst.
Yeah.
I preach on it on
really
this
would.
channel, but how important to get 4
please,
dragons
Fox,
in the Dragon
Focus
Soul.
all your power.
That
You know,
There's
D+,
got to
even
be
the
some type
hesitant
of
to take it
stat
on,
out there
though.
that shows
They ended up
statistics
pure
of
vision there.
of
Don't
games
take this,
won
and Genji
with the
can
Dragon
pressure down
Soul
towards the
has
bot
2
side. Maybe they
games
take the dragon.
without. It's
And
probably
set
like
up for
80%.
Chemtech
Could be
Soul.
wrong.
No Chemtech soul.
Sorry,
So
no
Keen
Chemtech Soul.
teleports
No
top. which might be a bad play for
And I mean, Gen.G,
Damwon right now because the Dragons. I mean, bad play for Gen.G because the Dragon's about to be back up.
Yeah, I mean, even the Cassante just
So Keen just used his teleport, whereas Kingen has his teleport, so Kingen can make a play here at the
He
bottom,
got all those free mini Krugs, though, earlier on.
as he does. So, oh no, okay, that's Ezreal teleporting bottom. So Damwon forced this play down at bottom, the Dragon Pit.
Are ready to focus, but now we have Peas moving over. And potential for a TP, but nope. Actually, Keen doesn't have his, but here's the arrow. Is going to hit the Lee Sin, and it's Chemtech Soul. Hawks, what is going on? Oh no,
Pays didn't have his cleanse there. He has his flash.
And he will be taken out. And I don't care about the Chemtech Soul anymore, as Chovy is going to be taken down as well. D plus Kia, they turned that fight around.
So Chovy looked like he really didn't do anything. Again, Chovy, I'm sure I talk about this a little bit, but Chovy's a player that tends to worry about his itemization, and I talked about Faker in a series where I did the VOD review. If you haven't watched, go at least skim through it. I think I say some important things. Maybe I talk a lot and talk off subject, and some of you get turned off by those things. Working on it. I'm ironing out the kinks of my stream. But did Chovy show up too late? What did Chovy do in this situation? Just watching Chovy. Just watching him.
Oh no, Pace, he's going down as he has no flash and he will be taken.
Tried to see if Chovy was even at this fight to do anything or not.
Seconds, he's going to be smacking the turret on the cannon.
Yeah, Mr.
He got all.
It might have been something where they didn't even want, Gen.G didn't even want to fight, and Pace hit some type of miracle arrow with Ashe, so then...
Those free mini Krugs, though, earlier on. TP's coming in here, as now but a down. Mini...
Just trying to figure out who shot first, like the character from Star Wars and Han Solo argument, who shot first?
Oh, the turret on the cannon.
Yeah, Mr.
Nidalee wanting to recall,
Krugs, though,
or pretending.
TP's coming in here, as now a bit of damage coming in.
Chovy gets a lot of damage on Kellen, and then
with the TP, it doesn't really look like Gen.G.
Ezreal teleports in.
TP's coming in here, as now a bit of damage coming in onto Chovy, but actually it's Kellen who takes the brunt of that. With the TP, it doesn't really look like Gen.G.
So it's 4 versus 2 there, and then Pays is late to the party.
For a TP, but nope. Actually, Keen doesn't have his, but here's the arrow. Is gonna
Maybe
hit
the arrow was disengaged from Pays.
What is going on? Oh no, Pays, he's going down as he has.
So there was some miscommunication there, fighting inside of Gen.G. They're not a perfect team. If you watch my VOD reviews, this is one reason why I wanted to do this match, is I think Damwon are very good, and I don't think Gen.G are perfect, even though they're undefeated. There's flaws where, like, if I was coaching, I think that maybe I could figure out some flaws that Gen.G is doing wrong that could be exploited and beat this undefeated team. They've been defeated by the number 2 LPL team at a recent international competition, so they're not perfect.
Yeah, and the ult comes in, connects on a Lucid, but 2 ults burn already, and then Pays is just out of position. Died themselves.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a split call or somewhat delayed.
Also,
but they did not commit, and then they just kind of hesitated.
Gen.G get a lot of, or Gen.G, user error, streamer error. Damwon get a lot of vision down here in the bottom Gen.G jungle. Bottom blue side jungle, whatever you want to say.
Yeah. And,
so now the Rift Herald's live.
I think he's okay.
I love that Heaven's just punching him.
Damwon's
Let's beat them down. Get
25k
outta
to
here.
23k
Yeah,
with
I
2
mean,
dragons. So
Showmaker,
Damwon have a
I
big
feel like
lead
both
right
him and
now.
aiming, sort of when we have the Rod of Ages stacked,
Now we
have
want
an
to
immune
see
from
how the
aiming. It's gonna be a
top
pretty
lane
nice spot, but
matchups going.
also
So
Showmaker picked up a kill there, gonna be having the extra
Nor's
gold
doing a
burst
good
right now,
job
his passive.
staying even with
He's gonna be a very
Cassante.
wealthy man.
Lahen's kind of
Even with the Void
Grubs.
Grubs.
Kicked over, and it's aiming right here. They're just going to gift him another kill. Lahen's just in the middle of nowhere.
So Lahens gets caught out. I don't need to go back through that.
Yeah, and Herald will get thrown down
So
mid, but the
Kingan's
way he's
doing,
played out,
even though this is a
I
bad
don't think he'll be able to
matchup,
get the full tower here. It just feels like D+,
So-
playing with confidence, finding the angles. This Lee Sin's working.
That's a stun, and
maybe I was giving Kingan more praise in this matchup than I needed. But Keen's doing well into a bad matchup is what I was trying to say.
They're honestly playing so well this game. I mean, they're just answering Gen G in every scenario.
This
Kingan
forces Kingan out of his teleport.
Here comes TF, and the damage into Keen. DK, they turn it around. They pick up 2 more kills.
He tries to dive without the wave. He thinks, I'm tanky, I'm Cassante, I have the Nidalee coming, but they forget about the TF. Showmaker's value this game has been absolutely massive, and Gen G are crumbling. This
Another
is
thing,
just
you've
a
got
flip.
Twisted Fate middle.
As we see some
So
Savage
AP Twisted Fate,
defense at the
which we've
same
been
time.
seeing
Just
80
the
Twisted
shock
Fate
and awe.
top lane
They've
for
had enough
months.
wins.
It's been a
D++ time
thing.
now.
So
Yeah,
maybe
Lahen's just thinking, I'm
like
playing Braum.
Gen G
I'm
weren't used to
tanky.
this or never
I'm
even really
fine.
thought, well, we've seen so many
Okay, I'm
games of
still
Twisted
good.
Fate
Okay, I'm
top
not good,
that
I'm
we
not good at
forget
all.
that he can make
That's
a
exactly
lot more
what
plays
he's
around the
done.
map with his ultimate
And then here,
than
Kingan does a good
what the
job of
top
clearing the
lane
wave.
Twisted Fate can do.
And I think at that point when the wave dies, you should just back off.
Also, I'll add it's a
Maybe if they'd been able to
teleport
take
Twisted
the
Fate,
tower
which
sooner with
you don't
the
see in a
6
top
Void
lane. You
Grubs,
see Ghost.
that would have been the angle. But yeah, just a massive overstep, and Kingan plays it as well as he can.
He just broke their ankles. I mean, like, he's dancing around.
So also the
Cassante,
vision's
who's
looking
trying to
really
catch
good
him,
from
and then you always have to
Damwon
respect
Kia
TF
in this
and
game.
his ability to be everywhere. And it feels like they
Well,
have
I
not
see
done
it
that
as
at
they
all
own this much of the
Everyone on
map.
D+ is ahead of the lane opponent,
Actually,
which
that
has not happened much in Gen G games.
Yeah.
They have been
Chovy's
at a deficit across the board.
still
4,300.
ahead in CS to the
and 2
Twisted Fate,
dragons.
so I
Chemtech,
guess
2
that's
dragons
pretty
coming
much
up in a
even.
second.
I mean, the
don't
way you
think
look at it
they can
here,
contest
that's a QSS, I think. They've changed it
There's
recently.
not a good reason to be honest, other than maybe trying to deny
But
an early
Twisted
soul,
Fate
but
has
I
2
would
items
say that,
already,
maybe just let the elder
whereas
spawn and
Chovy's
go for
on
that.
1.5.
It's not like you're giving over an Infernal Soul or anything like that.
Oh, and Chovy's bought a QSS,
Ash is only on 1 item,
which is obviously
where
like you can
Ezreal's
understand
got
why the
a
value
Caulfield's
of TF.
Hammer and a Trinity
That feels
Force.
so bad
Nor has a
when
Trinity Force and a
Showmaker's been
Phage.
printing money, and he's ahead,
Lee Sin has the
and
Sundered
he's
Sky
forced you
and
to
the
buy
Phage.
a QSS
versus
1300 that's just not
Canyon's
providing
Leandri's
anything
here.
except a
So
defensive CC
I
cancel.
think this is where you
Gen G
force a
moved in
team
quick to
fight
get a
if you're
dragon,
Damwon
but TP's
Kia,
coming
and you
through.
should
They
win
will be
just
contested.
straight up.
Can they get out in time?
Yeah, that's the real
Because of
question.
the
It feels like D+
itemizations.
are the ones that don't care about the dragon. The engage a little bit lackluster here from DK, as Lucio wasn't able to
So
find that kick and
Damwon
out.
looked like
There's
maybe
the
they were a
game.
little bit,
That's
oh,
the
they were late to the
and
party,
that's the end
so
of Rob. Should
they
be
give
the end
over
of
the
Cassante,
dragon,
but Mike and
or
Cassante, they're just gonna go
they
with the
perhaps
long
could have
game.
got the dragon if they were just a little bit quicker.
Italy's a much easier
So
target,
this will cost
as now
Damwon
Nini
like
is
maybe
isolated,
5
and
minutes
maybe even Cassante memes can't
in the
save
game,
here.
because now you got to wait
As
another
no
5
knock,
minutes
now
for the
double
dragon to
knock from
spawn.
him, and Chovy just trying to desperately help, but he gets roped into the fight. And now that maybe even he goes down, as everything is going to miss. And he does survive barely, but man, DK are flattening them tonight.
Feels like Gen G are paying for their hubris, you know? They get the dragon, but they stay. They're like, hey, maybe we can find
So
a
I
path.
am
They're
somebody that
pressing,
has
they don't leave immediately,
11 years
and it just
experience
gets
of
worse
watching
and
these
worse
pro
as the play
teams,
goes on.
the
But D+,
LCK, the LPL,
zero
LEC,
hesitation.
and I've not been married, I don't have
This is
kids,
the best we've seen D+
had
play
girlfriends,
in a
so
long time.
there were some times
Well,
when
feel like the
I
last time we saw it
didn't
was
pay
in
full
Game 1
attention like I
against
should
Gen
all the
G,
time, but
where,
I still
Chovy
watched
got a
it
big divide,
religiously.
game turned around, but I don't really
But I
see
just
the
mean
game
like
turnaround
outside
angle
distractions.
from
If you
here.
got a
I think
wife,
they
if you
rushed
got
the dragon,
kids,
but they could have
you're not
rushed
going to be
left.
able to fully sit down and watch the broadcast that's going on or watch the VOD. You're going to be interrupted by things, so it's going to throw you off, whereas somebody that isn't distracted by those things can give more time and focus and maybe take all the things in a larger scale.
he's obviously going to go down, but then Chobi's like, hey, maybe we can find something. Okay, but now Chobi nearly dies. And sure, Chobi survives, but like, look how close this is. The boomerang just missing.
Uh-oh. What's this? Lahen's caught again. He does have the Braum ult in the choke, but it just doesn't matter. The wall is
Lahen's
so heavy
is
here for DK. It's
known for getting caught
7,000
out like
gold
that,
almost,
being at the
and
wrong
19
place at the
minutes into
wrong
game.
time.
And the Ezreal is 4-0-4.
I mean, look where the gold is, right? Yeah, aiming on this.
Ezreal's
fantastic
sitting on
right
his 2
fight
items
for
now with the
Ezreal.
Mana Mune fully
Showmaker,
stacked.
He won't be far away from rapid fire.
Showmaker's
3
on a
items
Zeal
here.
plus his 2
Lich Bane row of rapid
main
fire
items.
is so strong. Chovy has a QSS and a Blade Rune King, and that's pretty much it.
So
And guess what?
I do
They're
try to
done
not
yet. They're
talk
looking
about
for more.
and be one-sided or favor teams, which I see a lot of that in very you say liked or content with a lot of views where someone tends to favor a team and put the other one down. I try to be neutral as a professional caster or broadcaster in my VOD review where I'm talking about both sides of the teams. I see some casters that are pretty bad about you get into a game and it's really easy to put the team that's losing down and say they're bad because of this or that, or instead of trying to show where the losing team could come back. And I feel like maybe that's some laziness. Maybe I tend to do that. I don't know. I'm not really one to judge. But I'm not trying to do that. So all I'm saying is what could Gen G do to come back into this game? Some things to ask or try to figure out.
Everybody else on the side of DK. And you know, you said it before, maybe it's just the hubris of Gen G. We're the team that's undefeated. We can't lose. They took so many
Hints
fights
on
that
his
just
war
looked
mogs.
very rough. That maybe they could have outplayed by some
Guessing Rakan will be
miraculous
on his
angle,
war
but
mogs.
We have not seen that at all. And Lahen's, he's dead again. He's just dead again.
Yeah, I think this is like the 3rd time in a row.
So it's really bad when your support is getting caught out in your own jungle trying to put vision down. And then Nidalee also grants extra vision because of her traps. And so in this game,
0-5-0. 0-3-0 for 2 of the members on the top side.
again, how I look at
And
the
Jovian pays
how I view the game and why I try to do the blue and red, and it may be annoying where I switch.
And this is what happens,
I'm getting better at
especially when you
this,
get
but
behind TF,
Damwon
Lee Sin,
own
and
this
Ezreal.
much of the map
They
right
have so
now.
much mobility,
So
so much map
only
pressure, and
this much
Gen
of the
G
map belongs
were
to
like, we're
Gen
just
G.
gonna let it happen. And DK were like, all right,
So
we'll just
Gen G
stop.
can't even step outside of their base alone
Yeah, this is, again,
with my
another time
rules like
Lahen
over the
was
line
kicked by
without a
Lucid, brilliantly set
summoner
up.
spell or a teammate
I
or a
think that is
ward.
3 deaths in a row without flashing.
That's just a picture
not
of
saying that,
how
like,
I'm
Flash
seeing
is
this
safe, but
game
just-
right now.
It feels like he's just being targeted and not able to find a way out. D plus now
So
almost
all of this
10,000 gold
is
ahead.
Damn
This must be
walls
the only
at this
time anyone's
point.
had this lead against Gen G
22
this summer.
minutes.
I think so.
So
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
would
what
actually be a
do
fun
Gen
stat,
G
like,
have to
what
do
is
to
the
get back
largest
into
gold
this
lead
game?
anyone has had against Gen G so far? It's probably this one. Because
Well,
I
they'd have
can't
to go
recall
out
a
here and
game where
probably
anyone
get the
was ahead
Baron
this much and then Gen G still
or the
won.
Dragon.
Even the one that DK were ahead of them in the last series.
And
So,
you can't get out that far with, on your own. You're definitely going to need a teammate or
We know
two.
it's definitely D plus.
yeah.
And yeah, 3rd dragon will be secured. Again, it's Chemtech's not a huge impact dragon or soul, but they'll just keep stacking them up.
So the Dragon.
And at this point, I think the only way Gen G get back in the game
So now
is a massive
Gen G have
overextension from D+.
Gen G, Damwon, Kia
and
have 3
a
dragons.
big ult
It's
from
hard
Chovy.
because
You know,
Canyon
a
is
0-3-0
on
and
Gen
Elite,
G,
there
and
was
I'm
a
so
spear
used
that
to
hit aiming
Damwon
earlier.
Kia with Canyon, so it
And-
keeps
Oh,
confusing
really?
me in this series.
Well,
Wow.
yeah, that's Lee Sin. He doesn't care. Gold card is going to come out here. They're actually trying to get
Ezreal
this
has his
play
Mercurial
going.
Scimitar now, so he has the QSS too if he gets locked down. He needs that. That's an important item to take on Ezreal if you don't have cleanse. You need the Mercurial Scimitar, like as a 3rd item. I would think knowing these items would be like a prerequisite for having knowledge of League of Legends, but guess not.
They just don't have the damage. You know, a spear hits Kelling on the back end. It does basically nothing.
Lee Sin's on his Black Cleaver and Sundered Sky, so 2 items. Canyon just now gets his second item, and I think he bought a cheap second item. It's not even the one he wanted. Bean just got his Dead Man's Plate and sitting on a Negatron cloak, but Nar has Executioner, or Black Cleaver. I get Black Cleaver and Executioner calling mixed up sometimes. Twisted Fates on his 3 items and has an Oblivion Orb, which these are very valuable items, the Executioner calling.
Gen.G trying to fish for something. They know that if D+
and Oblivion Orb because you cut down healing, and you can
with,
almost cut down
picking up
some
the
champions'
gold
complete
material
kit by like 30% just from an 800 gold item, like Aatrox or Dr. Mundo or Soraka. And I know they've come in and nerfed it a little bit since then.
They try and engage on Lucid,
I
but
think
not able to catch him. Good reactions from
I mean,
him.
it cuts down
And then
healing.
Chovy commits on a Lucid because he's stunned. Has to wait a bit for the cooldown, and then just doesn't have the damage. A good kick as well stops the
So what can Gen.G do to come back in this game? I don't think there's much they can do. They'd have to win an Elder Dragon and a Baron and flip the game and wait till all teams are on 6, or both teams are on 6 items, where Chovy's only on 2.5 items right now. Showmaker's on a fully stacked Magi Soul Stealer. Showmaker's basically on 6 items now, like a cheap man's version of 6 items.
Yeah, I think they don't need a rush. You know, it's not like
maybe they should make him name him Playmaker instead of Showmaker.
You want to close the game out because the longer the game goes on, the less relevant a fixed goal lead is. But they just keep getting more and more. 2 minutes until Dragon. But I don't think it's even going to get to that point. They are continuing to take
again, bringing up my little window. Gen.G can't even go in their own, outside their own base right now without teammates.
You know what's really cool too is I mentioned before that they gave a lot of comfort over to the side of Gen.G. And
right now they can because Damwon's recalling. Chovy's over here just kind of forcing Damwon to come after him, what they're trying to do, and maybe posturing for the dragon that'll be up in a minute 20 seconds.
It's pretty. It's a DK thing. Nobody else really does that.
I think we're gonna be honest. If you play the LCK meta right now, Gen.G are the best at it.
Was pretty difficult for
So
Gen.G to even get over here and get the one ward they have on the dragon pit right now.
That's where you can really get an advantage, and it feels like that's what D+ have done in this game.
I could talk about the laning a little bit more, like why Keen is up here pushing his lane. I talk about it in my past streams, so if you just keep watching the Sodaron content, you'll eventually learn, become a better player.
Thankfully, D+ Kia is one of the teams that will, and they certainly have here in this first game.
And now, Gen.G trying to get some vision towards the dragon. Trying to land some poke.
Of course, I've already went like 2 hours into the next level with Sodaron, and I was trying to. I really just wanted to do about an hour and a half long, 2 hour stream, and it's like I start ranting and I get into like talking for 5 hours every time.
And D+ have just kind of routed them here.
Yeah.
They will take this mid inhib tower super fast if left alone. Arrow's gonna miss.
Engage Cone, trying to help them out. It's not actually helping them, and Kingen perfectly timed this Mega Gnar as well.
And unfortunately, if you're watching the stream, I will probably take at least a 15 or 20 minute break because I'll make a cup of tea and maybe eat something really quick, relax my voice for a few minutes where I've been talking for 2 hours straight. So, fortunately, you live in a world All right, we're back, everybody. Back to the next level with Sodaron match. Did I say 47 or 48? They've tied together, so I've kind of forgot. So looking at game 1 where Damwon beat Gen G, 28 minutes. Now that's a big upset because Gen G are undefeated. So Damwon just showed the formula that I talk about on my channel all the time or my streams, that you take the 4 dragons, you get the Baron, and you can close the game out in 25 minutes. It just showed a perfect game of this. So again, you watch my stream, you watch my content, you just dig through it. Back at the World Cup beyond, even the last couple years when I started, I think I preach about this. You take 4 dragons, get the Baron, and you close the game out in 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Now you do need laners that hit like the 2 items at 20 minutes, or the 1 item at 10 minutes, the 100 CS at 10 minutes, 200 CS at 20 minutes, 300 CS at 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and get into game number 2.
Ezreal does a lot of damage.
I would like
but
to.
Aiden had a fantastic game himself.
I was planning to do
Everything else
Fnatic
outside of
versus
I think everyone had a
G2 if I
fantastic game.
can
For me,
tomorrow.
Showmaker really stood out.
Oh boy.
But
don't opt into that
I
playstyle
thought
and
this
instead
was
just lean into
important
what they love, which
because
is
I already
what
did the
KT used to do
Gen
well,
G
play
versus
towards top
Damwon
side
or
with
Damwon
aiming on
versus
a
Gen G,
self-sufficient
so
carry and man.
thought it would be important to do the
Yeah.
next one, and maybe all the
again,
analysis and
helping
stuff
out
I
with
go
a lot
over
of
linked
that.
together
Let's
to
take a look
prove
at
that
the
maybe
early lead that
I knew a
led
thing or
to
two
this
about
great
League of
fight here in
Legends since I've
highlight
been watching
number
since
1,
for
which
11
will
years
have a
and
unfortunate
playing.
end here at the bottom side.
And the Fog of War games I've been playing, such as Warcraft
Okay.
3 and Warcraft
Just
2.
trolled by Rift transformation.
I don't really.
Because I'm not sure, but with Canyon,
You
there
can
as
go
well,
back, I
actually
guess,
think
and
the
watch
bot
their
was
analysis and
It could have.
And then they
prove
lost
it with
another
mine.
kill as a result, because they already lose the Drake here. That in of itself.
Sorry,
not
it
the
got
end of the
cold
world.
all of a
But
sudden.
this is where the game went from. You know,
The
like
weather
DK's
just
looking
shifted.
Good, but is it a big enough lead?
For the D plus Kia fans, who many of them were crying
It's been
after their victory over Gen G in game
stormy
1.
day here, or rainy day, which is good, but the
This is a
weather
reaction to one
wasn't
game
very
win.
warm,
If D
so it's
Plus
going to be a
win
much
the
cooler
series,
night.
People are going to pass out.
So I've been running my AC, and all of a sudden it just got
I would not
cold
be
all of a
surprised,
sudden. I had to switch
honestly.
over.
A lot of Showmaker fans here. Tons of Showmaker signs. We saw the very long paragraph there that most of you could not read, but basically just a Showmaker
I didn't see who the player of the game was.
sign, and then
Showmaker.
another one
Yeah,
with a drawing,
Showmaker.
and
Ultimately, we ended
So
up
into
with
the
D Plus
second
getting good
draft,
matchups
game
in every
number
lane,
2.
Didn't really give space for the Nidalee, and the TF map impact just completely allowed them to take over. I think Gen G took a lot of fights they didn't need to, but I think switching up the draft will be this first
One, they
step to get them in a more comfortable
Damwon
position. D Plus on the
bans
blue side,
Nautilus.
Getting that Nautilus ban, they favored against Gen G last time they matched up. Following through with a Corki as well.
One. The
Nautilus and Vi both
Lucid
taking
seems
up
to
cards.
be
Definitely means
his best pick. Seems to be
things
Vi.
like this
The
very
Rumble
high value, but I think
Ignite
first
is
pick
too
was-
strong on blue side
yeah.
with the Void
I
Grub,
mean, the
so
first
they
pick
ban it
Ezreal
on the
for
red
sure,
side.
especially because they banned Lee Sin.
Lee
And
Sin
now
gets
do we
banned.
just get the return to Sejuani for Canyon. You know, he's had a season of having fun playing like Nidalees and Ysira, and now it's like, okay, you know, we lost a game. Back to Sejuani.
I mean, they can get Ashe and Sejuani together. It does feel like
It's a pretty good pairing.
kind of the jackpot. Or
Ash's
you
win
just
rate is
play Nidalee.
57%.
Yeah, Canyon hasn't won in Italy.
So,
he hasn't won today. Against
Ashe
Italy,
was
so
bad
he's getting
into-
it. He's doubling down. We'll lock that one in.
So Ashe was bad into Ezreal, I said, right? Like the analytics, not bad. I'm not putting Ashe down. I really like Ashe, but I'm just saying statistically at the professional scene, we're looking at, because we were looking at Challenger. these stats get off, and then I don't want to confuse or say something wrong. Ash wins against Ezreal 51% of the time, so I might have skewed my stats on the last one. I don't remember. But if I did, I apologize, because these stats seem to change when you start looking at other champions, so I need more practice with the analytics. So Ash wins against Ezreal 51% of the time on patch 14.13, by the way, which is over, but that's what they're playing on. Okay, so that's important, because Ezreal gets countered, basically, is all we're saying.
And now Lucid has the choice. Do you want to try and match the pace? I think most junglers we've seen in the LCK would just lock Nidalee here.
So Gen G take the
not
Nidalee
here,
again.
Sejuani. But does he end up leaning towards a carry after the previous game performance? The answer is no.
Damwon take one of the
here?
AP jungle counters,
Pick
Sejuani's.
something in the top like the Gnar, the Cassante.
Damwon pick a
Interesting,
counter
they
right
took
here.
mid,
Sejuani into Nidalee.
but I think he'll probably just be a top lane pick here.
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, Gnar feels pretty
I'm
straightforward.
waiting for
being
my
in-
tea. That's
he
what's
wasn't the main character.
difficult about
Oh,
making hot
actually,
tea.
with
Then you gotta
LeBlanc
wait for it to
available,
cool down.
I do like
Too
this
hot.
as well.
LeBlanc.
It's not LeBlanc and Lee Sin, but Showmaker's LeBlanc also very strong.
Yeah, to me, LeBlanc Sejuani doesn't fill me with joy. But Chovy, considering the Azir, LeBlanc traditionally picked into Azir. But maybe going for like the Bruiser Azir we've seen, and just wants to be too tanky to die into the LeBlanc, which would
So we see
definitely make things
Azir on
difficult. And,
Chovy. Azir into
LeBlanc is a pick
LeBlanc.
where I feel like you need momentum, you need to be ahead, you need to be.
I was getting my little one. He wants to drive with us. Okay, so let's look at Azir matchup. See, the stats didn't change that time. Azir is good into LeBlanc 81% of the time. So I guess Showmaker just got counterpicked. And also Damwon Kia ban out the two picks that we've been seeing Chovy play all summer split. Corki and Tristana.
Be on point to get damage down. Ezreal, I think, had a fantastic game last time, but also, like, Ezreal, if you're not hitting the skill shots, you're not going to get damage done. So this is a sort of composition from D+, where, you know, it can do a lot of damage, but it can also not.
We test one other thing here. Hey now. Okay.
Depending on how things are going in the game, how people are playing, high variance is how I would describe it. Now, do you see D+ here focusing bans towards the top lane? I think maybe one of the
Gen
better
G
matchups
banned the
for King, and I
Rakan,
wanted to use those second bans,
which
to
is good in the
trim away
Nidalee
some of the picks
we
that
looked
Keen has
at in
been
the
relying
last
on.
game.
Gen G banned the Rakan, and then the Braum, they're opting for themselves. Karma
The
left
Braum
open,
seemed like it
but
didn't
obviously
do very
they kinda
much
banned that because they were picking Braum.
for Gen G the
like I'd
last
probably
game,
just
but
go
they
Leona
banned the
for.
Braum.
I don't really see a reason why you wouldn't in this
Seems
scenario.
pretty likely.
So D+, do you ban Leona, or is it like...
Which I guess
we wanna
Braum
ban
would
another
really
pick
make
for
sense
King
to
and have a
block
fun time?
Ash's Qs and her W.
That is the
Or
question.
not her Qs, but her W and her ultimate.
Well,
And
they're using all their time bank. It's going to be the Leona ban. So
block
they
the
deny
Nidalee
that.
spears. I was trying to think if Braum's
Hands.
wall would
Yeah,
block.
I mean, now
Azir's
Gen G,
ult or
you
not.
could just pick the Gnar if you want to secure that.
I
have
don't know that one.
Blind. Or you can give counter pick to Keen, and looks like they're going to do that, and they're going to pick up the Alistair in this situation. Not the easiest Alistair game, honestly.
3.
You know, so far there's 3 targets who I honestly think Alistair's going to struggle to have impact against. Ezreal.
See what Alistar is into Ezreal. Alistair wins against Ezreal 50% of the time. 56% of the time. Yes, that keeps him
Yeah.
Limited opportunity
from
to
distance. You can
combo them,
headbutt him
but
away.
we'll see. You know, had a lot of strong Alistair performances recently. Question is, does Kingen just pick the Gnar and also Kellen into that? He's going to go the Karma. So really looking to take advantage in the early levels in that lane matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the Alistair's basically just going to stand there. The Ashe should help, but we've seen
So
what
Karma
Ezreal can
is
do.
good
He can
with
bind himself,
Ezreal's
and when you've
poke.
got a Karma with it, you're winning lane.
Yeah.
Don't know so much about
That
LeBlanc.
Ashe may not get as much lane value as expected.
I'm not
Here's
big
the Gnar,
on
but as you mentioned before,
ranged
giving counterpick to
supports.
Keen
I
feels
think the
pretty
melee
good,
supports
and Gnar
in
can
a
be
higher skill
counterpickable.
matchup usually
The
beat the
angle?
ranged supports.
Potentially. We'll see.
You need
Like
some type of hard engage when you're playing at a high level, or just on a team where you want to win.
How crazy does he want to go?
That's the question. I mean, Camille would be high value here.
Yeah.
If it's just for Necton, I'll be so disappointed. The R5 for Necton. Oh, it'd be silly be
Jax.
epic. Up to
So
the Jax in this
Jax
situation.
into Gnar.
Obviously seen a pretty good Jax performance earlier today. And keen confident on that one. Yeah, I feel
It's in
like
my
my main
drafts.
concern for Gen G is the bot lane, how that's going to go. I think that top side matchups are pretty fine. And also Showmaker getting a little Blanc.
Yeah.
Presumably, I'm going to assume it's like more bruiserish Azir, but maybe not. You know, we'll see what Chovy opts to go, because obviously you don't stack Grasp that effectively against LeBlanc, but if you become bulky, then how do you die?
Yeah, just don't die. The
Okay,
thing is,
what
though, I
is the
feel like
Jax and the
LeBlanc
Gnar matchup?
is, especially with Ezreal and even
No, we
Karma,
looked it up the other
you
day.
just have an insane amount of poke. If you get ahead at all, like, is Ashe and Nidalee
59% of the time,
to
Jax
sustain
wins.
against the against the immense amounts of poke and pressure that they're
Undefeated series record for this season.
So Jax is good into Gnar.
Make the comeback happen.
I think that's the loudest fan chant I've ever heard.
You know, it's funny. You would expect, like,
Okay, so I
Yvonne
see
or even
two
Gen G,
trinket wards
they
here
cast
on
this ward but not kill it.
Hayes and lands on Gen G, which gets spotted out by Kellen.
Yeah, so this is
Now,
actually big.
if he
you
had
look
the
at bottom
zombie
left,
ward or
you can
ghost
see
pourer,
Amy's-
that might be good because he'd have that little extra ward there. But Barrel, I think, is the only one I've been seeing do that. Barrel on KT. I'm not at the top of my game today, but I found out I need to keep working on this every day or every time that I have extra time. So here I am. I'm not the best Sodaron I could be today. I'm kind of off, but that doesn't matter because in show business, you have to be on every day. The show must go on. So we've got two wards that were invested here in the top lane for Keen and Kingen. I don't think Gen G have to value the Void Grubs as much as they did the last game because they have the statistically winning matchup. So maybe Gen G will go for the dragons this time and give up the Void Grubs. And maybe that'll force DK to need to get the Void Grubs in this game. Because Kingen's in a statistically losing matchup.
XP bar.
Yep.
Get quite a bit of XP from the wards, and since they changed bot lane XP,
Ellen has the sweeper.
I think it was post MSI.
This must be Lucid's ward up
when they
here.
did that.
It was before that, right?
Was it before that? I can't remember specifically. But they
And
definitely sometime
Keen
after
used his own
8
ward
months,
early.
They definitely changed
That's
bot lane
safe.
XP. That's
A little bit of a vision difference, but Keen put his ward up
In
there.
front of me. I don't have a big
So we've got a
folder with
four-man.
He's lying, he
printed off.
does, actually.
There's no sweepers to
I'm
sweep
just
any of
talking
this
about
out
the
either.
excuses as I rifle through. Anyway, but it
Four-man
if you get that
invade.
early ward, you can actually hit level 2 a lot earlier than expected.
Fortunately, no
So they
sweeper
might-
lens there
they
for
would
Gen
typically
G,
be able
but
to catch Paze and
sure
the Hens
that'll
off
be all
guard.
right.
Paze
So
and the Hens have done this swift move of not being bot lane.
this will
I was
be
gonna
a
say,
really
lane
strong
swap
start
for
here for
Joyers.
Canyon.
And this one is he's just gonna casually steal a small wolf. He says thank you very much. That's gonna help him out in.
So this might put Gen G's bottom lane behind a little bit because Alistar's up here at a minute 45 seconds. Minute 55 seconds, you know, that's usually the laning phase is about to start. It's started in mid lane. Trying to figure out whose ward this is.
The fact that he's not really gonna be farming much, considering that he doesn't want to be bot either.
Oh,
Now
man.
Lance is going
All
make a
right.
play on
Gotta make a
Showmaker.
W,
There's
right?
4
You have
people
to
here.
know.
Got a 4-man dive Showmaker.
Yeah, he knows.
Oh,
He's gonna land the leash here.
oh
on the
okay.
game.
So
Showmaker's like, what is this guy
FaZe
doing?
went top
He's
lane.
I mean, Jax against LeBlanc.
So this was all, I guess, to
Not-
send
not a fun
Ashe
time, I'll
top
tell you
lane.
that.
No, it was ambitious. But I
So
think
we've
this
got
is
some
ever
type
a
of
game
lane
you're gonna
swap
lane
going
swap,
on here.
This is it. You know, you have such a rough early level into the Ashe Karma that it is so weird to avoid that. And I imagine they won't stay in swap lanes for long.
Which again, the Ashe is. Ashe wins against Ezreal 51% of the time, so Ashe should have been okay into Ezreal. Of course, maybe the Karma. Yeah, guessing that's why they lane swap. Now that I think about it, that the Karma is going to be maybe a little bit rough on the Alistar Ashe starting out. Maybe the first 5-6 minutes of the laning phase. So I'm guessing that's why Gen G did all this work and rotated top lane and sold the Ancient Golem.
But avoiding level 1, level 2, those first couple of waves,
As I see
actually makes such a
Lucid
big
went over
difference.
here, and
and you won't lose that much in terms
I think
of
he's
plating
working with.
in return. So
It looks like
I think it's the
Ezreal's.
correct decision.
Oh, not Ezreal. Okay,
We also
Kingan.
see
Yeah,
that
Kingan.
D+ have
Couldn't see
moved
King in
Jax
there,
up
or
to
Gnar.
start collecting XP, pressure
But
attack,
Kingan
focus
working
knowledge
with
rock up
Lucid
there.
to take
There's
away
2 plates take on the bot side.
Gen G's
but
top, or
ultimately,
Gen G's
all
bottom
really
jungle.
Aim is to get off that is like a tier, right? It was also shared with the Karma, so I think literally just to get
So
through those
Canyon's
first
doing
couple
what
of
I
levels
wanna
and
see.
come into
You're
lane
over
level
here.
3 even, 100% the correct play from Gen G, so a smart move from them.
You got a teammate
Yep.
pressured or
And
extended
at the end of
over
the day,
here.
it does
He's
seem like we
jungling
will
where he
return
should be to keep them safe.
normalcy. By the way,
Or
you were
allowing
asking, you know,
Keen
maybe
or
he goes
whoever
for
was
grasp,
top
maybe
to
doesn't,
pressure
so
the
he has,
lane.
in fact, gone for the grasp. Not sure if you mentioned that one, but
Yeah, of course he has.
he's gonna be it's gonna be a bit tanky. We'll see what kind of items he builds. You know, we've seen some differing builds.
Kingen used
along
his
the path with
teleport,
Tank Azir. Most
so
recently, BDD played
Keen
this,
has
and
a
he played
teleport
with
advantage
Riftmaker
right here.
actually.
Yeah, I think ultimately you don't need to be like this sort of. I mean, it wasn't full tank for the very tanky build.
Notice
you used to see,
Canyon. I'm guessing
earlier
this
in the
was
year.
Canyon's ward here
being
and his
bulky is
trap.
enough.
So this allows
And laning phase is looking a little bit rough. for
Keen to play
Chovy,
aggressive
but
over the
I feel
line
like
that I
of
talk
any
about.
player
And
in the league,
they get the
Chovy
Void
is the
Grubs
one who will
here.
pick losing matchups and just manage to navigate
So
them a
looking
lot
like
better
Gen G
than
want to
anyone
get the
else
Void
does.
Grubs.
And I think that's kind of his hope
And
with this.
that's
Azir
why I
matchup is
thought,
that, yes,
I
it's a
always
rough
saw
time,
Canyon. I've watched a
but
lot
it's
of
not
his
gonna be
solo
so
queue
rough
that
that he can't just
I
scale
never
into
see
a
him go
monster
for
who LeBlanc
dragons
can never
early.
kill
Very
with.
rarely, if they need to win a game, they know the
Yeah,
formula
that's,
that I was speaking
oh.
about. But
Probably what we're gonna be
he goes
seeing.
for the Void
Kellen
Grubs, and I think it's
hitting the
because it
max
allows him to get
range.
level 6 so fast.
Nice
He
volley
just
there.
gets so much
Nice
XP
volley
from
off
all the
that
Void
ball.
Grubs.
Paze is also
So
going
it's
to
not
pick up
all
camp.
about the
I see
top
you did, 'cause
lane
it
or
pays
accelerating the
into
top
P,
lane.
Yeah.
then you did
Some of
I
it too, I
guess
think,
so.
is the XP you get so quickly
Yes.
that may finish
Volley
off
on
level
Paze,
5 into
volley.
level 6 and then make a play somewhere
And,
around the
it's
map
actually
with your
pushing towards
ultimate.
aiming and Kellen, so well, they're hitting the minions. Not gonna try to zone them away or anything like that. Actually, just letting it push into them further.
Yep.
Damwon have some deep wards up here in the
We'll throw a fair bit of poke
Gen G
towards them,
bottom lane.
but it's an Alistar who can kind of just
I
shake it
like
off at the time
this
being.
ward that Showmaker
Like I
has
said,
in the
Lucid
middle
is
of the
showing
lane. When you
off,
don't, if you're mid lane and don't
but
know where to
Canyon
ward,
is
just
here
put it in the
too,
middle of the
and they will
lane.
find each other and say hello.
Yeah. You saw that, you know, the Nidalee in recent times. Only getting 2 wins
Now,
against Sejuani, and they were both cancelled.
Nidalee is
I
good
love
into
this Nidalee
Sejuani.
strategy where you just walk at them
So
and
with red buff.
attack with
maybe
red buff,
Genji,
yeah.
or maybe
I love when
Damwon
you get
should have
Nidalee's
pulled out
Lich Banes who, like,
Graves,
miss the spear, and they just,
perhaps,
like, order you with Dark
Brand,
Harvest
or-
as well,
Yeah.
and that just kills you, and you're like, yeah, good job, buddy.
They did well with Lee Sin, so Lee
Well,
Sin
they
got
had to get
banned.
themselves in a position
Lee
to
Sin
be
got
able
a
to
buff on this
in the first
patch,
place.
Oh, getting fed on
so
Nidalee
I'm
is
surprised we're
really
not seeing
How did they manage it?
Chovy
more
is
Lee
gonna
Sin.
land
I'm
it.
sure we
Chovy
will.
Taking a really rough trade here. Chovy
But
does
last
not
game,
have
Lee
TP
Sin looked pretty
anymore.
good.
Obviously, neither
Again,
does
he
Showmaker,
also
but
allows you
hey,
to skip
Can you
the
heal
blue buff,
yourself?
which we
Go
saw
heal Chovy, that's your job, right?
Damwon
Jungle
take
Soraka?
advantage of in the last game, where Canyon was
Yes.
kind of taking the
yeah, I mean,
the
Chovy,
blue
he's
buff,
okay
and so
for the time
Lucid
being,
came
but I do
bottom
feel
lane
like unless
and
he gets a little bit of
forced to
help here
dive, and there
eventually,
was nothing that
Showmaker will
Genji
push
could
him
do.
out.
So another
Well, as I
advantage
say
of
that,
Lee
you
Sin
know,
over
Wave
the
gets
AP
pushed in and They want
junglers.
to make a play here for the grubs, so Chovy himself should be fine.
Yeah, I think they will have to sacrifice. If Canyon really wants to trade his flash to try and steal one, he can, but he decides that it's
So
not
instead,
a good idea.
DK decided to go up
Oh,
here.
does he?
Showmaker stops laning to help the
He
Void Grubs.
decides it is a good idea, and
Okay.
you know what, Lucid and Showmaker just let it happen.
They're like, you know what, you can have one. There's a freebie. You had a rough game 1. Yeah, I think Jack's coming back with TP,
But now-
and Kingen being half HP in a tower, kind of a little bit of a concern, so they don't overstay, they don't overcommit. D+ still respecting their opponents after blasting them in game 1.
They
Don't
said,
see
"That
any
was game
sign
1,
of
this
the
is game
teams going
2,
for Dragon. That's
respecting
what I'm
it."
looking
Oh,
at
no,
right
You have
now.
to have that mindset, because
Yeah.
it's very easy to come into game 2
Watch it
and be
down
like,
here.
damn, we smoked these oh no, we've lost. And
Again,
Actually that
I
fast.
live in a
Yes,
world
you
where
said it.
most
And I
people
think,
have
you
multiple
know,
monitors.
against
I really
Genji,
need one for what
that is
I'm trying to
definitely
do
a
because
team you
I'm
can't afford
watching
to
too
do it
much
against.
stuff where I
Yeah.
almost need
And,
2
I mean, this
screens.
is a lot of what we saw in the beginning of game 1, where it was just very slow.
When I watch League of
Not a lot of
Legends
action.
matches,
Great
normally I
defense.
watch on my
The
big
first
screen
kill
TV,
was
but I
the
can't
TF ult,
stream
Right?
it.
We saw that in the bottom lane.
So
TF ult
forces
came
me
in,
on
they
my
were able to
PC, which
dive,
I only
they
have a
killed the bomb.
25-inch
I don't really
monitor,
expect TFL to get many kills
and
this game.
I
It's
guess
not
I
going
need 2
to,
of them.
You've got Lucid, he's
Well, I
at level
said-
6.
I said probably one. I didn't say for sure, you know.
I'm pretty sure about it personally.
Okay.
Take a look at the CS in mid, by the way.
These
Showmaker,
wards
he
are allowing
hooked out with the
Chovy to
grubs,
Play
and
so
Chovy just
aggressive like
ate the
this
full
again.
wave under the turret
If
we
you wonder
saw,
why Chovy
and
can do
now
this,
he's
well,
won the
that's
trade
some of the
in mid,
reasoning. These
and
wards right here,
Showmaker's
so
back.
it's
Yeah, now
not,
he's winning lane.
maybe don't want to play like
What
Chovy in
happened?
solo queue.
Yeah, just, you know, that's just Chovy things.
Your teammates would thank
That's
you
the
if
way
you
I'll explain it.
didn't do that.
Yes, thank you for that analysis.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get a good eye on how things led into those trades. But I think, as
So it
you
looks
said,
like Gen
those
G
were
are going to
all-time
start
mids
this
where
dragon.
Showmaker,
I don't
like, passed out
see
towards the
Damwon
side
doing
jungle,
anything
and now-
to
Oh, nice flash from Lehens
we
here,
get
and
Lucid's ult out,
Hayes.
but I was going to say there's
He just
nothing
knew
I
that if
think
he gets
Damwon
slowed, there's a
can
chance.
do
Now
here
Lucid getting in
to
there. The smite does go the way of
fight.
Canyon, but now he's being bullied in the river. His first blood.
So they
Fate
lose
Divide
Canyon,
comes
but they
through,
get the dragon.
flashes are down and the chase potential.
I think I'd rather have the dragon
They're not
for a
going
life.
to follow up on it. They
Because
say,
you
okay,
get
take
4
the
of them, you get the dragon soul.
we'll
It's
get
really
the kill,
easy
we'll
to
get
close
first
out a
blood.
game
Look at
like
their
the
gold
last
lead
series
right
that was
Yeah,
28
even with the one
minutes
with Fierce
long.
Blood as well. Remember, he
They
got
didn't have
those
any
2
Void
plates
Grubs.
from
They
the
had
tower
4
early
dragons,
on
1
as a
Baron,
CS
closed the
lead.
game out
A
28
good
minutes
start for
against
him,
an
and I just think
undefeated
Genji
team.
weren't prepared to be contested on this dragon. I will say though, Lehen's flash is kind of
Okay, we lose Lahin's
That was
flash
for the
as
wall.
well.
Page
Yeah.
flash. I'm less praiseful of.
I mean,
be honest.
Lahin's
Just
loses
like
his
Canyon, but
flash.
then he's stunned before he can get to the wall to flash over. Genji were really
It looked
just
like
let's
somebody
get
was
every
going for
summoner
blue
in the
buff. I
game,
guess Chovy
to
was
get this dragon.
going for blue buff.
They're playing.
Unfortunately, Canyon died, so they didn't get a chance to bin all of them.
Yeah, he'll hold on to his flash for next time.
Need my tea. I've
Meanwhile-
got my little dog on my lap. I don't want to burn him. See if I can do this without burning my dog. Oh baby, that's some good tea. I see Lehens has got Glacial Augment on Alistar. It also was going to do this stream earlier today, but I got caught up watching G2 against Fnatic. I don't want to ruin who won, who lost. I do tend to follow Gen G and try to be active, or Gen G, G2. There's too many G's and Gen G, G2, JD, JDG. Try to be active on social media with G2. They amaze me how big of a following they have and the support they have from their fans. So I don't really pick favorites, but I've slowly maybe turned into a G2 fan over the last couple years. And I got caught up watching the G2 vs Fnatic series. I would like to do a VOD review of G2 vs Fnatic. So that's what I was maybe planning to cook for tomorrow.
Top lane. We do have the Snar versus Jax matchup.
My
We've seen
first
this
fans
before,
that I
where Gnar
received
can
from my VOD
absolutely
reviews
bully,
are from the
but,
LEC.
you know, eventually
Think
the Jax gets to
They liked
3
that I
items, and if he
did
gets the
VOD
jump on
reviews. It
mini
was
Gnar,
Mad Lions,
can be a
and then I
threat
did
as
some
the game comes
G2.
along.
Honestly, the trading
So
pattern
G2
of
has a
Jax
very
is so
loyal fan
obnoxious
base
because
that you don't want to
it's
be on the
grass
bad
Jax as
side
well.
of.
You just stack grasp up on the minions and then just jump in and do a big whack, counter strike and run away. Every
As
time.
I see Karma
Repeat.
get somebody got a Scryer's
And he will do
Bloom
that as soon
of
as
the
cooldowns are back up and available.
Oh, it's a
Gen
lot of
G
damage in
bottom
the hands.
jungle.
Remember, he doesn't have his flash. He just got back to lane. He has
We're
a
just
refillable
waiting on the
potion,
dragon to spawn in
and
3
yet
minutes, and the next
he's
Void Grub
struggling.
as soon as
They
the
have the hawk shot just to say,
There we
okay,
go,
well,
28
robbing
seconds
go,
on the
but
Void
we
Grub,
still
so
don't exist, and that's more free time
Damn
for Ian
Wakia
with his
have the
turret.
Scuttle
Yeah, he
Crab
gets so much
over the
gold.
dragon,
Full plate to him as
Baron
well.
This is
Pit
the
for the
point where I
Scuttle
wonder,
Crab,
like, how
so
much value
it's
do you get
looking
out of
like
counter pick with this Jax? Like,
looking like
the
Damn
Gnar is fine
Wakia
in
might
this
get this
matchup.
next Void Grubs.
and you kind of
Oh,
opted
nope,
in
here
to
comes
this lane
Sejuani.
matchup bot.
They're
Well, they
making
have
a
the
dive
ult.
on the
Now an
bottom.
arrow's gonna hit Kellen, but he just
Now,
runs
this
away.
might be
Here
because
comes
Keen
Lucid
doesn't
trying to
have
turn
his
this one around. The
teleport.
Canyon's there. Meanwhile, we got a 1v1 in mid. Showmaker
So Keen didn't
is
have his
LeBlanc,
teleport.
and so I would assume he's
Chovy
totally
just
fine.
used his ult. I
And
just
another
noticed
fight
that
in the top
Chovy
lane
was
that
doing
Keen
Grasp of the
seemingly
Undying
won.
Yeah, I mean, you could have just
Azir in
taken
this game, so he's
Gnar
going to be
on
very
Gen G.
tanky. This is tanky
Clearly,
Azir.
the Gnar, you know, your counter pick isn't working top
Pays his
Watch
cleanses
this.
down, his flash is down.
and then you could have counter picked support and not dealt with whatever this is. You know, they just land a spear and aiming, and you still like whatever. You know. Like,
Also,
well, he's half HP now with some healing, but
Showmaker's on the sweeper lens, which means guess he's going to
okay,
roam and try to make plays top and bottom.
I mean, I guess he was gonna TP into mid anyway, but yeah, doesn't really do much to TP down there.
the scenic TP.
So
It's like
there's only one
the
sweeper lens
bully
on
my
Gen
little
G
brother TP.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, leave him alone.
Yeah.
Just showing up.
Which this
Remind
is
me
what
that
I'm
that
trying
Cody
to
is in the
figure
game.
out and tell my
he will
following
be-
here and trying to help people that play
This
League of
is a
Legends
very
solo
good
queue is
play,
when to
actually,
trade
from
these
Kellen
trinket
all the
wards
way.
for the sweeper lens.
He's not an
Because I
expert. He
normally,
knows the
I'm a
bottom lane
jungler,
from
I
left.
keep my
I think that
trinket
might be the
ward
play that
maybe
gets
on the
people
first
killed the most.
So
couple
you're gonna say that's
backs.
the play of the game.
No.
And if I have decent vision on the when I
You're like,
recall
yeah,
or the
that's
second
right.
recall,
I
I'll
swear I see
swap.
so many pro supports try and do that,
Depending
and
on
then
how
just
much
die.
gold I have, if I can
yeah.
buy control
They
wards
generally
or
do it
not.
in the face of their opponent support.
Yeah, they're like, you won't kill. Oh,
Damwon's not going to do anything
It's
to
very- very quick.
prevent Gen G from taking the
mess around
Void
and
Grubs.
find out.
Are Gen G gonna get 4 grubs? I mean, they had 5 in the first game. Didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out
You know, I
why
think
they're not
grubs are only
fighting
useful if you get to hit towers.
Gen G over the Void
I'd say
Grubs, or
that's
if they're
accurate
planning to take
analysis.
the Dragon instead.
That's
Looks
my
like
job,
maybe
that's
they're
what I'm
planning
here
to take
for.
the Dragon because it's
And
50
yeah, Gen G didn't do
seconds
too much of that
till the
last
Dragon
game.
spawns, and Kellen has
Aiming
been behind the
already has
Dragon
strike
Pit,
force,
and
by
he's
the
now
way.
going up into the
That's pretty
bottom
early.
jungle of
Pretty
Gen G,
strong.
so they're
Yeah.
prepping
Level
for
9
the
with
Dragon, the
Q-Max as
Scuttle
well.
Crab, you're getting vision.
I mean, we know
Again,
how
you
strong
don't want to
Ezreal can be,
just
but this is a
ping
very
and go for like a
early
dragon.
spike for the Ezreal.
You want to try to
It is
communicate
quite
with your
early.
teammate. I know it's very difficult in solo
Oh man, that's
queue,
something I mean, I guess Ziggs builds it occasionally.
but
you
at
don't
least
see
ping and
him
give them a
very
heads
often.
up, maybe 30 seconds, a minute
Yeah, that's
ahead of
Sejuani
time.
back here, by the way.
I
That's
type
what
in
it is.
chat,
And this
Dragon
is
in a
toggle.
minute, or
Also, an
prepare for
Ezreal
Dragon.
thrown up into the top lane.
Try to give ahead of
Mullet
time,
from
like 2
Chovy.
minutes before the Dragon.
It kind of
Dragon
feels
in
like
2
it's Chovy
minutes,
versus
and then
aiming now,
Dragon
who's
in
gonna
1
end up
minute.
full fed.
Now, most of the time,
Well,
my teammates
currently it's
never respond
definitely
or say anything,
yeah.
and
But
It's just me going to the dragon
Chovy is
alone.
playing Azir. It was
But
actually, I wonder
in a
if he
world
goes
where you
back
have
to the
actual
Azir, even
teammates,
into
like
LeBlanc,
you would
in
think
this matchup, he
that's all in
chooses this
professional teams
matchup
where pros are getting
because,
paid money to
remember,
play,
it was Azir
they would
that was able to turn the
professionally
game
treat
around
each other
against
like
D plus
teammates
Kia
and
True.
in
be
their
able to
matchup
coordinate
in
and
round
plan
1.
plays
Yeah, just
ahead
get
of
a five-man
time
shuffle.
with
It's that
communication.
easy.
Yeah.
It's that straightforward.
Showmakers using that sweeper lens
yeah,
to get out
both-
some vision.
Chovy has now.
Well,
picked
I
up
would
the
say
Andrews.
that
Canyon doesn't have it yet.
Damwon should get
And
this
Dragon's gonna get
dragon.
started. It's a Mountain Drake, pretty high
Good
value,
time to take it.
50+.
Keen
Let's see
doesn't
what
have
Soul
teleport,
is.
and Chovy don't have
I say
teleport.
nervously.
Also, Pays doesn't have teleport. We're aiming.
Yeah, just think about
Aiming
Atlas
had teleport
drilling
in the
it right
last
now.
game. This game
Oh
he
God,
took
he'd be
barrier.
so upset.
First turret blood goes over to D plus
So,
Kia. It goes over
Genji's
to
gonna get the
Gaming
Rift
alone
Herald here,
in the
and
bottom lane. They are really just dumping every little
Damwon is going to get the
doubloon
dragon. Genji's going to
from
get the Rift Herald.
Every coin they can find, it's going into Amy's
Lehen's getting
pocket.
some nice
And
deep
it's an
vision.
Infernal Soul. High value for both
In
teams, honestly.
the
A lot of
top
poke,
side,
long-range abilities that can
Damwon
benefit from
Kia
it.
jungle,
And also, my
which this
favorite
is what you want to be
minigame
doing
in League of
because
Legends.
Keen is
This
so
Cinders.
overextended up here over the line, like I say.
A
So
lot of fun stacking them up. And
Genji's
honestly,
going to
you
come get
enough of
this
them,
first
you don't
turret
die.
down, which this should
So much ability
then
base.
rotate
Yeah.
the bottom
It's pretty
laners in the
ridiculous.
middle.
And you get to the point where Ezreal doesn't need to auto attack anymore. Just, just throw in Qs.
Only Q.
Yep. And W sometimes. Occasionally.
Went down, bud.
If you want to put on some
I
pressure.
think little
Yes,
buddy
quite
went
near
down.
the ground.
Maybe R, you know?
Ooh,
Long range.
Okay. It looks like Damwon have a lot of wards sweeper lens here. 1, 2. Are these all sweeper? These 3 sweeper lens. That looks like a no. I guess that's a sweeper lens too. So a Farsight ward and 4 sweeper lens.
Range poke.
yeah, okay, that checks.
Keep that on lower cooldown. It's like a
look
snowball
at the
effect with Ezreal, 'cause
matchups.
you get your Q off cooldown faster, so you get your other stuff off cooldown faster.
Basically even.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty insane how broken this champion is.
Gnar and Jax.
You know,
With Cinders.
it's you know what I think's funny is
I think
everyone
I
really
said
agrees that,
Jax
like, Ezreal's
was
super
the
strong right now.
good matchup in the Gnar.
Imagine if Ezreal had come out this year. Imagine if it was like, okay, so his Q is 140% AD ratio. His ult does how much damage at level 6?
So it's kind of looking like Kingan's having a really good game on Gnar
if he
that
hits his
Keen
Q.
should be
3
doing
seconds?
If you
better,
I mean,
even though
in a
it's looked
team
like
fight,
Keen
yeah.
was pressured the whole time.
So we're given an 80 carry with long
But
range.
Keen has
With his Q, he's
4
like longer range than like any 80 carry. And we're giving him
Void
flash.
Grubs. Let me make sure my stats are right. Jax wins against Gnar 59% of the time. So Kagan's having a really good game into this Jax plus Jax had the Void Grubs.
On that shorter cooldown on a regular ability. Okay, yeah.
That seems fair to me.
Yeah, seems really balanced. You know, I feel like there's a lot of champions that
Lucid's
frame
got
them
his
that way,
Zeke's Herald.
They don't sound okay.
Canyon's a
I mean-
little bit behind right now.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Ezreal.
Ezreal's okay.
Ezreal already has his 2 items just waiting on the
He's
Man Immune to stack at 20
A
minutes.
lot of times, I feel like it's a compounding issue because he has such a safe laning phase that it's very difficult for him to get behind as well. So we see
It's
so many
looking
games
like
where he just does this.
Damwon
And
Kia is
when
ahead right now. If you had a
I
straight up team
applaud you
fight,
for
they
not
should
using
be
your
ult to
ult.
beat
Yeah.
Genji.
This is kind of the Lucian army thing,
Yeah.
but it's just Ezreal. Just stand mid and just poke everyone out and they can't walk up to you.
Yeah. You don't get behind, and oftentimes you get ahead because he got so strong and his Qs do so much damage that you win lane, actually. And you get into positions like these where you are insanely fit.
Yeah, Pace has a Shiv, by the way.
Just a
And
vision
even though
war
he's
going on right
approaching
now.
Triforce Mana Mute, like he already has the item, he just needs to stack it.
Yeah.
Now, as for ownership of the map,
Ever just appearing mid,
Uh-oh.
I guess it's even
Lucid.
too.
they can't kill Lucid.
No, he's very strong. You know, even though they're trying to give every single coin to aiming, it's not spring season anymore. And Lucid at least
Trying to
gets the
think of
farm.
how I would.
I love how this graph
This
is like,
is pretty even.
FaZe is like, oh, I got Shiv, and Aim was like, oh, you got Shiv?
Uh-oh, Lens.
Lance gets caught out again. He got caught out a lot last game, so he loses his ultimate.
Yeah, he's just trying to walk it off desperately. One more Q would do it, but Canyon is going to take the hit. But now you lost your Alistar in mid.
Yeah, this is what you get for trying to exist. They're going to have to TP Chovy to try and defend this.
So Chovy's teleporting bottom. He was
Arrow's
top.
good aiming. He's going to be hit by it, but he does get out. Lucid is going to have to pay the price, but here's Showmaker. They trade the kill back.
Go back and look at
Canyon
the positioning and stuff. Alistar's recalling. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Showmaker is trying to come up here and catch Chovy. Man to man. Looked like Hens was recalling. Jax is over here. He has teleport up. So everybody has their teleports. And Canyon has the Rift Herald. Might be the Ezreal power spike you get from when you proc the W on the turrets. And the Karma poke that you can poke under turrets. That might be some of why they win this fight.
Lost your Alistar in mid.
Yeah, this is what
Like I said too, they're on a higher item power spike, or they were a minute ago when I was talking. Because like Ashe just got her first item and she's behind.
you get for trying to exist. They're going to have to TP Chovy to try and defend this.
So I was trying to figure out why DK were pressuring this. Like I said, they got a higher item power spike at the moment.
Down, so
Pays catches Ezreal with a really nice ultimate, and he doesn't have cleanse right here, so
Arrow's good aiming. He's
does have barrier.
going to be hit by.
Lucid gets Azir ulted into the turret and dove on by Jax.
Kingen trying to hop away. Spear will miss, and now the kiting is coming back. The kite ability of this DK comp, you can really feel it, but they certainly got caught out a bit there in mid.
this champ with the flash on like an 8-second cooldown, you know? It's so OP. No, I think Aiming played that really well after the fact that he got caught. Obviously not ideal to get hit by the arrow, but the response very quick to avoid the shot.
Also the teleport saves the turret.
Hit him with that. The shutdown might have been a just big team fight win for the side of Gen G. Maybe they could get another kill out the back of that, would have been willing to chase more, so managing to avoid disaster there, but you still gotta be cautious.
Kellen gets
about
his Mikkel's
I
Crucible.
think LCK fans very aware of what Azir can do to AD carries.
Yep.
Nothing new here.
They've experienced both sides of that. Here is Aiming in mid. He takes out the mid turret as well. And this is right before the first Infernal Drake is about to spawn. Did he just steal that too?
God.
And look at this.
Oh
the
wow,
range,
Showmaker
it's
just
incredible.
about
If they get ahead, LeBlanc is just so
they
oppressive.
took
This is the
Pays
evolution
down
of
under his
Aiming.
Odor.
He's
That was a
gone from
lot of
stealing his
burst
own
damage.
junglers' camps to stealing the other junglers.
Yeah.
Much more effective.
Kane's just waiting. He does have TP, so if they do want to fight over this Infernal Drake, which at this point in time doesn't look like they're in a position to.
And you know,
Dragon
this
live
game
in
obviously
20
isn't going nearly as
seconds.
bad as the
Baron
last
will be
one.
up. Now again, I
But
talk
right
about
now,
this.
we're honestly
It seems like
staring down a
teams,
2-0 loss
especially
to Gen G.
T1, maybe
That is the
Gen
direction
G,
it is going in
they
right
won't
now.
go for the Baron
DK
at
gold
20
with the
minutes
bus,
as Kingen starts
and they're
up
looking
the
to secure
Dragon
another
here.
Dragon. Gen G just
They-
wasted Herald.
Yeah.
Don't go for Baron unless you have 2 items. So DK look like they're on their 2 items, and Gen G are a little bit behind at the moment.
Make sure he doesn't get in, but now Keen is being walked down the lane. And I mean, you can just play with the Zax. This is what
Looks
the
like
LeBlanc
Showmaker
does to
might
him,
solo
and
take
thankfully
down
he gets
Keen
an
here.
disengage cone to survive, otherwise he wouldn't have.
Showmaker's
Here's
teleports
Keen over
down.
the
Keen
wall,
has his teleport,
looking
so
to
smart
pressure
play
in on
by
this one, just a
Keen.
straight up 4v4.
Very risky.
Showmaker does not have
He should be able to teleport in here and clean up
trying to come back in
DK
this
if
one as-
needed.
Wait, Showmaker's still chasing.
Yeah, he's still
Showmaker
chasing
can't
him,
do
actually.
anything.
Look at the damage, but
Also,
somehow
Gen G
Genji's
get the
doing
dragon
something, and
here,
now Lucid
plus
has
they've
to
got a
flash
teleport
away.
advantage as
Lens
well.
is going to flash himself
Now,
to get over the
I might
wall.
be able to
Gen
talk
G,
more
they
about that
sneak
fight
away
and the
the
positioning and
Infernal
stuff where
Delicate
Damwon went wrong.
oh,
I mean,
okay.
mainly they're losing their
Good
main
old-
shot
good old
caller there,
shot from Hayes there to
Showmaker, that
scout
needed
out
to
the
be at
LeBlanc.
the dragon.
Showmaker is hunting right now.
Uh-oh. Hayes.
Saw the LeBlanc. He's fine. He's good.
And it looks like
knew, he was aware.
Showmaker got baited in that play, and then he
Yeah,
was trying to
so
make up
it could've
for
been a
it
disaster,
by kiting around so
but
much and
Showmaker did a good
following
job of
Keen.
stopping Keen from teleport.
Or
Obviously, don't
maybe he
have to
should have
teleport
just went
himself.
towards the dragon
He
pit.
was able to get back and join the
So
fight.
they-
That could have honestly been
Damwon got
win for
outplayed in
Gen
that
G. They were trying to get
situation.
in the
I
health bars,
could
obviously
or
pushed
should
forward
go
quite
back and rewatch,
effectively,
but I'm not.
but in the end, Gen G
There's
managed
so
to
many
get the dragon and
games I can
disengage.
talk about the same thing
Definitely
some
felt
other
good to
day,
go,
so
but
I'm not gonna worry about
With
that.
3k gold down, you're against a fed Ezreal in the mid game, and you secure dragon, no casualties.
So most teams
I'll take
won't
it.
go for the
They'll
Baron
take it. I
until
really
they've
don't know
got
how they
2
managed
items.
that, but it
So
kinda
he's
was
behind,
a
Pays.
stalemate into a bit of a
Chovy's
poke war,
behind.
and
There's no way that
Strat
like
Sammy wasn't really
Chovy
getting all his
or
stuff,
Pays
and
are gonna
Showmaker
go for
wasn't
this
there,
Baron
so
fight until they
they
get
didn't
their
have
2
the
items.
LeBlanc to help
Keen's the
out,
type of
and
player
Lucid
that
was
he
trying to
might.
near the dragon, but he was taking a bunch
And
of damage as he was doing it, so eventually Pays
Canyon's
had
behind on
confidence
his
to step
2
up and
items.
start autoing him, and then eventually Lucid just had to abandon ship. So
Support should have
turned into this really
Warmogs
awkward stalemate for DK where they just
guessing
kinda
by
had the
now
whole
or close.
jump ship. And
Karma's got the Mikhail's
Oh, it looks like
Crucible
Shovy's
to
got
counter
very-
any type of
The
CC,
more tanky, like actual tank.
like the Ashe ult.
Azir build.
yeah.
Showmaker's on his
Has
2
picked up that
items.
Megatron cloak already.
So
Both the top laners
didn't really hurt all too much.
maybe a
but
little
then he
bit
did
behind
result.
right now, so they don't have their
He's gotta be
2
good
items.
about hitting those.
I've heard that skill shots do less damage.
Normally you hit 100
Yeah, I
CS
have
at
heard
10
that as
minutes,
well.
200 CS
He
at
does
20
have a
minutes,
map set for
300
so any amount of
CS at
damage he
30
takes.
minutes, and so on.
It's just gonna be
That's your goal if you're
taking
a
back.
solo queue player
And
trying to
Hayes, if
figure
you're
out
ever
what
caught
you
in
do
this
wrong or
situation
why you
against
lose
LeBlanc
lane
or Ezreal,
or why you
this is
lose
what's going to
lane
happen.
and
Yeah,
win lane
they
and lose
can't
game.
challenge him in the mid lane, and what are they supposed to
Or
do?
maybe you need to realize
now
if you're an AD player and you
has
win
Mikhail.
your lane,
This
you get
is
the
actually
first
a
turret down, but
non-cleansed
you keep
Ezreal
pushing
into
your
an
lane and pushing your lane,
But
you
it's
don't
because
understand
you
why you
have
get caught
Kelly
out.
rushing
Well,
this
you need to
item
rotate
first,
to the
so
mid lane
when
around
Arrow
15
connects,
minutes,
They have the easy
and then
answer,
your
and with no
mid
flash on
laner
the
and your
hands,
bot
how
and your
else do you
top
close the
laner
distance on this Ezreal?
split
You don't
push
have
the
the
side or
engage
side
support, but
lane
actually,
they
look at
call
this. Some
they,
vision here
they
on the
coined the
King,
term
and he's gonna
side lane.
utilize his
The
own
people in the League of
disengage
Legends
mode
scenes
to
are
survive.
so
I feel
smart. They
horrible about
coined
it,
a
but, you know, what am I
really
gonna
neat
do?
phrase called
Just
side
avoiding as
laning,
much action here as we possibly
So,
can.
which means you lane and the
Either
side
way, not going
lanes,
to kill
the top
Sodaron
lane or the
this
bottom
time.
lane.
And yeah, we're just still sitting here at 2-1. But DK, a very natural lead.
So Gnar gets his
Slowly but
Sterix
surely
gauge,
taken here by
and Jax
that's
gets
been
his
some
Sundered
damage.
Sky. So now's the time.
Now, you know,
Minus
you know,
Chovy. Now Chovy
no, he's
might
actually
not be up
recalling,
for this
so
Baron fight.
wouldn't even need to.
He's not so much like Faker, I think.
Another turret
He
to fall.
worries
That's
more
the
about
third tier
CS
1
than
turret
items.
Taken down.
He's not worried about the itemization.
By
He's
D+P.
just worried about,
Feels
I'm going to
very
miss
gradual
CS.
pushing advantages, and I feel like with how that composition functions, you know, the Gnar side lane pressure, the poke, and the threat of the LeBlanc Ezreal, they will just like pick apart a team. They will just like peck and jab and bite here, but committing to a full 5v5 is dangerous, and I think they are very aware of that. Abyssal Mask finished for Chovy, so if he gets up close and personal, we'll have a lot of value with that one. Definitely going for this more bulky build. We have the
So
Seekers who can build his
Ash
onions.
is
We'll have a bunch of
getting
armor, bunch of
behind,
health, bunch of
280
MR,
CS to 220 CS to 60
just to try and
CS.
mitigate all this damage that Showmaker and Aiming are doing right now.
Dragon up in 50
And, you know,
seconds.
a lot of damage was done since the last dragon, but there have been no kills
Baron is
since the last
live.
dragon. So we're kind of resetting here as once again we're trying to engage onto the Alistair. And it has kind of worked for DK. They've gotten
Lehens is
value
just
out of
sweeping
it,
out Vision.
but not
Looked like
necessarily
he
the
almost got
best
caught
target
out.
on the Rift.
And I think DK
Yeah, I
are
mean,
aware of this,
they do
so
a
they're
decent
trying to
job
catch
trying to
Lehens
pull
out
and get it
because if
low.
you saw last game, he got caught out about
look
3 or
for
4
here.
times.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna do it
So
again
that's
as
what
Lehens
DK
does get in
is
front of
need to
that,
be
so
doing
Phoenix
is they
doesn't
hit
have
the
flash or
Sejuani
cleanse.
ult on Lehens, and then this
TP also gonna be
forces a
forced
teleport
here
from
by both
Chovy
of our
and
laners, as both of them will be ready for this Infernal Drake
Showmaker.
fight as the Spears, man. Canyon just
But
keeps
Showmaker didn't
getting
have a
aiming.
ward
Yeah, aiming
close
standing
to
next to
teleport
Drain, so
to.
you
That
can't
might have
actually
been a
see the
misplay
spear
from
coming.
Showmaker right here
Quick
too,
against
because
him, bit of poke there from Chovy.
Showmaker teleported
Aiming
on
is
this
gonna heal
ward
up
when he
a
had this
fair
ward back
amount.
Oh,
here.
now they engage onto
Could
the
have
minion.
flanked
King in a lot of
behind,
trouble,
so
but so is the Lehens. Lehens goes down. Just like that, Showmaker sees the angle, and Lehens didn't have ult, and they knew it. As now trying to pressure on a Chovy, eating into Chovy, aiming gets McHale's though, and now they're being walked by both Karma and LeBlanc. The issue though is that's only damage into Keen, and they have heals from this Nidalee.
Yeah, Chovy's tankiness paying a lot of dividends there. But the TP flank coming in.
Yeah, they wanted
Well,
this
there's
move up,
Kingen
but I don't think
using
they're
that
gonna get
ward
it,
now.
and they might just die as well. Chovy by
Hayes gets
himself,
caught
he's very
out.
tanky, but it's not gonna matter
But
all
he
too
has
much.
cleanse,
Taken
so
down. Keen is in the
cleanse
back
is
line
so
here, trying to
valuable.
do something, but he's
I
tethered
think
up
that's
by
some of the
both
reason
Karma and
Guma
LeBlanc again.
loses is he
Another
just
1C
won't
fight
use
for
cleanse, he
D+
wants to
Kia,
use
and they
barrier.
will
Maybe
use
they're
Infernal
limit
Drake.
testing.
D+ managing
So
to
Pays-
navigate it.
Pays-
Great TP
I was gonna
to
say,
Kingen
did he get
in
the blue
extended
buff?
trade.
I
Genji
would
probably
think that
thinking
Canyon
they
would have
won
gave
out,
the
they
blue
have
buff
Nidalee, they have
over
the
to
sustain, but now
Hayes
health
right
bars are
here. He
low,
needed the
and they get
mana.
a contest.
See if they can. They land that spear on a Lucid. And that might be the angle. The true shot for us
Big-
goes wide. That one hits
Yeah.
Canyon, but now the
I was wondering why Canyon had the blue buff, but he must have had the other blue buff, so Canyon was like, "Here, Pays, take my blue buff." Which that was a situation where Pays needed the blue buff. That might have turned the whole fight right there because Pays was out of mana, where Pays needed to go back, recall, to refill his mana. A lot of people are out on the map with no mana, and then they get caught out and they need to just recall.
They've finally shown up.
They're finally here.
So,
as the D+ Kia
Genji's gonna get the
oh,
Baron.
that wasn't great. Genji starts off like this.
And this was so scrappy. I think big things to note is obviously Lehens not having the ultimate.
Nice
becomes such a vulnerable
WQ
target.
from Lehens there on Gnar to keep him,
And then
or he was Mega Gnar to keep him locked down, keep him out of the fight.
From here, but the TP re-engage comes in, and it gets very messy. Chovy.
You can watch this for a second
while
while I'm getting my
ends
dog.
up paying for it here. Gets an ult onto aiming, trying to knock them into Keen. Keen can't do more to follow up, and it looks really solid for D+ off the back of that. But here, health bars are low, and Pays just remains
So the blue buff again was very valuable here. That most players would have recalled, or their jungler would have took the blue buff away from them, even though they already had a blue buff and very greedy and didn't need another one. So Canyon was very generous to Pays. He must really like him.
And you know what? Genji
Gave him
right
the blue
back in
buff.
The driver's seat, 2 Infernal Drakes and a Hextech Drake and Baron.
Yeah,
Let's see what this
Zier
Baron
has
power
a-
play
And you know,
looks
the,
like.
the gold lead, only 1,000 in favor of D+
Zanya's
now. The extra stats
Hourglass
probably
here, so he
Veil
can
Dragons as well.
engage and not
They'll
die.
comfortably make up for that.
And the
So the
Abyssal
game feels a
Mask
lot more
and
even, but now it's
Beyond
Genji
His
trying to
Torment.
get
So all of
value
a
out of
sudden now
this Baron.
Chovy's
That
on
power
3
mid
items
is so
and
low,
3
you see
important
D+
items.
are trying to
And
get
has the
minions
Zanya's
away,
Hourglass, which
aiming,
is
using the shield for the
great
bloodthirst
for
to
engaging or
mitigate
disengaging a
any
fight.
of the harass, and you can just stand so far forward, so aggressive. They will send Keen down bot lane to try and pick up that tier 1, but mid tier 1 is the goal. That is what Genji want to get. The sooner they crack that, the sooner
I'm
they
doing
can make
another
progress
stream where
on
I'm
the
at the
rest
end
of
of
the
my
towers.
day, so I'm sipping on
But still,
tea,
you know,
maybe a
given enough
little bit
time,
too much
D+
while I'm
Kia
talking, but
is able to clear a
need
lot
the
of the
caffeine to
wave.
wake
This
me
one
up just a
being
little bit.
cannon wave, maybe Genji are able to get close enough. They get that tier 1 in bot.
So
As we were
Ezreal's on
mentioning,
3
Genji as a
items.
team just kind of pulling
Ashe
off
again is a
of
little
the
bit behind right
mid
here.
lane.
And you know, the tower's so low, but it feels like a slight bit lower.
Guessing
Yeah, I
Nidalee's
mean,
going for Nidalee's going for Zanya's
Well,
Hourglass
there you go.
If it
next.
was a little lower, they could just actually
Sejuani's on the
D+
Warmogs.
and then plant the Azir tower, but D+ eventually back off. They don't hold any longer. Maybe they realized that was a possibility. And now with a minute left of the Baron, the
Alistar's
siege
still behind. He
continues
really needs that
onto
Warmogs.
tier 2.
No, the ult's not going to hit anyone, and Lehen's just going to...
Pretty unreal how much you or how quick you heal up if you're a support with the Warmogs.
Yeah, I think a big thing with Alistar is very easy to ult too late and just already be dead. So he pre-ults, doesn't end up really needing it, but it does force D+ to back off, and they also
So
build
still a
bit of
close game
Sejuani ult.
statistically,
Keen will
even
get the
though I
tower
think
back
Genji's
away.
ahead just because
Looks
they have
like
the 3
Genji
dragons.
said, "That's
They
enough,
get one
we have
more,
20
I think
seconds on
this
the
game's
Baron."
pretty much
Gold,
over.
they're
They
now ahead
close the
by
game
about
out.
500. They will spend
the Dragon Soul and get the
feel
Baron.
a lot better about their state in this game.
Yeah, finish Zhonya's for
Azir's got his Farsight ward, whereas I guess because LeBlanc's more of a roaming around the map trying to pick people off, that the sweeper lens is more valuable. To sweep a brush out before you go in and try to do the LeBlanc combo on somebody.
Yeah, I mean, Chovy's so tanky now. 151 armor, 125 MR,
Also,
but he's got almost 3.5k HP.
just the
Which is a lot. I think it's
turrets, but I'm not going to paint that picture right now. I was going to say how I look at the map and the turrets and stuff, that Gen G own this much of the map.
I will say that we've seen in this game, you know, dealing with a LeBlanc and an Ezreal not nearly as easy on the Azir, but he definitely has the stats to try and mitigate a lot of
Where
that
Damwon own that much of the map.
He absolutely does. I mean, he provides an extra front line for the team that essentially just has Alistair. I mean, Jax.
That's how I look at who's ahead or who's winning.
I'm going to jump in and make a play kind of frontliner. Same for the Aziras. Now, once again, Infernal Drake fight. Gen G were able to get the last two. First one week.
So here's a very pivotal team fight. Make it or break it.
This one needs to be denied by D+.
Because Damwon Kia lose this. They give the Dragon Soul over to Gen G. I don't really think there's coming back. It's gonna take probably 10 minutes or so by the time you get a Baron or two and the Elder Dragon, and you got to get to 6 items, and then the game gets coin flippy. I don't really like coin flip games.
Good poke.
I like that angle, man. He expected them to push out as now they're trying to get in.
The Zonya's Hourglass is going to do a lot of work. So seems like all the top Azirs know to do this now. You go in and you shove out the enemy AD, which is what Chovy just did on aiming. And then he has Zonya's Hourglass that keeps him alive, while Showmaker was probably trying to burst him down with all of LeBlanc's stuff. No, it looks like Showmaker went for Canyon instead. Canyon and Chovy have the Zonya's Hourglass, so more of a reason for Gen G to push the I don't know, just let it roll.
Down goes the Ezreal. It's so much gold taken out of the pockets of DK, and Gen G find the angle.
Force the fight is what I was trying to say.
Lucid's gonna fall. Gen G will pick up Infernal Soul.
Don't think they'll be able to end right now. Showmaker makes the right move and clears out the wave, but damage has been done. Infernal Soul secured. Gold lead in the bag as well. Gen G are back with a vengeance.
Oh, now Pace trying to punish Showmaker. I don't know if he can actually catch up to him. And yeah, Showmaker will be fine. But man.
I don't know. I'm going to skip through this. I think we talked about this enough.
And they kind of just
enough for one stream.
Gen G now 5,000 gold up and Soul
or the next level with Sodaron.
We expect to see in a Gen G game in their favor.
And so Damwon can't even get their own jungle right now.
Here we are, as the arrows are just reigning supreme.
So I don't know what they do to come back.
But it's still a lot of pressure. As Showmaker trying to make this LeBlanc continue to work, he is going to land the stun, but Pace will be fine. We do have Baron spawning right about now.
Yeah.
So looking at the picture here, who's winning and who's losing? Well, Gen G own this much of the map. And right now, Damwon own this much of the map, and so it's going to take Damwon coming out here and getting this objective, or getting this objective, and slowly crawling their way from this jungle camp to that jungle camp to that jungle camp, but they're always going to be in the enemy jungle and need vision every step of the way, or a teammate.
Is insane, and Kellen, done.
That's actually pretty slick. You know, timing the Mikhails to self-use it because you have to pre-use it. So nice moves from Kellen. But
as Gen G got the Baron,
a big cooldown bin. The Mikhails cooldown's a lot longer than the Ash Arrow, so yeah. Gen G happy to have gotten that one. Good aim from Paze there.
So this,
a little bit of poke is coming out. trying to push Canyon back.
Maybe
trying to push Gen G
Damwon
back, but it
awoke
just
the
feels almost
tiger the
inevitable
last
at
game.
this point in time, as the poke from the side
I would
of
like
Jovi
to see
Canyon
Gen
seems
G
to
be
be
closing
even
games
larger.
out
Now the
quicker
ult's gonna be
if
thrown
they're
in,
the
and not gonna
undefeated
hit Jovi.
team
We
like
do
they
see one
are
into
and the
front line
hype
as
and
Jovi
everything.
gets pretty low. Keen following in and just kills the clone. Kingen goes into his GA. And now you've just got the entire team right on top of him. Down he will go, and Jovi's looking for the angle. The arrow comes in, hits the support, and Gen G are looking to extend this to 3.
Well, they
Is
take all the
Keen's gonna
way.
teleport in
Dominic
here?
comes in, but is easily dissuaded.
Lucid's just being burnt to a crisp. There's just nowhere for him to go. And just like that, Gen G, they get the Infernal Soul. They pick up game number 2. And we will have
So
a
there's
full
game
series
number
here
2.
between Gen G
Oh.
and D plus Kia.
The
To do enough. as
sheet
Gen
here to
G
put
were
on
able
my
to
draft
stick
page.
together as a ball. And they get the job done one way or another. They claw their way back in game number 2, and they bring us to a game 3. Guys, we're going to take a break and have the space to break this one down. We'll be right back.
Game 3. So good series here between Gen G and Damwon Kia. I'm sure most people thought it would be an easy 2-0, and Damwon Kia looked really good in the first game. There's hope. They could go to Worlds. I thought maybe KT would pull something where they would turn around by Worlds time, but I've been high on Damwon Kia. That's why I do VOD reviews of him. A lot of people are very down on him because of Lucid, but I've watched Lucid in the Challenger scene. So not only have I watched LCK, I watch just for my own fun LCK Challenger for the last few years. And so, but some will say I don't know anything about League of Legends. Don't know anything, so who knows? That's for you to decide. I can't sit here and worry about how you think. I'm just here for your entertainment and to help improve you as a player and maybe outside of League of Legends. To me, League of Legends is just a game, so there's more to life than just this game. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take... Maybe I should sit here and watch this for a second and see what the analysis of the casters say, because I'm always anxious, or anxious is a bad word. See, I'm having to go through here and reprogram myself because I have an online vocabulary from social media and video games, and sometimes I say stuff that I really just say it because it's the consensus of how people speak online, and it's not truly what I think. So I'm have to like reprogram my vocabulary as I talk on here.
I'm actually happy in the way that they
Trying to express my real feelings instead of being lazy with some word.
And
moving on to the next
very
thing.
much like Gen G were just on the same route as in game number 1, but whew, sometimes the clutch plays just come out, and that's just how it worked out. We do need to have a look at this draft though, and I think that some of the adaptations were really good coming out from Gen G. I think the added
A lot of times I might have
really,
analysis
really
here like Atlas,
and
because I've watched so many games for years that it takes a while for my brain to work because I'm so fried out from watching so many games.
This was an example
Like
of that
having
as
to
well.
take a notebook
The
and write all of them
counter pick
down
Keen
so I can
specifically is,
remember,
I think,
oh yeah, that happened the
one of
last
the things
game.
Atlas
I
is
don't remember
referring
because
to.
I
think
watched
the
new
word
matches
super
today.
Keen is an incredible Jax. So that was quite nice. I also think that the trend of drafting Sejuani with absolutely zero engage is not it. Like, I would rather just see the Rel. I know Rel isn't necessarily...
That might be some good analysis from Chronicler there that I need to pay attention to.
It means that you have to play for both.
G2 tried to do Maokai only earlier today with, was it Rakan?
I mean, there was a lot of gold.
Even though I would
on the
think that
Ezreal.
would have
There
been
was an
enough. I think they
opportunity
just
for
needed
Aiden to
practice.
carry, but then huge play by the
Gotta go
opposite
outside,
AD
JD.
carry here as we take a look at highlight number 1 in the mid lane. This fight starts off okay for D+, but my goodness, keep
have
your
a
eyes on
lead.
Pace.
Gonna
Gen.G
need
do
to
going, or,
AFK
DK going
here in a
into
second
this.
and
Yeah, no,
take
exactly
my
right.
little one
Showmaker
outside.
even able to get like the first kill, and
Been
you're
very
thinking at
patient
this
with me
point
tonight.
that it is kind of okay. But you saw Pace already in this moment is able to dish out so much DPS. His spacing, like no one seems to be able to get anywhere
Pace
near
was
this guy. And
behind
this is
a lot of the
referring
game.
back to what you were talking about there, Chronicler. Like the fact that they don't have any engagement.
But the karma usually falls
means
off.
that there's
Like
no way to
that's
sort of
to
turn
me
on the
the
Ashe
karma
C0 and shut her
Ezreal's just
down.
for a
And
very
you can see
strong
here,
bottom
like, I mean,
laning
the
phase.
cleanse, look at the cleanse, look at the plays.
And
the
then
moves. It's like Pace is just he's a monster.
Showmaker's gonna have to roam bottom and
I think that's the
just
biggest thing.
destroy
Like,
the
he doesn't
bottom
have
lane and
any
then start
stuns, right?
going
He's
around
low
the
on
map
mana,
after
then tries to get a little bit
DK
back.
win the
They'll be
laning
able to do
phase
some
early,
thanks
and it
to
looks
this,
like they
this
did.
blue
Did
buff.
they
And
win the
if they
laning
lose
phase
this
early?
fight, I think they lose the game as a result. Right? Look at the
first
gold
turret.
lead. Look at the deficit here. And then ult doesn't hit.
I think I was
The
talking and I
Showmaker
really
doesn't have
did
an
pay attention to who got the first turret in
and
that
he just
game,
stays
so I
alive.
apologize.
And obviously, I think Kenyon does a lot of heavy lifting here. The heal that Nidalee has in these type of situations, absolutely incredible. Everyone on DK is low, but I think they're right. I think they need to
Right.
take that dragon at that point in time, because otherwise you still give over soul point. The problem is
So Pace
they
gets
give over both
the
soul point and a bunch of kills.
player of the
and,
game.
I mean, the fact that the health
He was
bar is
into a
very
bad
low, I mean,
laning
that sort of
phase.
helped Pace out in that moment, but we've seen this so many times that as soon as it's even a little bit one-sided as far as the amount of people on the map, that should mean that a team has. an
I
advantage.
remember
don't think you're
Pace
gonna
hitting some
blame
Ashe
D+
arrows.
for thinking that this was going to be their free dragon to
For
take.
Ashe
Also
ultimates.
Dragon, not Baron, which was what they did last time against Chovy. that one I wasn't such a fan of.
Yeah, lots of threats
Yeah,
there. that
Pace
D+
did have
had
a
to
lot of
siphon through and
assists,
figure out who was
4, 7.
important. Now in the second highlight that we have for you, around the same area, we saw the highlight for 180.
Trying to
carry.
see what
Now
made
watch out,
Pace
this
player of the
shifts
game.
forward. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Said he had 30% of the
That's
damage.
enough. Just slow play the fight. But he doesn't. He's in, gets hit by the arrow.
Had cleanse,
And
which
it's
was
a
very
tale of
important.
So many Ezreals. The amount of E forwards, you know, that have.
My best
echoed
game, one of the
throughout
best games I've ever
history
had, I
in
played
not
Ashe.
a very good way at
With-
all.
it was
once
Ashe and
again,
Pike, and we literally
we're
won a
gonna
2
add
versus
another
5.
one to that list. Many of them on there, but aiming joint.
Shoved clear into our
Alright, well, let's see
own
who the
Nexus
POG
and
is
our
here for
own
game
base,
number
and was
2
able to
for
go
Gen.G.
out and
Should be pretty
still get the
unanimous
enemies with
here. Yeah.
me
Pace
playing
on the
Ashe and Pike
fourth of the
ulting.
season. 911. That's what you call when.
But I
when
didn't
Pace
stream
beats
it back
Ashe
then,
in the
so
solo
I'll
game,
never
I
be able to
guess.
share.
Yeah, when trouble comes a knocking, Pace is ready. It's
But I
so
won a 2
fitting
versus
to me
5 with
that
Ashe
the
before.
replacement of rulers like Ezreal, Ashe.
I really want to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
Ashe
yeah.
Trendemir bottom
Just
lane.
Thematically, it feels so right, and I think that overall,
So I'm
they've
gonna
been
take
the
my AFK, take my little dog out, my buddy out, and rest my voice here for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe eat a snack, and then go into game number 3, game 3, and finish today's next level with Sodaron. Okay. Welcome back to the next level with Sodaron. I am Sodaron. Now we're in game number 3 of Gen.G versus Damwon Kia. Or Damwon Kia versus Gen.G. My brain's kind of gone kablooey right now. Gen.G versus Damwon Kia. So here we are, we're matched up Genji, 1 game. Damwon, 1 game.
Worst
Go ahead
team
and
in
get into the
series
game.
So far. So still potential for D+ to take this one. They just need to reset.
So
after that
getting
game
into my
2
draft
mishap.
thing again.
And 2 times in a row, they've just
1,
completely had control
2,
of the early game.
3, 4.
We'll see if they're able to do that
5.
again.
You see the mix-up in the draft this time. Again, it's just, oh, another one. Lee Sinban instead of
I apologize, I don't have a second monitor, so I can't pull
Instead
Epic
of the
Pin
LeBlanc,
over
and
to
they'll
hide it
still
and look like
first
I
pick
don't
Nidali.
have it
We've
like
been
some
talking
of
about
the
this. Ezreal needing to be banned, though. It's
professional
so strong. I
people
feel
that
like one
make
of the
lots of
problems
money.
is Tristana's still really
You know, maybe
strong.
someday
14,
we can
14,
afford
she's
the
nerfed
professional
to free
Epic
up some
Pin.
space
Maybe
in
the
ban.
professional one hides it.
Rumble's scheduled to get nerfs as well.
Or
so
the second
I
monitor.
think just the early bans are so saturated right now. But Nidalee gets picked.
So
and
Damwon
D+
banned the
going with
Corki
idea
and the
of
Tristana
Nash.
against
You can't argue shift in on
Chovy
Nash.
and
But you also
the
can't argue
Rumble
shift
Ignite
out.
top,
Yeah.
which we see is a
And they opted up
permaban in
Twister,
the
which I think has been one
LCK,
of Aiming's
which
better picks.
is
I'm going to say I'm not a fan of
very,
the mobile
I guess,
carries,
OP
but he can make
laning
Twister work
phase with
well.
Rumble,
And
with
Lucid's
Void
bringing out
Grubs.
the Viego.
So here's
So
one,
a lot of
Viego, we
skirmishing
haven't
power
seen in a
in
while,
these
and
two
the
picks
Nidalee.
already. You
Now,
get a 3v3
I
on
want to
bot
look at my
side.
statistics here.
Very easy to just have them run away with it.
Viego,
At the same time, though, Viego hasn't been one of our top-tier picks. I know that Lucid does like it.
Viego
like
wins
Cuz, but it didn't
52%
have
of the
success
time
there,
into
even against
Nidalee,
Pro.
so
Again,
Viego
that's
is a
not all
Nidalee
because of
counter.
Viego, but pretty interesting to go for those, as now it looks like we're going the Senna angle for the side of Genji alongside of Chovy's Azir.
Interesting they don't prioritize
Viego
the
good
Nord.
into
D+
Nidalee.
in this series and the last one have banned Nautilus first rotation 3 times total.
So we get Senna
And with the opportunity to take the Senna
and
Nord,
probably
Genji
Nautilus.
may be concerned about playing Nautilus into Kalista Renata. Not a fun time.
What is Senna into
So they don't lock it in.
Kalista?
They lock in Chovy's Azir again. Obviously made the big play.
Now, when you
of
get
the last game.
Kalista,
Well, I think, to be
Renata
honest, it was
does
a
really
big
well
shuffle
at
coming in,
helping
clutch
her,
to punish Amy.
allowing her time with the
T+K have
bailout
a very powerful
to
two-step
stack
ball
up
lane.
her
My
rend
question is, what are
with
you gonna
auto
pair
attacks.
with this Senna to be able to outmatch that? And also, do you just have to
100%.
swap?
Senna
to
wins
avoid
against
the early
Kalista
levels
100%
against
of the
Kalista
time.
Renata? I guess we'll get
So
to
maybe
see. Right now, they're
Senna's
top
good
lane
into
bounce, but
Kalista.
Constantly getting taken
Be a
away
Kalista
by D+.
counter.
They
And so
will be getting
Damn well
counterpicked
take
for
the Renata
minions, so
Glask
trying to
too, which
eliminate
is,
these blinds.
I guess, the best support with Kalista, or she really helps solve the problems of Kalista, at least at the higher
I don't think he was
rank
gonna play
or
Talia,
high
although
play or
Viego,
professional
I
play of
guess,
this game.
Maybe.
So
Look how
Damwon
devious he's looking.
banned
I mean, the
the
thing is, we're
Still
Cassante
banning
and the
even
Nautilus.
with Renata Glass.
With Viego, like some of the good pairings, Ari, you know, works well with it. But even he could bring out the little Blanc again.
Blanc, yeah. I think you should ban that.
Chovy
here.
looked good on the Azir,
Not
so
Talia.
Honestly, the fact they have no
His
setup
his
to clear.
Precious,
I
Corki,
mean, I know
and
Talia's
Tristana
technically
are
into it,
banned,
I guess
so
that's the
they,
thought process. The TF ban.
maybe Damwon
You know,
needed to
King and
focus
Sho's
getting a
nothing
mid laner first, or
emotionally.
taking the Azir
Solver
away
face.
from
We don't get the
Genji
same
in this
read
game.
as
You
we
don't-
did from Showmaker.
And
You
so
don't have to blind pick your top
Genji
laner
do
right
ban
now.
Talia
It's really no
and
reason
Twisted
unless you really
Fate
wanna get
from
Gnar as fast as you possibly
Showmaker,
can.
as well as the Ezreal, the Lee Sin,
The
and the
fans are going
Vi.
crazy every new hover. Ziggs!
Three
Oh!
Ziggs
Yeah,
could be
bring out the
bottom
Ziggs.
lane,
Good
but
matchup for Azir.
guess
Azir
not
is
because
one of these
Kallista's
picks
already
where
bottom.
he's not
Might
short range,
this might have been
but
to
he
take
struggles
away
because a
from
lot of his counters
pace.
are those long range picks,
Might have
like
seen something
the
crazy
Xerath,
like Senna
and
support
Ziggs
with
is a good matchup as
Ziggs.
well. Normally you make up for that by shuffling them, but Ziggs, you know, the satchel can make it very hard to approach. That being said, Ziggs and Viego,
Callers are getting
both
messed
champions
up.
who like setup.
So
No
we get
engage from
Maokai.
D+K right
So
now.
I like that bottom
And
lane
Gen
as
G
well,
go
the
for
Senna
Maokai
Maokai.
bottom.
I'm a
Quite
big
good
fan of
GC
Senna.
for that
Would like to
Kalista.
play her in solo queue
Renekton,
as, say, the
basically
AD,
ensure
or
that Canyon has
have an
all the
AD
setup
Senna
needed.
play
You know,
and let
the
me be
Devs talked about
support and
this.
play a tank,
Landing a spear is going to be very simple.
where I get the
Why are they
farm.
all laughing the whole time? What are
But
you
I don't
thinking?
get that in solo queue,
Okay,
so it's not
GP.
fun to me. To
Could be
when
the
I
choice
my
here.
solo queue
It is the
experience, and
hover.
we also get the gangplank,
Will
which
it be the lock-in?
you see
Yes, it will
gangplank
be.
into
GP
Nora's
into
stats.
Renekton.
real quick. Uh-oh. Plus I
In the
gotta
top
do
cover.
something here.
Will it be the lock-in? Yes, it will be. GP into Renekton in the top lane.
Well, I didn't really want that picture that big, but all right, whatever. So Renekton versus Gangplank. Just looking at the stats. Oh, and I got a commercial.
Is this it?
So Gangplank into Renekton. I don't see Gang there. Renekton wins against Gangplank 20% of the time. So Gangplank into Renekton is going to be a really difficult matchup. I don't know why the Gangplank. I guess because you can accelerate with the Void Grubs your top lane and take a bad matchup. So maybe Damwon or just limit testing here. This is kind of a weird comp.
Into Renekton Italy, I should say.
You know, I like the champs. I like some of the champs D+ have. I think you know I'm a big Ziggs fan.
Wanting to hear what
But they are
the casters say about
very
this
much
one.
lacking engage and just CC in general. Teams in pro, I was going to say in LCK.
I mean,
but some
Kengan's
pro
been playing well in
tend
the
to like
Keen, and
having engage and lockdown, and they have
some have
handshake,
said that Keen's the best top laner in the world.
Diego W,
Fate's call.
So
Ziggs.
Kengan's having a good series here.
So may have some struggles if they don't pull moments.
This one,
I mean,
it's as close as you can get. Well, this looks like a pretty good comp.
and this one, but
So I don't
see
really
them actually
understand
so well.
Let's see
Damn
how it
what
goes.
Kia's
Game
comp
3,
here.
Gen Z, D plus Kia.
Not very confident in the draft.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we go. The D plus Kia fans, they want a series win.
Okay. So first glance. I don't see any sweeper lenses here. And Nidalee allows you extra vision. So Canyon has line of sight of Showmaker and he's hidden in the brush. Chovy doesn't have line of sight anybody. They don't have any line of sight. So all of Damwon Kia are up here. It's going to be a tough laning phase for Gangplank.
They got their crying out after the game win. You know, they stopped the record. They made their own
it's just like
piece of history.
As
when you watch a
they
typical blockbuster
Damwon, I
Yeah.
guess, come up
starts
here
off
and
all
invest a
pleasant,
Ziggs
and
Q
then you get a
into
midpoint of some
Nidalee, and that's about it.
disaster happens. Oh
Yeah.
no, everything's going badly. Whatever will we do?
See
And
any
then the
vision?
redemption arc, the final Act 3, right? This is the Act 3 game. D+
I've got a ward down here for Damwon, or for Gen G, my brain. This is going to
It's a lot
allow
to ask. I'll say that. It's a lot to ask. It might happen. It
this
would be
vision
crazy
here
if they
should
beat this
allow
comp with what they
Gen G to
picked.
have a
Yeah.
good
I
laning
mean, there was a
phase,
lot of laughing going on.
have
I
an
feel like
extra
there are some
ward
power
to
points for
put
the
up
side of D+
here
Kia,
or
but as a
up
cohesive
higher in
five-man unit, I
the
like
river.
this comp a bit more.
Here's my one pitch, and this isn't really a pitch like I think
Where
this is good. This is a
Damwon
pitch that I
Kia don't
think
have
is
this.
very
Okay. Like to see the rune choice here. If Renata's running the Ghost Poro or Zombie Ward, I did see that they did play this in the last series, and I've preached about it, and it didn't. When Kellen ran this secondary the last time, it didn't do very much because Kellen would go in and sweep the vision out, and Pays and Lahens or Pays were right there to do damage on the Zombie Ward, get the first hit, and it was gone. Maybe there's some play or practice need to be done where it's still very strong. You just gotta sweep when your enemy isn't near so they can't auto.
funny. Okay.
Okay,
If
hilarious.
Hayes doesn't
Also,
have Flash,
Chovy's not running the
and
Grasp of the
Kengan
Dying this
kind of
game, so
brought
it's
it
not
on
going to
top
be a
of him,
tanky
and
Azir,
Showmaker
which it
ults
was
on
in the
top of
last
him.
game. yes, Kellen is running the zombie ward that I keep talking about, which I think is very valuable because you run this on a sweeper lens, sweep out the ward, and then you get an extra ward and plus 10 gold. So you get free vision and gold. But the drawback I seen like playing into Pays was when Kellen would go in the ward or in the brush to sweep it out, Pays would be right there to auto attack the zombie ward as soon as it procced. But I just think maybe that was bad positioning or thinking.
I think he just dies. Oh, also Showmaker go on Presence of Mind cut down on the Ziggs. I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of this.
Wow.
Especially when you have bulkier targets to cut through. You know, we've seen a lot less people go on the Seraph's Embrace on Ziggs because, you know, you actually want to do damage. But Presence of Mind can sort of help you in those longer fights against tanky targets to keep the mana up.
Stats look good for the Damwon Kia comp.
Such a good rune. If you're above 50% HP, you take 8% extra damage. Like, what's there to complain about on Ziggs?
Kane is going very aggressive on Kenyon
because
because this is supposedly a bad laning matchup for Gangplank. So
and already Keen trying to zone him out of XP, which he is
probably be a game where
Gen
Gen.G take the Void Grubs first and try to really accelerate this Renekton top lane.
Not 100% sure. Either way, that's kind of what Renekton does early on.
Even though Damwon Kia showed us that you can win on red side without any Void Grubs and taking the 4 dragons.
Which we all know is the best skin.
You know, it does make the bombs look smaller than they actually are. Pace has not...
Nice splish noise.
It does. It has some good audio. Pace is not lost on Senna.
Okay, my dog wants to help me drive.
Hasn't happened. And Renata Glask. Kellen's been having a nice little redemption arc of his own. And Renata Glask is definitely his main champ.
Yeah. So I really like Renata Glask. She's a very fun support champion to play. I may need to play her on stream.
Yes.
Yes.
And aiming has 21. Which is a lot more than 4. They have actually just let
okay, so the top lane has I thought that was a ward I saw there. I was gonna say there's 2 wards up top, but no. There's the zombie ward, Ghost Poro right there in action. So
like the purpose of fasting Senna is that
DK have an extra ward down here in the bottom lane.
But if the champion isn't going to get the gold,
I really think this is strong. Sweeper lens and the Ghost Poro and zombie ward.
They're actually getting the push back now. And you see that...
And it's actually, they haven't
so
even gone
Kellen will come in here and sweep this out and get a ward. Now, like I said, I saw Pays last time. Kellen would come in and try to sweep this out as soon as the zombie ward or Ghost Poro proc. Pays was right there to auto attack it, and it only takes 1 hit for it to die. But that might be some mispositioning and things that Kellen was doing wrong, or Pays and Gen.G being aware of this. We'll see what Kellen, hopefully we get to see what Kellen does here. We go over here and get this free ward from the secondary rune of the zombie ward. He missed the ward.
No, and that's a handshake. Pays will be kept around for now.
A recall for you.
Also, Damwon Kia got the cleanse out of the Senna. Again, this is how you make your plays. You got to know when cleanse will be back up. So these players will know when Pays' cleanse is back up, so they will try to force some type of play again. I'm sure Lucid will be down here ganking or diving when Senna doesn't have his cleanse up. Now, you can't really dive a Maokai very well, or Maokai Senna.
And Pays has now picked up a support item, so we'll be going that Blood Song, and the Hens will be returning farm.
So Void Grubs are up and
don't get me wrong, but this is
close to a minute.
Duo.
Yeah, it looks like Canyon's going to the Dragon. Okay, this is one of the games that...
accepting you're going to be at a deficit.
Oh, and I'm back. I don't know if I hit my button or not, so let me go back here. I put the dog down. I guess I forgot I was talking.
HP,
I keep
take
doing
8%
this. I'm
extra
bad
damage.
about hitting
What's
my
there
button
to
and
complain
then
about on
talking
Ziggs?
to the dog and then
Not much.
Getting.
Not much at all. I would say it's pretty
But
good. Kane
nothing
and
much has
Keen
happened
hitting all
here.
two at the same time. And already Keen trying to zone him out of XP, which he is doing. I think one minion fell as Kingen was out of range.
So I didn't really miss
But we had the
much, but
zoom-ins. Not 100%.
I was just talking about the zombie
Sure,
ward and
either
Ghost
way.
Poro.
That's kind of what Renekton does early on.
Yeah, and also Showmaker with the pool party Zig skin, which we all know is the best skin.
You know, it does make the
I
bombs
was.
look
Oh
smaller
no.
than they actually
Okay.
are.
We were about 5 minutes in the game,
Kellen's been out of glass is definitely his main channel.
so I can't remember how long I talked or not.
Definitely
And
had some great
I
performances
get
on it.
interrupted by
So
my
far,
dog sometimes, and I forget to hit the mute
Lehens
button.
has
And
4
maybe I should just
CS.
leave it on. But I
Yes.
talked to him for a
And
second, so I turned my
Amy
mute
has
button off.
21.
So I forgot. But I'm going back
Which is a lot
just in
more.
case.
Indeed.
Than 4.
There's like
They have actually just let Pays
some
take a decent amount
silence,
of the
and people
farm
are like, "Well,
because
why isn't he
there are
talking?" Well, I
circumstances
forgot
where
to
the
hit my
Maokai just
mute
won't get
button.
them. And even though obviously getting souls on
And I was
Senna is
talking
big,
about this zombie ward and
the
Ghost
gold is more
Poro
value.
and how
Like,
Kellen's
the
running
purpose
it.
of fasting Senna is that a champion gets the gold and Senna gets the value from the souls. But if the champion
It's not
isn't
really
gonna get
worth
the
throwing
gold,
away 2
Senna
hours
should just take the
for
farm.
a minute that I messed
Yeah,
up.
absolutely. And we're actually
But I
gonna
was
push
talking about
back
this Ghost
now.
Ward and Zombie
see
Poro,
that-
or
And
Ghost
actually, they
Poro
haven't
and
even
Zombie
gone on the
Ward
support
in the
item
secondary
on Senna. So it
rune.
looks like this was their strategy to sort of share the farm
And,
when they knew Maokai wouldn't necessarily
maybe
go for
I-
contest. So it's interesting to see.
I might have
who
just
will
hit
end up
my
getting
mute
a
button
support
for a
item
second.
later,
It's just I'm having
is
to
what I'm
train
wondering.
myself with the dog, and
Because
sometimes I
Sonia,
forget.
think
But
the Blood Song has been nerfed so
this
much,
looked like a game where
and
Canyon
specifically for
actually
Senna,
shows us what you
the-
should be
the
doing
effect
on
of
blue
it is
side, and I
making a
feel
base
like
AD, it's a Sheen effect.
sometimes
Senna's
they
base
play
AD
with their
never
food or
changes
they try to
the
show
whole
some
game.
misinformation.
So she does get less value than other champs.
But I'm
That
a
being
big
said,
fan
I
of
think
this
they might
Zombie
just be
Ward or
sending
Ghost
Hayes back to
Poro,
pick it up. Like they've navigated
Nope.
the lane.
and how you could come in here
They
and
say
get
no,
free
and that's a
vision when you
handshake.
sweep out
Pays
the ward.
will be kept around for now.
Where I
Well,
think in
you-
this case Kellen missed this.
And I mean, this is
And
Kalista
Pays,
renowned.
I've seen
Kalista nearly
the
70%
the
win rate. It
last
doesn't
series
get
Kellen ran
played
this.
all too often. Actually,
Hopefully we
this
get
is-
to see.
it
So you get a
has
free ward
decently
there.
high Presence. It's at
I
like
think this is
74%,
very valuable. I keep
75%
talking about
for
this.
today's
Like to
series.
see Mickey
And
X
it's
on
only 9
G2
o'clock.
run this. At least
Yeah, I think
experiment
they're
with
trying
it.
to
He
push the
didn't try it today. They did
ultimately.
Cosmic
Yeah.
Insight.
And then often if Callista's picked, they're like,
Um,
you can't have them get
You know, a
Renata,
lot of people look
know,
up to
as it is
Gen
such a
G, and they
strong
might
duo.
put some misinformation
and
out.
Hayes
So
has now
these,
picked
this
up
is
the
one of the
item,
games where it looks
so we'll be
like
going that Blood Song, and Lehens will be returning to
Damwon
farm.
or Gen G are
They're
going
still
to
down in
play
farm,
like they
don't get me
need to
wrong,
because
but
they don't want to
is
lose
such
this
a
game.
lane-dominant duo. They're such a
And
scaling-heavy duo. So I think you have to go
Finally,
into it
I don't know
accepting
if
you're
it's
gonna be
because of the
deficit,
lane
and
pressure
draft
or what, but
minimization. The
Yeah.
strategy they did there
Gen
clearly
G's
was
finally going to go
attempting
for a
to
dragon
share
at 5
the
minutes
farm
like
when
you
Lehens
should.
couldn't reach it.
This is how
And
you
now
play a game
Lehens
of
is
League
gonna
of
be able to get
Legends.
it
You
back
get the dragon at 5
and
minutes,
hopefully have
and
enough
go back
money
up here at the
to
Void
make
Grubs,
himself bulkier so that he
recall,
can
do whatever,
contest the
wait for
farm
the
without
next
getting
dragon to
thirsty. I
spawn,
feel like
then
this
you
is
go
something
back to
Gen
the
G have
next
been very
dragon,
good at,
then you go back up to
honestly,
the
since
Void
MSI.
Grubs, then you take the
And I
next
think
2
that bot lane has been
dragons,
playing so much better,
and you get the
basically
Baron, and
MSI
you can
onwards,
close the game out in
but they've
25
done
minutes.
such a good job at knowing how and when
And we
to
saw
mitigate
Damwon Kia
bad
basically do
matchups in
that the
bot
first
lane or when
game.
things are just going to go
So
terrible.
Gen G's
Lane
got the
swapping was a
dragon.
huge factor in it. But obviously here,
Don't know what's going on with the
knowing
Void
you're
Grubs
going
right
into this
now.
situation when you're playing into Callisto with a melee farmer,
Diego might be
and just trying
a
to
champion
ensure
where
that
you
you're
don't
not
really
gonna
do much
lose the
till
lane
you
in the
get
first
level
2 or
6,
3
so they're
minutes.
trying to
I
get
feel
level
like
6 as
T1
fast
being
as
your big
possible.
domestic rivals
So
definitely
Gen G's, they've
forced
even
you to
brought
innovate.
Pays up
Yeah.
here,
How to
Senna
deal with
roaming to come
brutal
get
bot
the
lanes.
Void Grubs.
It definitely has, and they have learned over the last couple of years. In
As
fact, they've won
Canyon
some
shows his
championships in
respect
that
for
time.
Coach Kim, the IG
Hayes is just
champion.
running around the map, getting
A lot
ton
of people are
souls.
really
There's
down
not
on
too
him,
many
and I
kills
think
happening,
he's
so Jonas Strong is just highlighting
probably
Pays going everywhere, getting souls,
the
got
best
them on
pick
the
you
dragon,
could get
killed the
for
dragon,
Gen G.
went up to the grubs,
Just
got the grubs.
kind of
He's sitting at
balances out the
27
play
souls
style of like a
already,
Canyon and a
and he talked
GP
about
and a
mitigation?
Keen.
I mean, yes, it's GP, and he's going to be getting some gold naturally, but this Renekton is a big problem right now for him as he's down.
They're very aggressive players, is what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
this is
And then the
one of the sort of
LP,
concerns is
LPL
that
are very
even though the bot
aggressive.
matchup's
So
obviously good, mid matchup solid.
it's
He's not
cool
having
to
a
see
good time at
Coach
all.
Kim win a Worlds and LPL, and then
yes,
he's
like,
coming
D+
over
is
and won
competition for late game
MSI, the
champions,
LCK
But
team.
I feel like, as I said before, the entire top side of D+,
That's not a zombie
would love
ward. It
someone
only
that holds
has
people in
one.
place. I feel like those champions thrive off them.
I don't know
Like,
if you call
most
these
of the pairings
HPs or
you
what, these
put
notches, where
with
there's 3 of
Viego
them. It
have
only has
hard
one,
CC.
so it dies in one
That's a
auto is the
core
only
part
thing
of that
about it.
kit. And Ziggs,
Why I
we've seen
think
paired
people
with
don't
Leona so much,
value it, but
because
I think
Leona
it's very
has
valuable. Any type of
hard
vision is
CC.
valuable. I
Yes,
talked about it in the very
she
beginning of
does.
this VOD.
I just wonder
Talking
where
about
they
the
would've
games I've been
changed it
playing
up.
for
It seemed like they didn't
25
wanna play
years and learned from the
Malphite
best
in Italy,
players.
so they picked Viego.
So now
They
we
go
see
Kalista
the
Renata in the first
Damwon
other
Kia
two
bottom
picks in the
lane go
first phase,
top,
and then they
and
picked
we're
Ziggs
getting a
GP.
lane rotation
Yeah.
here.
So either you go for like the
The
Ahri you were
Renekton's getting
mentioning,
very far ahead in
or
this
you gotta pick
matchup,
something with
so
a
I'm
lot of CC in
guessing
the
this
top
is
lane that wasn't
some of
banned.
what
It kind of feels like that sort of solo
why
queue draft
Gangplank
where
needs to
everyone's
rotate
thinking
here.
about their matchup and what is best for
because
their matchup, and
Renekton's
not about
also
the
got the
composition as a
Void
whole.
Grubs in this situation, so
Whereas
it's
Gen
just
G
going to
is
make the
very
matchup
clear.
even more difficult. It's almost like double the
There is there
CS.
as well to give cover.
So I
But
think
it's clear, like, the
Damwon
center
was
Maokai,
forced to rotate
like the Maokai in particular,
their bottom lane to the
like, you're not
top
picking
lane.
that 'cause you're like, oh, I'm gonna have a
Now it
fun
looks
time
like
with
they're
Buster Renata.
matching.
You're picking that because you're like,
Or
I
they're
want
just
my
going to
middle
take
play the game.
Kingen down solo.
And eventually she will. Because
I don't know what would be more
Lens can
difficult,
just
really,
press
the
R
Renekton or
and
the
force
Senna
fight. So
Maokai. I think I'd almost rather
if
lane in the
Kalista tries to get
Renekton.
anything going with it, speaking of which, just gonna press R here.
Even
as
if
the
he's got that
Temperatures
big of a
comes down,
lead.
but do they care is the question. That's the
So
RNG, and
they,
actually
Gen
now
G
King
get
is
the
totally
flash out
fine.
of
A lot of damage
Gangplank.
already
Now
done to the
Gangplank's
Lens,
really
and
hard to
now
dive
the
because
Ziggs bomb from downtown.
it was a
Showmaker
very
gonna
nice
pick up the
Ziggs bomb
kill.
from
Easiest
Ziggs
gank
ult
ever
from Showmaker.
walks a couple of steps
And
just grabs that
Gangplank
cleanup,
ult,
I
but it's
bet
very
you dive
difficult for
from Gen G. The
Gangplank
cannon
to not
barrage
get
came in, they could have just
to
taken
get
that.
dove because he's
But
got the
instead they
oranges
committed
that
fully, and
deny
now
the
Keen,
CC
no
and
ult,
then
has
flash.
TP will come in, and D+.
So
They make the
Maokai's
correct
gonna roam
decision to
top
back off.
here with Keen.
I mean, they
Teleport
back off,
top.
but they don't have to fully disengage.
Yeah,
At
they
a
back
minute and
away,
30
they do
seconds for
extra
the
poke, and now
Dragon.
they're
Void
still
Grub's
here.
about the
They
same
don't continue
time.
the dive until they
Canyon's
dive
in
with
full, take everything from the
That's
enemy
true.
mode right now.
We're getting a little 1v1 here between Lucid and Canyon. Lucid in a bit of
So
trouble,
Gen G
though.
claimed
Maybe not
the vision
expecting
over
this.
the
That's
Baron
that
pit.
flash away. Meanwhile, Showmaker kind of getting into the thick of it. As,
Ooh.
there's sapling and a force fade's call.
The,
And
the
aiming's like,
Callista
man, I'm outta
ultimate
here.
saved
Yeah.
Backing.
his life
He's
right
leaving.
there.
Had enough.
Well, he's not
I think
actually.
it
He's
was
gonna start the
Kellen.
wave.
Yeah.
Canyon has spotted Kellen and will just keep forcing him away.
Do it again. No, okay, they're not.
Yeah, so a lot of poking and prodding in this game so far. You know, we
Funny
haven't had
watching
many
Lahens
kills,
play
but
top
both
lane.
teams trying
He's
to find
actually
angles.
top lane Senj for a while, so he
so
is comfortable
far.
top laning. So that might
Yeah,
be some of the
Lahens
reason
helping him
Lahens is
ping
doing
in
that,
until
solo
Faze
laning
makes
the
his way
top,
up.
shoving the lane out.
Showmaker when the Archangels build.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to mention it. Now he's going to have an insane amount
Think-
of mana.
Yeah, you know
Gen
what?
G need to.
You can have too much mana.
Well, it looks
know,
like Canyon's
you can,
going
yeah.
toward the void,
You can
going
definitely have
towards
too
the
much
Void
mana.
Grubs in this situation.
It is what it is.
Gonna
you
say
know,
I figured they would go Dragon, but I guess they think they got enough time to
Ziggs
take the
Savant
Void Grubs
knows what
and
to
then
build.
go bottom
But
and get the
I just feel
Dragon.
like, you know, you get so much more value by
Got
prioritizing
Kellen
damage.
back here
And in a game
looking
like
out
this, like,
for
who's
some
really jumping
vision.
on top of the Ziggs? I guess Renekton.
Yes,
But Ziggs is very
Damwon
good at
Kia
dealing with
prepping
Renekton.
for the Dragon.
Extremely good. Throw down a
So
satchel. Say
Lucid's
goodbye.
gonna come
Throw down
Dragon.
some
I don't
mines.
think
We
Gen
do
G
have a
can
lot of
really
grubs
do
going the way of Gen
anything,
G. Looks like they
or
will.
Wait.
they don't have any teleports up right now. They do have 3 teleports,
know-
which is really scary.
You know, I thought he just gone
But
for the Saris, but no.
Gen G's gonna give this Dragon over to Damwon
He
Kia.
is pretty
You know,
base. He generally
wants-
has really good builds.
He wants
to
to
be
do the
honest.
damage. You know, that's why I felt so upset about it. I'm like,
Canyon
come
is
on.
up here
He
stealing
builds well the
farm
last time
from
he played
Lucid
Ziggs as
up in the
well.
top
That's on me.
side jungle.
That's on me.
Yeah.
You know, I take responsibility.
Ox
That's on me.
sussed,
Yeah, very.
honestly. A Hextech Soul does come through though, so you did well on that one.
Now,
we
Damwon
do
Kia have a
you know,
lot
bit
of
bit
deep
plates
vision here.
traded but
Damwon
it's
have
6
very good
grubs for
vision.
Gen G, as I was mentioning before.
Not just like this game, but I mean
Meanwhile,
in
the
general.
Hens
They
is
normally have really
probably
good
dead. He
vision.
is very
So
alone
if
on
you're
the
needing to
bottom side.
improve your vision or where to ward watch
Okay, well, they
Damwon,
have the
they
TP, so now they have to back away, so that's
Gen
just a
G
turret going the
don't
way of Gen
have
G.
that
Meanwhile,
superior vision decision.
LCK not able to get too much else
Maybe
just
sometimes,
yet.
but they
Yeah,
just
and
have
I feel like one of the hallmarks
Gen
of
G
teams
have
playing around
mechanical
6-12 is
players
how
that they think
often
they
can
could
get
just
contribute
outplay
towards towers.
everyone
That's
in
how
the
a bot
lane
is so
matchup
close
and
to being
win.
taken down.
So they do make
If
some
they'd moved
mistakes.
Showmaker
So
there, would be
like
gone.
Damwon Kia
They will
have
utilize
better
his ult
vision
just
you
to
can look
defend
at, or maybe
top
some
tier 2, but I'll
macro.
be honest, it wasn't going to die anyway. And the pressure continues to mount. Showmaker is currently trapped in the tower.
The main thing about Gen
I'm
G
not
is
gonna lie
just
to you, Ox, it was on a day where
gotta
you weren't
beat
working,
Keen,
but
that's one of the
last
best top
time
laners in the
Showmaker
world.
played
You gotta beat
Ziggs,
Chovy,
he
that's one of
played
the
it
best top
well,
laners in the
but
world.
he
You gotta
did not
beat
move
Canyon,
lanes
that's one of the
to
best
try to take turrets
junglers
for
in the
third
world.
place,
You gotta
so
beat
I
Pays,
like
it's
it.
one of the best ADs in the world.
just stuck in
People
mid.
made
He'll
fun
be
of
glad to
Lahens for
see
years
Cody's
and said he's a
getting
bad
latest
jungler. I
champion
thought he's a, or I mean,
to
support.
destroy towers,
I thought he's a,
specifically with plates on them,
one of the
because it
best
makes,
supports in the
like,
world.
when you
He's the type
kill
of player
2
that
plates at once, it makes, like, the double
adds
little-
things to the game,
it
like
just sounds
morale
good.
and
Please
joking
subscribe.
and talking.
Subscribe.
Makes mistakes
You know,
in the game, but I
like
think his
the
out of game
leeching
things
sort of
make
heal
up
for,
for
like,
the
an
mistakes he
overlap,
makes
take
in the
2
game, and he
plates.
kind of proves to you, hey,
That is
you don't
the
have
only
to play
reason you play this
perfect to
champion, let's
win.
be real, right?
Delicious.
So
It's what you
Lahens
live
kind
for.
of adds that
Your life.
quality to this Gen G roster,
Kind of like when GP.
which this
I'm
like,
gonna
this
have to
is
hold
one of
up
my
the
dream
front, has
LCK
thrown
rosters
over
right
the
here.
roots, but still gonna get rooted.
Living the
As
dream.
Lance is in a bit of trouble, but does have Flash. Can he get away
Really
from
big fan
all
though of what
these
I'm seeing out of this
stuff?
damn
He's
Wakia
just
roster.
gonna accept his fate, it looks like, as a bunch of damage is done to kill him, but he just
I've said I think the ceiling is higher for Lucid
and a nice little gang comes in for DK.
than what Canyon had,
Genji
so
don't really
it
have
was,
opportunity to do anything in
and like,
return.
or I guess
Herald
the
not
ceiling for
30 seconds.
Showmaker and Canyon were
Chovy
at its
continues to
highest,
pressure
that
in the
weren't
mid
gonna
lane.
get any higher, so it was kind of time for
see-
Canyon to move on and
Big gold lead in
go
the top
with
lane,
Chovy.
and Keen looking for something.
And so
potentially
maybe
here.
Lucid and Showmaker are
Drops
more
it away.
similar,
They
and
should be able to
Canyon
get
and
this.
Chovy are
That's
more
what I was worried
similar.
about.
So
I mean, it comes
they
very late, but
it's a
still an
win-win
active
for
mid
both
lane.
parties.
Now,
Kind of
he
like
didn't have to die
JDG.
as Ziggs ult was coming in, but
I was really big on social media talking about I think
Yeah,
Pays
Ziggs doing as much as he can
did
to
better,
prevent these
was better
rushes in the
suited
side
for,
lanes.
this was like a year ago
But
before
once he
JDG and all
does
this, at the
prevent the
beginning of
tower going
JDG,
down.
and I was like, I
And
said
this
on
is why you
social
play
media
connected
and
middle,
people
you know?
dogged
You wanna
me,
have
but
that power in the top lane. Play
Pays
gold,
was a better fit
Genji
for Gen
massively
G.
in
That
favor
ruler
there
was
to
not a
take
good
back
fit
that
for the
1.2K
Gen G
gold lead.
roster
And I
because
think,
it was
you know,
like
total
Chovy and
gold
Ruler conflicted
isn't
with each
always a
other.
great indicator.
So it was win-win.
how
Ruler
far
went
ahead a
and
team
won
is.
MSI with JDG, and now
nice little angle. That's
Chovy
a
won with
handshake, but
Pays.
Chovy is Azir.
Yeah.
Part of why this champion gets played so much.
Total gold not always a fantastic indicator because like the expectation is D+'s bot lane is gonna have a gold lead, but
getting into
you know,
this
they're also
game
gonna
here,
fall off in comparison.
Dam was ahead
Right now,
25k to
though, D+'s looking for
23.8k. The
Herald, and they could
objectives
use that to
are,
take down tier 1 mid if they pair it with
well,
Ziggs
no, the
very
void.
easily.
There's the 6 void grubs, so the Renekton is
Well,
getting
it is full
a good bit
health.
ahead of the
I
Gangplank.
think they would need the
Renekton's
charge
already
and
on
a
one
little bit of
item.
extra damage.
Gangplank's not
Charge
there
one
yet. He's
auto.
just on his
That's
Phage
one
and
Ziggs
Sheen.
auto, so that means Showmaker needs to get in there.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I mean, we're talking all about the Ziggs and stuff, but he's just been stuck.
15
in mid the whole
minutes,
game.
all
Meanwhile,
of
Gen
the
G are just taking
laners
top
of
outer, top inner, bottom outer.
Gen G are on their one
doing
item. That's
more
where you should
damage
be
to the
at
middle outer than
150
Ziggs is
CS or
Yeah.
15 minutes. You're
doing to
trying
the
to
opposite
hit
side. So at the end
10
of the day, like
CS per
Gen G,
minute.
there's not a lot of
So
action in this
100
game, and yeah,
CS
they've
at
had a
10
couple of
minutes,
ganks go the
200
way of
CS
Lens,
at
but
20
I don't think he
minutes,
really cares what his
300
team is
CS
ahead.
at 30 minutes.
I think he is completely unfazed. I think that is a trademark of Lahens.
Gen G have a lot of vision
being
here on the
completely
map that I
uncaring when he
see.
dies. And the thing is, you know, this Maokai is going to be stronger than a typical support Maokai, obviously, because he has the gold. And Maokai's value in teamfights is just so huge, you know?
DK
I
have the
think
Rift
DK with this
Herald.
composition needed really to get ahead.
Might
They
help
haven't
them
been
come
able to
back a
so
little
far.
bit where the Void Grubs got
And
ahead of
Yes, they have
the
the Ziggs,
Renekton. Now,
GP,
it looks
who are capable
like-
of throwing out a ton of damage, but to see if they can get that right now. Their Dragon's coming up. It's a Hextech Soul.
Kenyon
big
did
priority.
well to catch
Both
back
teams
up
seem to
to
be posturing
Keen.
around that area. Chovy will even throw down
CSing.
a turret.
Down a brush. Coming on in, Chovy's found an angle himself. He's level 12 and threatening.
Looking
from
at the
bottom
teleports
side
and the
as
summoner
streak is coming
spells.
up. It's not a Chemtech Soul, it's Hextech, so everybody's going to be fighting over this one. And right now, the
Seeing if little buddy
potent
wanted
advantage
down.
is going the way of Gen G. Canyon has just been so accurate all day long, even in their loss. At that point, the spears weren't doing much. But here
Got
comes
Chovy
the
oh no,
Rift Herald
Keen
right down mid
teleporting
lane.
mid here.
And it's just,
Oh, gets the charge.
okay, little charge, but not too much damage.
Expected to do more. You know,
I guess the Gangplank ult
Maybe
does
we need
allow you to
Tuesday
catch up a
quarters.
little bit because you
And
can
now it's like, well,
cross map, shove a
give it a
wave
burn.
or something and add damage to your
just take it,
team.
I guess.
Guys, it's fine. We'll just scale.
Genji's
farm
gonna
up.
take this
You
dragon.
are
I
a
don't.
late game
There's
character.
nothing
That's the
that
thing, I mean, on both
Damwon are
sides, you
looking like
have
they can
a
do
lot
to
of
prevent
scaling,
this.
And then also stuff that works really well early on. On the side of Genji, it's Renekton and Italy. Obviously, on the side
I
of
think the
DK, it's
Callista should be
Renata.
mid lane right now, so I don't know why Callista's
Like,
over
they both
here
have
unless
ways
they're
to scale
planning
into the
for
late game, and I
Baron.
feel like
Callista
Genji are
should
gonna
be
fine
here in the
going up
mid lane
against
by
CP
now.
Ziggs when their Azir is super fed and the Senna's doing just fine and
I
collecting
think
a lot of souls,
maybe this is
especially
some
with
type
low
of
action
bait
and
from
never dying.
Damwon Kia.
The blue buff
Try to
died,
catch
and
Callista
Soul
out.
and Pace
Again, if
finished
you're a
channeling
mid,
recall instead of
you're a
picking
mid
it up.
laner. If
That
you're
is a level of restraint you can't
a
teach.
bottom or AD
That's just
player,
natural.
Yeah,
once
you're
the
either
first
born
turret's
with that level
down,
of
you want to
restraint or you're
rotate
not,
to the
right?
mid lane and
You
allow
can't
your
force
mid
someone
lane
to
to
do that.
side
That's why
lane.
Paze is the GOAT. Now,
So I think that was some bait from
actually brewing up
Damwon.
here, and, they have Maokai, so you press R, you enable in Italy.
I don't know why they were sending Callista top lane to shove a turret down. It should have just been mid lane. Maybe it's because of the Ziggs. Maybe Damwon wanted the Ziggs catching up on farm. I don't know. But he should have been mid, and Ziggs be shoving the top lane.
Turnaround. I think the big standout for me in that one was Paze. There was 3 souls under the tower, and he just ran past them. That's too much for me. Oh my!
Can't teach that restraint.
That's maybe too much restraint, you know. Some Justin Cameron
Lucid's picking up a mid.
Oh boy, and look at this.
Oh, I think Lucid was kind of in not a good spot there.
Down.
See.
And no chance, no redemption for him.
Does that? That's
Trying to see
maybe
why
too much
Lucid came to
restraint,
this
you know?
mid turret.
Some
And he's just trying to pick up CS. Ellen was behind him.
Look at this.
man.
Gotta be ego caught as Chovy just gonna put him
Lucid
down.
had his
No
flash
chance,
down,
no
and
redemption
Genji
for
just
him.
forced a play right
And
there.
Kellen's just on the run. You might get the little disengage cone, but
Yes, that was kind of bait from Genji, and Lucid should have just
fancy feet from the side
went
of
up to
Kellen
this.
get himself out of
He wasn't safe in his own jungle, but maybe he should have went up to the T2 turret right
The
here.
fact that it doesn't have to burn it is pretty big there. And Genji, 3,000 gold ahead.
All right.
Definitely setting the pace on this game.
Oops.
Yeah, look at the tower. 3 souls. Doesn't care. Unfazed. He's like, I'm going for kills.
Is that the Ziggs
Right?
bomb?
I
Why
want the
Kellen
souls
took so
of
much
champion.
damage?
Unfazed. Yeah, look at the tower. 3 souls. Doesn't care. Unfazed. He's like, I'm
Nidalee
going for
spear.
kills. Right? I want the souls of champions.
And he got one.
Gets on there. And then here. And they just kill him through the Renata W.
It feels
Bail
like they
out, did
wanted
not
to
bail
use
out Lucid
engage
in that
flank Renata
position.
there, but the tower died so fast.
Lucid's
and
starting to
Chovy
get
went
behind.
forward
It's the
that
thing
Kellen
about the
just
AP
ended up having no
junglers is
effect,
they can
and
keep
Lucid
up in the
stopped.
Yeah.
The rest of the team
the
couldn't even get there,
CS
so there
with
was
the
no flank for
laners.
DK,
So
and they got baited into a really awkward spot.
Nidalee might
just
even
left
behind a little
Lucid
bit.
dead.
That he could probably
And
be
Chovy,
around like
meanwhile,
the
we
same
talked
amount
about
of
his
CS
battle
that
of
Keen's
actions
on
game.
right now.
244 CS in 20 minutes.
He is chovying real hard right now. I think it's safe to say.
I mean,
Meaning I
The
think
numbers
Canyon
are
could have
insane.
farmed even
and
faster or harder in
Chovy
this
has
game,
gone off
and
the
he's
charts
just
at this
kind of
point.
playing relaxed,
I think
perhaps.
especially it's something you can do, particularly with like a center on your team, because you know the Hens are still farming, but I think he missed that cannon.
he can give over the farm to the Azir.
Dragon
Yeah,
in
he
a
gave
minute
over
and
his
40
farm
seconds,
to Azir,
and the
so
Baron
instead of
is up.
allocating more resources
So again,
onto
back into the
Chovy,
itemization
Faze
that
happy just
teams
with
won't go
souls.
Baron unless you're on 2 items.
Meanwhile, all
So
that
Nidalee's
farm
on
is
2
going into
items,
Eaming's
Renekton's
Kalista.
on 2 items,
With that 30
Azir
minutes,
is really close to the
is
2
that
items,
going to
but
have
not
as much
there yet,
effect
so it might be
as the Azir?
hesitant to take a
I would
Baron
say
fight
no.
right now.
Signs would point to no.
I guess the
The
support would...
benefits of Senna,
Yeah,
no
2 items for
balance.
the support.
You know, that is my criticism of Lahens this game. Siesta needs
Aiming is on 2
Maokai
items. I don't know how you really compare
couple of
or
minions missed
rank
as
Senna
we've been
as
watching.
the AD or support in this, but I
That's just the
guess
middle
that's
lane.
2
It's not
items
very
with the
tanky,
Serrated Dirk and the Edge
but
and
he
Knight.
does get away.
And we'll just heal up immediately.
Mhm.
That's one thing as well. Is
The
that the
Showmaker's
poke from
behind.
D-Flot's quite easy to mitigate with what Gen G have in the
Diego's a
competition.
good bit behind.
King,
Oh, they know he
Gangplank's a
was
good
in the
bit
brush,
behind,
and now
so
King is
now's
all
the
in
time
trouble,
to
has
force a
blast
fight
away.
if
They're
you're Gen
following under the
G.
turret.
yeah,
Be careful
Just looking
about
at the
that.
itemization.
good flash. Pays actually through the route in the sort of direction where it would hit him, or if he flashed like straight along the wall, it would also hit him. So good flash from King and holds his nerve, gets away, but before she does burn that summoner spell.
Pay's
This is
doing a
such
lot of work
funky
as a
game,
Senna
too, where,
support,
like,
but
if you look at the scoreboard,
chunking out
Gen G
the
are
the
down a
enemy
kill. Yes,
support.
they're ahead in gold, but it almost feels like they have Baron buff.
Yeah.
Like they're sieging mid and bot at the same time, and they're putting on all this pressure, and DK are just playing extremely passively. And we haven't really
I
seen
think
any
that
action since the top fight.
Damwon
Yeah, it
messed up
kinda
in this
feels like-
draft.
Gen G, just like the slow and controlled crushing, you know? Like what the LCK was known for back in the era of Korean dominance, when you just get choked out of a game.
Yeah.
Also, it looks like Damwon's been
no pressure,
experimenting
no
with
anything,
no
AP
farm,
mid laners
The
here,
Nexus,
Yeah.
eventually.
where we've
no
been in
wings.
this
Yeah.
long meta with AD
It
only
kinda
mid
has that
laners,
vibe.
so
We've seen Gen G do this a fair few times. But
Maybe
considering
it's
how
just a-
scrappy D plus Gen
we've
G
seen the
series
Ziggs
tend to
work
be,
for
this is
Showmaker
them definitely
here
going
recently,
back to their
so
comfort zone,
trying
and
it
D+
again.
struggling to break them out.
But
Especially
I'm
considering
just
we've
wondering,
had
is
two
it
games
good or
back-to-back
not?
prior to
Is
this where
it
D+
like a meta pick or
were in
not?
complete control for
He's a
most
good
of
bit
them,
behind
you know?
Azir,
Obviously, it's
230 CS to the
did fall in
287.
the faces, but for all the early game, they definitely were the ones leading the charge, and now they are really at the whims of Gen G.
Like, just look at the way the game is playing
As
out.
he's
It's
clearing out
another
the turret.
free Hextech Drake given to Gen G.
The Ziggs
Now it's
ultimate.
Mid-inner just gone.
Yeah.
Everybody on DK backs at the same time. Nobody's there to stop the push. And they're just
The Gen G's
losing
on the
everything
3
on the map.
dragons, 1 dragon
Like,
up in
everything.
Yeah.
4 minutes 30
Even
seconds,
parts of
or
their
almost
jungle.
4 minutes now.
Given over. Trying to make a play here on the Baron. It feels like DK
I
are
think
really
Chovy's trying really hard to get his
okay, we're just gonna
Zhonya's.
bank
It's
on
almost,
GP
he's
Ziggs
like
as
at
the game
300
goes along.
How are
CS.
you supposed to challenge
So-
Gen G? You see, you know, Canyon
Pretty
over
far
Jungle,
ahead when
which we
his
did
target
in
would
the
be
blue
like
jungle.
300
What
at
happens?
30 minutes, and he's already
Handshake him and
there
walk away.
at
Oh, again, Canyon.
23 minutes
Look
45
at all the
seconds.
barrels that they're trying to send on him.
Like,
He got all 3 barrels in a row.
they had to commit 4 people up here just to get the tower.
Yeah. And you know
or
what? They got the
43k
tower,
gold to roughly
but now they have
40k
to
gold.
back,
So
and Kellen's almost dead.
Oh,
Tate's ball.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Damwon are gonna win a team fight straight up. They had to catch somebody out out of place. Keen and Chovy just did a lot of work there.
It wasn't even a 3v5, Lance just didn't do anything. It was like a 2v5.
He was there. He was helping.
So Damwon tried to, knowing the
I mean, there's a
itemization,
big gold lead,
tried to
but
catch somebody
D+
out
feels like
there
they burn everything to
and
kill Canyon and
pick
Pay.
them off, like
And
burst
you know
them
what?
down
I'm
one
just
by
saying, the clutch
one.
doesn't give them many tools.
And I was just
They
saying,
made
in a
it
straight up
work, you know,
team
they
fight, I
found the
don't.
angle.
The
Problem
itemization was
is,
looking
when
like
you
that
throw your
Gen G would win in a
30%
straight up
HP
team
Renata,
fight. So the
it is.
Kellen gets caught.
You don't leave many options to get out again. And Keen just flies in and explodes. And it is. Throw your 30% HP Renata.
Does Kellen get thrown
Problem
in?
is, when you throw
Oh, well,
your
Kellen didn't have any
30%
HP. I gotta put the dog on the couch.
HP Renata.
Okay. All right.
If you
So I don't know
leave
why they
many
threw a
options to
30
get out
HP,
again,
30
and Keen just
30%
flies in and
HP
explodes
Renata
the
Glask
bot
into
lane of D+,
engage or
and then
disengage.
Chovy says, you know what, I'm here too. Lahen's just like, I'm here, get me in the picture. I was there.
Yeah. He wants to be there when the Nexus explodes. You know, he's
So
doing
the
a good job of
Callista
pressing
Renata
his
Glask is not
Nature's
working
Wrath
out in this
button.
game.
So big thumbs up,
Gangplank
two thumbs
was
up to Lahen's.
It's for
into
doing
a
that,
bad
no
matchup.
respect.
Hey, sometimes that's all you got to do. He's had games where he carried. This isn't one of them. He got ulted by Renata, and then he pressed R.
Keen gets his spear of
That's all you
Shojin, so
That's
he's
all
on
you
3
need.
And then he
items.
said, you know,
Chovy's on his
Keen
3
go
items
kill.
now, which
Yep,
is...
and Keen did that pretty good. This one
Chovy
actually
has
was very
Zonya's
strong.
Hourglass. That's pretty scary. He can make a
3
lot
points
of,
in the bag.
Yeah. I mean, he reserved counter.
I guess you say, crazy team fight
Oh, yeah,
engages,
Keen in actually an awkward
disengages.
spot here, but who's trapped in with who is always the question. Another Nature's Grasp is going to come in, and you know what? Kellen's just dead. He's not able to do much. He doesn't have the hostile takeover either.
I found it so
Renata
funny that
Glask
Aiming,
hasn't
like,
really done much
he,
in
like,
this game.
hesitated there. He's
The
like,
bailout
well, should I stay and
hasn't
help
saved
you? And it was
anybody.
just like, you can't help him. Just let him go.
Yeah, Lucid's zoned
Diego
away
got
from
bailed
the
out under his own turret. It didn't help him out earlier.
Relatively slow Baron with only 2 people hitting it, but it's still enough to zone them away. Lahen's throwing in some saplings
That
as well,
might be the
and some poke over the wall from Canyon.
Senna
Might be enough.
Maokai
They're
that
just gonna
counter
say,
the
nope, they
Callista
sent it to Zigzalt, but it's not going to be enough.
Renata. Let's look. Where's Renata Glask? There's no info on Renata Glask. Got to look at it as support. Is why? No info. Looking like Senna Nautilus counter the Callista Renata Glask.
It comes in, and Gen G solidified their lead.
Such a suffocating game.
So the dragon up in a minute.
I think D+ didn't give themselves options.
Again,
to
the way
respond to
I
this,
look
but
at this
Gen G is
game,
just crippling D+ right now, giving them no real option here. And Kellen ends up in a bad spot. Aiming's like hanging out like, well, should I help? No,
Gen
I'm
G
not.
own this
There's
much of
nothing
the
I can
map.
do. I will live on. But the problem is, so many tools being there. For
And
D+ already in the deficit.
Damwon own
And it
about
looks
this
like they're
much of
going
the
for it again.
map.
They're just trying to find any avenue for a
They do
pick.
got this
I don't
little
see what else
expedition
you can do
right
in this
here.
situation.
Yeah. Well, D+
Holding
here, they
them
gotta
right
fight
now,
over
so
this
they can
tree.
step
They can't
outside
let
of their
a
base
single
at the
soul
moment. But that's
entirely
about it.
Go over for free, like the last couple of drakes. But now Kellen's caught out. Doesn't have flash. He does have Fate's Call. But the poke is coming in. The Nature's Grasp as well. And now Kellen.
Oh, this
again,
game might be over
goes
right
to
here.
Billy. Kenyon's got
The 2 Zonya Hourglasses
Everyone
before
just on top.
30
Everyone,
minutes.
rather, they're
That's
just jumping on barrels, and it doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah, they lose Canyon. I don't think it is going to be relevant, but maybe they stall out the
Dragon in
until he's back
15
up. It's gonna be
seconds.
up to 20 seconds when he's not there. There's Hex Gates as well. But Kellen was... that was certainly a 30-degree angle. I wouldn't have gone in, and he opted for that one. Big damage on Pace. There it is!
Oh, here it is!
Oh.
The combo. Well, it's at least one circle on top of him. Chovy goes into Zonius himself. He's in
So
some
Gen
trouble,
G
but he
get
gets
caught
the
trying
blind,
to
and it
take
doesn't matter.
Damwon
As
Key
he
as
moves down the
jungle, and
handshake
so
on the key,
Damwon
he's in
have to
trouble.
go all in,
This
5
is the
man
comeback angle
in their
for
own jungle.
DK.
So
They're going to get the
Gen G
streak
might
as
lose
well,
the dragon
and they're
over
looking for
this.
more. The scraps. Lahen's.
Dragon Soul.
He's gonna buy some
His
time
pace
as he
is
runs
gonna
away, but he
recall.
is
Looks like
definitely
and have to run back to lane.
Give the kill to
Maokai have a
Ziggs.
teleport though, and Keen have a
Ziggs, I
teleport.
guess.
It's a Ziggs, sorry. Why did I say GP? Of course it's Ziggs. I'm a Ziggs player. Yeah, big comeback
Yeah,
from
so
D+. Just when things were looking doomed down and out.
Gen G get
they
a little
managed to get
greedy
the material
and
play. Gen G just overstaying.
maybe
massively.
instead of going for the
We're seeing this
ancient
play,
golem, they
Kellen
should have just
Soul
went
gets
for the
forced,
dragon.
And I guess
Or they
maybe
didn't
he
have
was just trying
proper
to disengage
vision.
Keen, but he just
Damwon maybe
Yeah.
And King and flashed
had
out
to
anyway.
do
So-
everything they can,
It
and
is what it is, you know, sacrifice for the team. But here, Pace, there is no reason. at
Hayes
all to
gets
be
caught
here.
out.
Barrel and bomb. That's it, and he's out of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, you're just so squishy as a center. And there's not much as the mobile pick you can do against Zigzalt or GP.
Well.
I mean, it wasn't even GP ult, but yeah.
Yeah, no, just a barrel. And
Keen has a sweeper lens. I haven't really talked about that.
He really does. Jeez, man, he's got some damage himself. Now with 3 items.
Haven't looked at the
Finish
trinkets
off with
here in a
CP.
while. Gangplank's on the far sight lens,
And
or
it does
far
hold the
sight
game out,
ward.
Hextech's all been taken by Gen.G.
Honestly, I feel like
Ziggs is
anyone
on the
can win
far
this game
sight
now
ward.
at this point in time.
Ballista's
I
on the
think
far
Next
sight
Dragon's really
ward, so
gonna,
Renata has
be
sweeper.
big, but there's been a
Diego
lot of
has
objective
sweeper.
bounties. They're picking up more
Nidalee
now.
has
So much gold
sweeper.
on the map that
Senna
they're
has
just-
sweeper.
Taken away. I mean, they got the objective bounty on the Drake as well.
Yeah, I still have apprehensions about D+'s comp, but things are much better. The Renekton and the Nidalee are going to fall off.
The GP is gigantic. I mean, doesn't
I don't know. I
have
felt
CS,
like Gen.G could have
but
almost
at
like
least he's
closed the
got
game
more
out here a
kills.
minute
This is
ago
that
when they
horrible
had
point
the
where
Baron
when
buff
people play
and the
fasting Senna,
dragon,
Senna's
and then they
level
would have got the
12,
dragon
right?
soul.
They haven't really been funneling
now
that much
they've got
farm
to
on a pace, that much
Wait
solo XP.
another 2 minutes
So,
and 3 minutes
you know,
for
when
the
you're in a
objectives
game
to
with,
come
like, a
back
level
up on the
16
map.
Ziggs and GP, they will just one-shot you. You get so much stats from levels.
Yep.
That Pays is a super vulnerable target. You know, so I think this is probably one of the weaker points of the game
Oh,
for Gen
Canyon
G,
didn't have the Zonya's
which is also
hourglass.
when they
I thought he did
coincidentally
for some reason
ended
because
up completely bombing that team
the
fight. Well, I guess
Seeker's arm
D+ are the
guard.
ones who do the bombs, and
I
now
keep
Showmaker
forgetting
has
that
Rabadons.
they changed the
Right,
hourglass or
GP
the stopwatch to
looking
the
for
Seeker's
IE.
arm guard.
Eventually, very soon. Looks like I thought he had a noon quiver. Anyway,
Quiver, it does have crit now.
yeah, but he changed it, I
He
believe.
changed it.
Well, he doesn't have a noon quiver now, unless I just missaw, which is possible. Void Staff finished for Chovy. Note that he is not Tank Azir.
Gangplank's getting a little overextended here without a flash. I mean, he does have the
I think
oranges
the
to
Zonya's
to
value
cure
from Canyon
scurvy.
and Chovy pretty high. You can dodge a lot of this burst damage with those. D+, difference in gold is not that big right now in this game. And it really comes down to this next Dragon fight. I think if they lose the soul, playing against a comp who, when you're lacking engage,
Now
and
that
they have Hextech Soul,
Kenyon has
so
4
painful,
takedowns
you know, to
here.
play
He's
into,
sitting on
especially
3
with
items.
Nidalee Senna who could apply it from
So he's
such
even with Keen.
distance. But D+ have
So
shown
that's
they can
pretty
win a
made
fight
up.
if the
That's
conditions align. They're much closer in goal.
the last few minutes is made up for the laning phase where Kenyon was behind. So now the top lane is even, and Renekton does fall off like 30 minutes or longer into the game.
Somehow 100 to 0 Canyon. I mean, he has Zonyas.
I just
Yeah,
saw
it's gonna help,
that
as you
Kenyon
mentioned.
got
And
his,
he definitely
his
can.
Infinity
There
Edge, so
are
now he's got
ways,
4
but as
items.
you
That's
mentioned
pretty
before, like, if
scary.
he takes like a bunch of pokes, even like half his health, he's just going to heal it up with 2 heals.
The Luden's proc Pays Edge of Night.
Uh-oh.
I don't think they're at the point yet, but they can't be far off where you can just double send ult and Pays has to flash or he dies.
The only thing that might
I'm sure
cost
if they land even a little bit of
Damwon
poke, they will.
is where they
They
have
should
so
do
many
for a
turrets
science
down.
I don't think they'll
I
do a
know.
science experiment in Game
Oh.
3 of Gen.G versus DK, but I see what you're saying, Ox.
Don't think
Or what I'm meaning
I
is
don't think
Gen
it's
G
time
still have their
for the
T2
volcano
turrets up, so
experiments.
it's going to take
Science
time
waits for Noma.
for
You see
if
the position
Damwon
right
are
now,
going to
I mean,
win
DK,
this
they're trying
game to get the
vision in this
Baron and
pit.
push through
They
these
can't
like
exactly do that. Now
3
King's in a
turrets
really
before they get to the
awkward spot.
inhibitor,
He's
where
got some
there's
barrels,
only
but
2 here,
it's
so
gonna be
that'll
denied. The rest of the team is just being zoned away. Fate's call. Already used.
that might
Now
hurt
they're trying to turn
Damwon
on the King
Kia.
as the flash handshake is just gonna go wide. The flash stun from Diego.
saying
Also
like
not
Gen
great,
G
but now
might get a
Canyon,
Baron
and
and then
that's
they
it.
can
The
just close out the
takeover
game
versus
because
the
they've only
very
got 2
broken
turrets
fight.
to get
Ziggs is
through.
alone. Canyon survives.
Where
Down will go
DK have an
Sodaron,
extra
and
line
Keen gets
they're going to have to
kill.
get through
And
if
that
they
is
win a
going to be
team
used for the
fight.
side of Gen G. You see the scraps of DK just running away, and Chovy is
Aim
looking to
people,
join up.
Get him
Oh, here
out.
comes Chovy.
Oh God, he is dead. Aiming is dead as well, and there's just no hope for these
So I'm
guys.
guessing this is
Keenan
Baron for
on the run, the
or
TP into the
Baron
bottom
for
lane. They
Gen
wanna
G,
end the game
or they're
now.
just going to end the game.
Yeah, they want to
So
close this one out.
again,
Looks like
that
Gen G will not lose a series today. Their game streak was broken.
TP into the
Oh, no,
base.
it's gonna get cancelled.
Oh,
Actually, that's enough.
that saves the game, I
That,
think.
that,
I
that
was
actually
gonna say
saves
I didn't
the
think that was the
game.
game with Chovy
Wait,
just in
small,
the
I'm
base.
not
There I was
saying
listening
Chovy
to
can
the
end if
casters and
GP can get
almost
back. With GP back
fell
100%,
for
he
it.
can't. I just want to credit Keen here. Keen's play here, phenomenal. So he goes for Kingin, and then you see the Renata thrown at him, manages to roll away, dodges a
Poor
handshake,
Kellen with his
flashes the
30%
Diego stun.
HP.
And in the meantime, D+ are pulled so far away from Showmaker. Showmaker
Canyon's
ults, he gets jumped on by
Zonya's
Chovy,
hourglass
close
did a
the
lot
gap,
of work
goes
right
down,
there.
And Keen still survives longer.
That's
Kills
why I
Helen,
was
stuns
harping on
Lucid,
Gen
and
G like
single-handedly
10 minutes
wins the fight.
ago
You know
that
what,
they
I'm
had
gonna say it.
5
I was
minutes
talking
ago,
about
however
Record
long, that
falling
they
off.
had 2
Apparently not.
Zonya hourglasses.
Keen just
I mean,
refuses to fall
As
off.
I'm looking at the
Especially in
Faker
fights like
Ari
that where it's
skin,
very
I've never
broken
even
off,
really
or
looked
very
at
broken
this.
up, and you know the rest of the team is trying to chase you, you're dodging everything. You're still very tanky on Renekton.
The problem for
and you know
Damwon
what, GA now,
Kia
he's got
is
these Eric's,
He's
4
figured
items.
out how to be tanky.
Canyon just got the
Just don't
scuttle
get hit.
crab here
Yeah,
on the
just don't get
Baron.
hit by skill shots. and
Just
you're so
dodge.
tanky. Just
121 stacks right now for the Senna.
That's a lot of range.
Yeah.
And with a Hextech Soul, I just don't even know how you approach.
Showmaker's
No
postured
faster
to
pace, though.
throw an
Maybe the
ult in
science
there and try to
experiment
get
needs to
some
go now.
miracle
They're
steal.
gonna have to throw something into that pit as they don't have any vision. And
See,
they're not gonna
Maokai's
throw
ult just
anything
missed.
into the pits. They'll just hold on to their ults.
Keen just
Save it for
ulted,
next game, I
so-
guess.
Yeah, I think they really need to get the edge
So
of
Gen G
Lightning
just
off
whiffed
pace
twice. They have to recall. And
to do the science experiment.
Yeah.
No, but like I know I'm kind of joking about that, but genuinely, throwing those 2 ults down on a flashless Senna is probably your best way to start a fight with this composition.
Yeah.
When most of the other fights have been throwing Kellen in to his death.
I mean, they just don't have any real engage
Yeah.
outside of that. So it literally is engage Renata Glass.
Yeah.
Keen's going down
Outside of
here to
the
shove
ego, I
out the
guess,
middle
which-
lane.
Ludens is a good
So
way
they're
to get
doing
them
2
tonight.
lanes to
We've
break
seen it
into the
before.
base.
If, you know, maybe an angle here.
There it
There we
is.
go. It's down.
They got it.
I think now you just send the ults if he steps up slightly.
If you weren't going to use it on the Baron, you have to use it to save your base.
I never really
And
looked to
that
break
duel,
down
here
the
comes-
summoner
look at
spells
that,
as
there you
much.
go.
Not really.
He gets the heal,
Didn't
though.
really
And
need
with
to
Kenny
in
there,
this series,
he
I
is going to
think.
be okay, but look at Kellen, he's nearly dead, and Lahens gets over the wall, the Fate's Call has to be used. Meanwhile, Keen wasn't even there. He's just taking the base, doesn't care about the kids that are fighting, and now he's looking to fight.
Keen's got teleport.
On his team, but man, the damage, the
Showmaker has
damage
teleport.
out of this team is just insane right now as Keen.
So I think Gen G2 had to wait for Renekton's ult to be back up. Like I said a couple minutes ago, that they whiffed with Renekton's ult. And what else? Maokai's ult. Chovy's ahead by, he's 442 CS to 313 CS. So the Ziggs mid maybe didn't do so much.
Should be very happy with their performance. Game 3 looked super rough, but they
So there you have it,
I think there were issues that
Sodaron fans. Thank you for joining the next level.
They still try to punish Pays. They still
Let me
try to
get
bring it
this.
back. And I
Want
think
the
as
end
much as Gen
page.
G still remains strong on the day.
Go through
it
this
gets a
every
win.
time. I can't find
Definitely
the second
looking
one or the
mortal,
last
which is
one.
more than we could say for the rest of the split.
Yeah. I look behind me. I feel bad for the DK fans, you know.
Keen won
they
player
got
of the
that one
game.
win. It was like it was huge for them. Obviously, everybody.
Yeah, so this
I'll have
to
to
me
just
is the
go with
but
this.
one team has Senna, Azir, and Italy.
The other one's got Ziggs and Gangplank and stuff, you know.
Yeah, but
Wanted the
so
end
as
game
Cosmos
page
were
to put in my
highlighting,
draft
and again, I
notebook.
wanna
I
reiterate
can't
this,
find.
there
I'll
are
just
like
improvise.
5 out of the 5 champions on D+ need setup.
Well, let's
and
see what
0
the
out of
analysis,
the 5
the
were
analysts say
provided
to see
on
if I have
Twitter.
any
Plank and
extra that I added.
farming, and they agreed to never actually. Not any.
None.
No, none.
None!
None.
None!
None.
And I really, after game 1, I was getting excited. I'm like, man, they're going to do this time. And if we could bring up the draft. After the draft, I kind of had an inkling that that probably wasn't going to be the case. Because what does it do?
It's high octane. Okay. What
No,
it
no, no, but
does
how?
is it just does a lot of farming, and they agreed to never actually start fights unless they both just walk at each other because there's 0 engage on either side.
Yeah, so this to me is the... Yeah, but one team has Senna, Azir, and Italy.
The other one's got Ziggs and Gangplank and stuff, you know.
Yeah, but so as the causes were highlighting, and again, I want to reiterate this.
Again,
there
I'm
are,
just
like,
trying to listen to
4
this
5 out of the 5 champions
professional
on
LCK
D+
analysis
setup.
because
And
I've
0
tried
out
to
of
get
the 5
work
provide
in League of
setup.
Legends
Like,
LOL
literally
Esports
one
for like
CC
10
button
years
with
now, and
brought this
I'm
whole
told
composition
that I
together,
don't
and
know what I'm
instead,
talking about,
you
or
kinda see it's a snowball
I'm not good enough, so
Well, no
I'm
way
just
snowball.
trying to listen
I
to
mean, the
see
engage
what I
for
can learn
D+
to be
was
better.
a Renata face planting into the enemy team. That was how it worked, and that didn't work because she would evaporate on her way there.
Shocking.
That is kind of
No, I might have not gone about it the right way.
Look at the highlights from this game.
Could probably
First one at 24 minutes on the top
try
side of the
more
map.
professionally. So that's
D+
some of the
started to
reason
gather
why I'm
around
doing the
and
next
kind of run
level
into
with
each other, which
Sodaron
is
here
what
to
you
work
wanted
on my
from D+,
professionalism.
but only on their
Blah.
terms. Kellen gets chunked down.
Professionalism
And we
in
do
the
see
scene instead
a
of
DK
impulsively
and credit to them, and they
doing
made
things.
so many good attempts, but this is a bit of desperation, and it's as Atlas was saying, just yeet him in.
And this is when it worked.
Or
This
Kellen.
was the best look.
And that they don't even win the actual
But
fights.
hey, Pays
Like,
got
they
caught
kill
out.
Canyon. Yeah, that's nice. You know, they kill Pays,
Keen.
and then the crocodiles. Lahims is just like, I'm waddling. I'm waddling. He doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter. Oh, man,
So
they
that's
blew
where Gen G
everything,
whiffed
just
their
to
two
get
ults
two of
on
the
Maokai
carries,
and Renekton.
and then they
So then they
realized
had to
that
waste
Zero,
like
Renekton,
2
and
minutes
Zero.
basically for them to come back
And
up before
when
they
you've
could
got these
engage or
compositions that
close the
doesn't have
fight
a lot
out.
of engage and things like that, that means that you've got carries sort of everywhere. And so as soon as that one pick comes in, which oftentimes in this meta is very impactful because then there's no damage left. It's not how it works with compositions like this. And the backup Renekton late game carry, which is a weird thing to say, worked out multiple times. It wasn't even just then.
Yeah, despite the large damage charts for the side of D+, Gen G's comp just came together a little bit better as we take a look at the last fight here.
Well,
at
it must
32
be
minutes,
nice to have
where Gen
3
G,
people and a
remember,
crew
they're
to
the
share
best
your
team in
analysis
the
and
world
thoughts
with
with.
this
Just imagine.
Again,
that
I'm just a
you have
one-man
just a
show
little
trying to
bit
do
of
this
CC,
at the
you know,
moment,
a little bit
so-
of setup for DK. This isn't a split emulsion. That's what this is. It's all just oil and it's a mess.
Oh,
and
no.
look, all they need is CC. They can turn on Keen, and you get the resets for Lucid. He can pop off. And again, full credit to Keen. He played that exceptionally well. But if you have one piece of setup, like this
Looked
fight is
like
winnable.
Keen
Yeah,
at
they
least
don't.
pulled the whole entire
This is not a
damn
whole lot
Wakia
of
team
lockdown
back
either, because
in
I
front of the
was
Baron
at
pit.
the beginning focusing on Showmaker getting cut down by Chovy, but the fact that Keen survives for so long in this 1 versus 3/4 meant that he did so much damage, and then everyone's a sitting duck, and then the whole thing's
Really
over.
don't know
And I
again
think they
why the
mentioned it on
Callista
cast as well, like,
was
if they're
sent
able
to
actually
solo
turn
split push the
and
top
lock
lane
down Keen and
at
kill him,
around
then
15
maybe they
minutes in the
actually
game.
stand a chance, but
You should be
because he survived
mid
for so
lane by
long, it
then
just wasn't
and let
possible.
your
Yeah, I love that
Ziggs
little
or
cute
your
moment there. King keeping the game
Gangplank
alive,
do
right?
that work.
They also had the one good moment for DK, which was when they got the jungle fight where they blew up Pace immediately. So I think there is still.
Well, that's
a
it
ton
for
of
me
good
today,
stuff
guys.
with
On the
DK.
next level
I'm
with
just a little
Sodaron. Now
worried 'cause
I
know
was
DK,
LCK is
I might
off,
see a little bit of spiraling happening
and
because
so
they got
normally
so
I would be
close
off
to finally
tomorrow.
taking down Canyon, and then
But what I was cooking up
doing it
was
again.
I
Yeah, I didn't
watched.
quite figure it out. I don't think that this
If
is
I
really going to
have
affect
the
them because
time and
I'm sure they're
energy
used
and
to
get
it
through
by
all
now.
of this-
It's been the last 3 years of this exact situation happening.
Let me see.
don't
I
think
would
it's gonna
like
phase
to
them.
VOD
Hopefully we're
review
going to see
this
DK
match
get
here.
back on the bike
I
again
watched
as
this
it
live
goes.
today.
With that
I
victory,
think I
Gen
find
G's
value
time
in
to
watching
cry from
live
Terrell.
matches.
Answer a few
They
questions. I'll
just
look at your
come. There's just I don't know. It's like sports. It's just live sports. I've been to football games and NASCAR races and golf and basketball, and they're just so much better in person when you're seeing it live, and the fans and the energy you get like when you're there in person. If you're watching League of Legends and you like LOL Esports and you've never been to real sports, it's fun to go to because there's this energy you get from the crowd, and the players get the energy. And then if you're not at home, then the team, if you're not at home, you get booing if you're on the team that's not at home, so it makes it more difficult for you to perform. Imagine being in an arena with 60,000 people booing at you. Like if you're G2 today and you're playing in Fnatic's home arena, you'd have 60,000 people booing at G2 the entire time. So think how difficult that would be as a player to perform. But this is like 5 games, and so it's a lot of work, and I may not be able to sit down and get it done in one stream. It may take me a couple streams to do all 5 games. So it's what I was wanting to do. I think there's a lot of like cleaning up and pointing things out in this series.
You can see how durable this front line of
I know I can do it. It's, can I get the time and energy?
Oscar ends up getting away.
Glad to see Yike on brand again today.
Noticed that Jun was actually walking towards
I don't know why Yike doesn't take the HP pot.
Here on humanoids.
Because I know this cost them like in the third game where Yike didn't take the HP pot, and then they got G2 got forced into some type of trade, and then Yike lost his life.
When I worked with him, he always had this thing where he said,
So we're just planning things to come.
Broken Blade in trouble now. Should be no way
It wasn't
out.
that game.
So many resources.
This game.
The junglers are always with them. He would be right.
Where like around here where Yike didn't have the HP pot, and I thought if he did, he probably would have won this trade right here.
Razork here too. Bit more poke down. Isn't going to matter too much. Just hoping to crash the wave, but
I think it was this trade right here.
Not ideal.
It was like if he had the HP pot to just heal when he was going in.
The scuttle crab. Yike on it first. Razork though already here to contest the engage.
Engage already going in. Big damage on a humanoid. Tries to fire back. The ignite ticket.
Caps eats his biscuit.
But he still has the flash. They'd be able to walk away effortlessly, and now Razork is so confident.
If he had the HP pot, I think Yike would have survived right there. And maybe they would have got Razork and Jun. So this is something that Yike does. I don't know why he doesn't take his HP pot early. And then they got baited into a fight. It's like he forgot he didn't have the HP pot. So there was something that I saw G2 do today that I want to get on this dead horse and beat into the ground and preach on my soapbox. So if I get the energy and sleep well, I know it's gonna take a lot of energy to do all of this. And it's going to take me where I don't get to watch LEC tomorrow live, and I really enjoy watching